हेलो।
बोल।
अरे हाँ, लाइव तो मैं चले गया हूँ।
What the hell?
अरे खोल रहा हूँ भाई। हो गया। कठिन कठिन चीजें।
अरे नहीं, फोर्टनाइट खेल रहा हूँ। बंदे ने एक शॉटगन में खत्म कर दिया।
अबे इन गेम लगाऊं के स्विच पे देख।
गेम लगा ना, अभी तो म्यूजिक म्यूजिक चल रहा है।
इन गेम ही लगाता हूँ है ना।
नहीं नहीं, स्ट्रीम लगा ना, मतलब ये का।
अरे स्ट्रीम पे ऐसा ना होना यार, कॉपीराइट इश्यू समझ नहीं रहा था।
नहीं नहीं, वॉच पार्टीज वगैरह तो अलाउड है ना। इन गेम भी लगा सकते हो अभी।
हाँ।
इन इन गेम भी लगा सकते
हाँ, इन गेम करता हूँ। पहला मैच किसका है?
Teams in the world. Game Gladiators.
just a game. Oh, yeah, that's true. Wait, did he just tilt you with your own voice line? Yes. What? Hi, I'm Gabe Newell. And like many of you, I have a complicated relationship with Dota. What's not complicated is when you bring the best players in the world together at the highest level of competition. And I'm personally very pleased that we're able to do this in Seattle for the first time in half of a decade. So to all of you, welcome to the International.
It's been 6 years, Dota fans! Seattle! Did you miss us? We missed you too! It feels so good to be home, baby! Welcome back home! Best Dota teams in the world at the best Climate Pledge Arena in the world. Coming down here to fight for their lives. This is what we live for, baby. This is it. We brought 20 teams here on the road, and 8 of them remain for the International. Are you guys ready to see them duke it out? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Seattle!
The thing sad about TI returning to Seattle, it was basically where it all began, right?
I love TI in Seattle. I feel like this is the best TI that I've ever been in. I'm super stoked for Seattle. Kerala was a really important place for Dota.
अरे बंद करना यार
Was really my dream.
फोर्टनाइट
क्या हुआ?
फोर्टनाइट बंद करना ये देखते हैं
अभी म्यूजिक चल रहा है।
तो क्या हुआ
I've heard from fellow players that Seattle TI is always
ये गेम ड्राफ्ट चालू हो जाने दे यार।
I never got to play there, so I'm really like
Never
grateful to
really
get to that
played
city.
there.
I think it's also a really beautiful city. Of course, it's gonna be the same arena like the last TIs, right? So it's gonna be cool to be at that place in person. It's quite a historical place for Dota there, I think.
Muy emocionado, o sea, fue mi primer vez fue en Seattle y como que siento que volver ahí puede marcar para mí un antes y un después, así que me siento muy emocionado de ir ahí.
I'm really excited for TI to be coming back to Seattle. The crossing of worlds there, and like family members or friends getting to like see that piece is like really cool and special, I think.
Having TI back in Seattle is gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna tie into a lot of the nostalgic value that I have from my early TIs.
I really want to find some Starbucks in Seattle and try it. It's okay. Basically, it's like the OG place in some way, so I'm really excited for it to be there.
It's such an iconic place for Dota tournament. Seattle is like the TI city.
Seattle will always hold a special place in every Dota player's heart, whether you're up there on the stage playing as a pro player, if you're at home right now watching as a casual player. This arena and this place means so much for us. Now we have a cathedral in the sky. This is the theme, everything that we've been seeing building up to this moment at the end of this year and this past month.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I just can't contain myself watching those videos, just watching the memories, being here again. There are no words to put this feeling.
it's very special, unique experience for me to be watching and not having having to deal with the pressure and just purely enjoying the picture of it and the memories and what's happening before. It's just such an incredible feeling. I'm really grateful to be here actually.
And what about you, Lucas? We're going to be having our first teams, our first two teams, walking out on stage very soon, not just yet though.
I mean, this is magical. I can't really even explain it. Look at how beautiful this is. This is by far the best thing we've ever had at TI, without a doubt.
I'm just full of Abby. It's so hard to be able to put everything into words. I just want to look. I don't even want to speak right now. At the opening ceremony, it was absolutely beautiful, but it is time. We have to see some Dota action. We have to see some teams walk out, and we're going to be graced with Gaming Gladiators, our first team to climb the Pledge Arena.
गेम में उन्होंने ट्विच स्ट्रीम एम्बेड कर दिया। डबल आवाज किसकी?
फुल स्ट्रीम भी आ रही है और डिस्कॉर्ड पे।
ऐसा?
पहला कौन सा मैच है?
गेमिंग ग्लैडिएटर्स बैक।
ओ जीजी वर्सेस
नाउन्स है शायद।
नाउन्स। क्या है गनर? अच्छा गनर K1 वाली टीम था, फाइट कह नहीं सकते हैं। इसका ऑफलाइन कैसा है?
सही है, सही खेल रहा था ब्रू मास्टर।
नहीं है
प्योर टाइप। अच्छा नहीं
A33 उन जैसा नहीं है ना?
पता नहीं, मैंने ज्यादा गेम नहीं देखे उसके, पर ब्रू मास्टर वगैरह ये सब खेलता है।
Watching Gunnar walk in there, he's been wanting to play on the main stage for so long. This has been a dream of his for so long, and they have something to prove here today versus Gaming Gladiators. I mean, this is a David and Goliath kind of situation. Even though GG are coming in from the lower bracket, they were the dominant team all year. They were the team to beat all year. So this is going to be a true test for Nouns here.
Pretty much, this is the last NA team left, which probably no one expected them to be here. You know, the whole underdog story and reaching top 8, and they're still not done, you know, because they played in the groups and it was 1-1. So I feel like now they have something special prepared for Gaming in this one.
I mean, they have to. Nouns just as a whole, I feel like you can describe as special. Even throughout DPC too, as we're seeing them pick up a lot of different heroes in very unique places already just on the road to the international. We saw Gunnar playing Ogre mid, and when it comes to officials, that is very out of the box. The same thing with Mood, their offlaner, picking up that Witch Doctor, Dazzle as well, Ogre offlane too, Reza.
Yeah, they have very unique strategies, and they use and profit a lot as well from the past games. And I'm just happy to see Gunnar on the stage. Like, I know this guy for a long time, and there's a story about him. Like, when he lost one of his TI qualifiers, he went straight out like to the basement and like practiced non-stop. Like after that, like this is shows like his his will of like do it no matter what. And I'm really happy that I look at him right now like on this stage performing like all the top 8 and having a chance to like be this incredible Cinderella story going forward with it.
Nouns versus TSM.
versus Tundra भी ना 2-0 कराया था ना?
हाँ हाँ।
Leading decider.
flavor or variety of Dota, I would say, to TI, and it's taken them this far. So I'm just really excited to see if they've cooked up anything new, if they're gonna keep doing the things that we've seen, or if they maybe they're gonna bust out that dark little carry Hector. I mean, I know that's not his style, but that seems to be the new, flavor of the week here.
And Hector has been amazing. We talked back a couple of years ago when he was playing for the Beast Coast. He was always that guy, the K1 TP. One of the reasons why the games are longer because he tends to farm slightly, more than some of the other carriers. But his PL performance against DSM, he was really pushing the limits with the hero, and glad to see that he's back on track because watching Hector play, he's been studied by most carry players for a good reason for a really long time.
I also want to compliment Lelis on this team. I was really surprised about his performance in this TI, and especially heroes like Clockwork and Skyward Mage. He's been performing insanely well, doing all the rotation and always heating up his spells perfectly. And I don't know, it's just very very good to see him how he switched from the position 3 to position 4 and performing in this incredibly high level already.
Okay, well, we're already naming all the Nouns players. We may as well put Jansen in there as well. I think a special shout out to him because just before qualifiers, after they had the unfortunate performance at the Bali Major that they did, Jansen went from 1 to 5, right? They had that roster change up for them. That's how they were able to bring in K1 and they're able to show up like they have now. So Jansen as well making a really big change for himself, and now he's a top 8 TI 12 finalist.
Yeah, he looks like he's been playing support forever. I mean, but I'm so glad you brought it up because you have to give kudos to a player willing to sacrifice themselves for their team. Because based on the interview that I heard with Gunnar a few months ago when they first made their initial roster shift, Jansen himself was like, we need to make a change. Something didn't work out at Bali. Hector is a free agent. He says he's willing to play with us. I'm not willing to leave the team. I played support before. I can switch. I can switch to position 5. And he did it. He just gave up his role, and it looks like it worked out perfectly for them to be able to put yourself in that position for the greater good of your team. That's a very good teammate. That's somebody that you do want to play with.
I do admire players like this because it takes a lot of conscious about how you wanna make your team the best, right? And if it means to switch the position and bring the other player in, sure, I'm gonna do it. I'm that player. If it takes that, going out of the comfort zone and learning something new, I'm willing to take that risk,
It's not only just us, by the way, that feel this Nouns flair when it comes to heroes, where they're going to play it.
बंद कर दिया क्या? गेम तो नहीं.
The hardest thing about facing Nouns is that you could put
गेम बंद किया क्या?
maybe 4 days worth of prep into Nouns, where they could show up and they could just throw that out the window, every prep that you've done, and they could just pick something new, something that no one's expected.
वो आया नहीं तेरा दोस्त.
That's what they've been working in the backlines, and they think that catching someone off guard
वो आया नहीं तेरा दोस्त.
pushes them through an elimination, takes them that level higher, and is able to elevate them. So Gaming Gladiators also have a pretty tough task ahead of themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, they're very creative as a team when it comes down to picks, how they're going to play it. I think Camus plays a big part of that team when it comes down to being versatile with the heroes that he's been playing, because, he can pretty much play anything. This off-lane Dazzle, off-lane Witch Doctor, brought a couple of records as well in terms of healing at TI because of it. And this guy, he didn't play at TI since he got to second place at TI 6, and then he was kind of gone, showing up here and there, but started to play again recently, and it really paid off. And I'm really glad to see some, old school players coming back and coming in very high, reaching top 8 already.
क्या लग रहा है कौन जीतेगा?
एस को शट डाउन करना चाहिए. एस को विन तो ठीक है. The last year भी ठीक है. एस को शट डाउन करना पड़ा.
मेरे को तो पक्का पता 6 मिनट पे गेमिंग के दोनों सपोर्ट में डाल देंगे.
So to have a team that has such a stable hero pool,
जैसे वो 33 खेलता है या
with the exception of the Necromosis coming out recently, with the exception of the support invokers, you kind of know what Ace is going to pick, you know what they're going to build around, you know what kind of carry style Durafio is going to be playing. So it's going to be an interesting collision of styles here.
They did bring some new heroes though, like this Shen from Celery. We didn't see many Chans in this tournament. I think the Riot also picking up that Weaver, that not a lot of carry players are willing to take that risk because it's very squishy hero. And he, for this team, they can rely heavily on Ace because Ace is that kind of guy who's sometimes even their main carry, you know, you see this Brewmaster like going man-wise, is very nice. He's not like really playing position 3, he's playing like more of a Vaughn, and Durache is like taking over like this aggressive carry hero that's running around the map and making space for him.
We're actually going to directly compare Ace and Moo. We've talked about the clashes of flares, the clashes of styles here between them. And Moo having only played 2 extra heroes, a lot of different ones though for himself. So yeah, we kind of already highlighted that, but the Ogre and the Dazzle, this is stuff that they picked up in playoffs.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that the Dawnbreaker, which is one of the popular
मेरे यहाँ से primal based ban करेंगे gaming gladiator. Bans देखते हैं.
is one of the scariest in this tournament, and this is a hero that you cannot give away. But at the same time, you never know when he's going to bust out his offlane Witch Doctor, his offlane Dazzle. I mean, anything can happen. With Ace, he's just the rock of game, and like we mentioned, they build around his primal beasts and his bristles, and he always delivers in terms of farm security. He always delivers in terms of correct target priority in team fights, and that's why he's so scary. It feels like you can never shut him down, but he'll never catch you off guard in terms of hero picks.
And one of the reasons why they were so successful throughout here is this Ace ability. They're offlane duo, but Ace, as a player, I think he needed to adapt the most after the big patch drop, because they were playing this early base Dota, buying all these auras and then grouping up, finishing the games pretty quickly. He needed to swap things around because all of these aura buyers, they were gone, so he needed to implement new heroes, and really glad that they are also playing this faster style Dota. The average game time of TI was around 40 minutes, and they are speeding things up, because if you look at their last series that they played against 9 Pandas, they really demolished them. These games were so quick, one game ended in 19 minutes.
Wow. There's also a secret behind Ace and Tofu and why they're so successful in lane. I know for sure that they've been playing like party games, maybe on Power of Friendship. Yes, Power of Friendship. They've been playing Smurfs together like for a long time, and that's why like they're doing all this major.
ये Silver Edge वाला player है.
And they're understanding each other.
Shutdown यार. इस पैच में ऑफलाइन क्या shutdown यार? Vanguard Vanguard वाले आते हैं, Blade Mail Heart. Shutdown तो ऐसे कुछ नहीं कर पाए.
See why? Because that's also a new addition for them this year. See why I've seen it. It's very different styles of coaching, I feel like.
Position 5 actually.
No, so I don't want to go too in depth about it because we did touch up on it a little bit, but I feel like Estini is a very cerebral kind of coach. He makes his style more so about the hero picks themselves, not so much in the motivational aspect or in the working on each player individually in terms of their psychology or not, whereas CY does that. He's that motivational coach.
We're going to see how the coaches are going to be able to motivate, what they're going to pick and drop for game 1 is here.
ये Discord award बड़ा.
प्लेन से बाहर ही नहीं निकल सकता. जो क्रिट मारता है प्लेन.
सीके तो हील ही हो, सीके तो नहीं कर.
फुल हील हो जाता है ऐसे वैसे नहीं.
और वो लेन में मार भी देता है ये बीस्ट मास्टर ब्रूमर.
हाँ मार देता है. टर्न और वो आर्मर बच सकते हैं.
स्टार्ट हो गया होगा इंडिया में. यहाँ पे देखते हैं वहाँ ज़्यादा बढ़िया ग्राफिक्स है.
Right.
मैं बोला था ना प्राइमल बीस्ट बैन होगा. वो खूब खेलता है प्राइमल बीस्ट. फीनिक्स बैन क्या है? अरे फीनिक्स बैन क्या मतलब ये
एस बहुत ही तगड़ा सॉलिड थे.
मेरे ख्याल से ट्रिएंट और वो उठाने का सोच रहे हैं ये लोग. क्या कहते हैं एन्चेंट्रेस टाइप हीरो. गेमिंग ग्लैडिएटर ट्रिएंट वगैरह सोच रहे हैं. डेजल बैक ब्रू मास्टर ले लिया. वही फिर बोल ही रहा था स्टार्टिंग में वो पुराने गेम्स में ब्रू ये प्राइमल ये सब खेला. ब्रू के अगेंस्ट लेनिंग फेज में कौन सा था?
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
उनके अगेंस्ट अगर
अर्स्पिरिट से इनिशियल अर्स्पिरिट पिक कर सकते हैं ना अभी। अच्छा क्वीन तो खेलता नहीं आई थिंक अर्स्पिरिट मैंने तो नहीं
खेलता है
देखा
ना, क्या बोल रहा है?
मैंने देखा नहीं उसका एक भी गेम अभी तक अर्स्पिरिट का
खेला है,
नहीं यार
खेला है, दिखा भी।
और
क्या
क्या
मतलब मोस्ट मेटा पिक है मिड में खेलने का।
एन्चेंट्रेस ले सकते हैं अभी पर
Honestly,
लेवल 6
मुझे
के
तो
बाद तो ब्रू मार
ये ब्रू मास्टर के अगेंस्ट अनडाइंग
वीवर
कैरी भी हो सकता है, ठीक। एलजीडी खेल रही है, काफी वीवर कैरी भी हुए थे ना।
हाँ वो एलजीडी शीरो
अच्छा है वीवर यार, ऑनेस्टली पूरा नहीं लगा, कैरी कर सकता है 2-4 गेम।
डेसो डेडलेस पीके भी बनाओ
जरूरी मतलब डेसो डेडलेस ही बना, मेलस्टॉर्म वाला भी जा सकता है।
डेसो
अच्छा है।
सेंटोर बैन पेंगो मुंगो नहीं बैन करेंगे क्या अभी पेंगो
तो अभी फर्स्ट पिक टाइप का हीरो नहीं। चैंट्रेस पर मुझे वो चाहिए तो स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑफ चाहिए जो तीन बैठा रहा।
ग्रिमस्ट्रोक ग्रिमस्ट्रोक तो अच्छा है
ग्रिमस्ट्रोक अल्टी काम किया है।
K1 के इल्यूजन्स हीरो बैन कर दिया उन्होंने नागा सिंह के
ब्लू मास्टर जो है वो
अब इन्होंने ये लिया है तो मिली हीरो से नॉर्मली पिक करेंगे 12 वगैरह 12 भी पूल में है क्या अभी
12 मुझे तो लगता है पिक कर लेना चाहिए बस 12 भी।
नहीं तो सामने वाले पिक करेंगे 12 तो आए थे एनपी 12 ग्रेम तो एनपी को बहुत मारता है
स्पेक्टर भी
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
अभी क्या किसका पिक है पिक क्या ना
क्या हुआ
विलो ये विलो कैरी तो नहीं लग रहा है ये सपोर्ट ही है
क्या भी
वीवर के अगेंस्ट ठीक है अच्छा है
वीवर के कर सकता है।
5 seconds remaining.
केवल हीरो क्या यार ये बात
चैन अबे भाई ये चैन कहाँ से आ गया अभी एकदम से
कैरी
अबे तो मतलब वीवर पोज 3 या वो है ना
बस
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
10 क्या मतलब
कौन कर
Dire team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team bad. Earth spirit. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Tango बैन कर दें
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
बैन
10 seconds remaining. Remaining.
ये लोग पुल्स पर काफी स्ट्रांग है खासकर वीवर के आगे टाइड was Bruma's शेरन ने एरिना चेंज कर दिया, अब वो बड़ा वाला है ना।
Тише, мальчик.
Сегодня я не в форме.
Prepare for battle.
Phenomenal. 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 Phenomenal.
No!
OK，兄弟们，全体目光向我看齐啊！
Daddy, chill.
What's wrong? 看多久你这 Hello? Seconds to battle.
Group is definitely the underdogs against the three-time major winner. But Nouns were also once upon a time looked as the third best team in North America. And then they took down all of their competition back to the NADPC. They ran right through it, and they have now proclaimed themselves the best North American team. And maybe they could do much, much more by being able to bring down what was once the best Western European.
And if any team has insider info, it's going to be Nouns, right? And you have Les Lau out here. He's played with Quinn. They've been on the same team before. He knows how he wants to play, knows how he wants to abuse this mid lane. And that's been one of the secrets to gaming success all year. How do you deal with the support rotations? How do you deal with the mid lane matchups? Shut down the side laners while all that's happening at the same time. And this is another game in lineup that is driven to go high ground early if you give them a start. Chen, Tidehunter, these are two of the heroes they've gone back to. We saw that Necroban as well, just to get the trifecta out of there. You give them a lead at 20 minutes, they're going to be pushing tier 3 very fast. You have Illusion Heroes, you have a Furion, you can stall this map. You stalwart the tempo that comes out from gaming and get yourself in that mid lane game where you can shine. Because you have Earth Spirit, you have Brewmaster, these are heroes that have won Nouns so many mid late games. As long as you can get there.
We're going to start off. Nouns needing to be able to win this early lane and starting off with the first blood. Celery is going to go down. Gunner will clean it up with a boulder from downtown. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we also have a fight on the other bounty rune where they are going to be able to get a kill. So it is a trade-off. Nouns do manage to get the first blood, particularly for their mid laner is very important. That'll help in this mid matchup. Gunner versus Quinn, a matchup that we have seen time and time and time again. It used to be in the NADPC all the time. Quinn making a name for himself as one of the best laners in North America and then became one of the best laners in the world. And Gunner was always kind of in his shadow.
These are players that have studied under each other. Like you said, played against each other a lot. They played against Sumail a lot too. So if you're going to learn from somebody, become the next protege in that sense. These are the two guys who have been there and are willing to do it. I will say Quinn has gotten the better of Gunner in a lot of these lanes, right? And if you're Nouns, you go into here, you're kind of expecting Quinn to win the lane. That's not a big deal. The bigger question is what happens after that. And I think Gunner has shown that Sure, you can win the lane against him. He's going to get one of his signature kills. He's going to pop off, and he's going to dictate the mid game. Not more than you are. They knew the Pango was coming as well. They know it's not a real hero, so they know this matchup's not a real matchup. Just a matter of who imaginarily gets out of it more. I think Gunner's going to show up today.
I mean, that's the great part about Gunner, right? Is that this is a player who I think nouns buck a lot of trends, and one of them is definitely the fact that Gunner is the player out of all the teams in the top 8, the mid laner who will take the least amount of harm, and he will just try and make plays happen as early as possible. He is a tempo player. He once told me when he was playing on in Southeast Asia with the Jinnabrews team, he told me, I don't care deaths. I do not care deaths. I only want to make plays happen, and there's a play right there. Celery finds an opening, being able to kill Playlist. Now, it did cost Jirachi had to run down the river quite heavily to be able to find that. Moves free farming during the meantime, but it does kind of set the tempo here of Gaming Gladiators are looking for kills, and they will catch you out if you spread a little bit too far away from the lane. It's under a bit of pressure there onto the
Jirachi was going to cost him a lot.
Hello.
Spirit versus Pango, man.
You give him a fast start on one of his signature jungle heroes out here. Have Boris up, you're gonna have the pace. You don't have a lot of outspin or tower defense. That's the one downside of the lineup for now. They really want to take these around the whole
स्पिरिट पैंगो आ ही गया मतलब चैन नहीं एक्सपेक्ट किया था और K1 का टेरर ब्लेड तो बिल्कुल नहीं किया था मैंने एक्सपेक्ट स्पिरिट पैंगो ग्रिम तो किया था
K1 Hector, he's like, this is, I'm used to this. This is every single game for me.
I mean, I think Hector's confused because he probably has negative compared to what he's been playing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This man is always working on at least 90. Shackles are off, and K1 Hector has shown it in addition to Nouns, who has done a lot of work for them. When you come to this idea that Gunner is going to be taking very little farm off the map, he wants to beat plays, he wants to find openings, find kills, set the tempo of the game aggressively.
मेरे को टेरर ब्लेड वर्सेस वीवर टेरर ब्लेड ज्यादा अच्छा लग रहा है
K1 Hector is by far the biggest farmer in this tournament.
I mean, there's a reason Hector communicates the way he communicates. We've all been in a pub with Hector. Well, I say all of us. I mean, these guys haven't.
We've been
there, yeah. Hector, he just screams on the comms the entire game. Give me mana, give me salves, give me stacks. Yep. Stop feeding and I'll carry.
100%. K1 Hector, stop feeding, and I'll carry. That's exactly what that's his vision of the game. He is a hard carry player, and there's a reason why he says it's true. You stop feeding, this man will carry games. He knows how to do it late game.
Can you bounce it out? Can you make him work? That's the interesting about these two teams as well. They had these additions that they brought into the rest of the four. Hector for Nouns, Quinn for Gaming, and change the dynamic of the team, right? It creates another threat they can play around. It gives the team a lot of vision, a lot of purpose in the game. If you make these players succeed, they will indeed carry you in a lot of these clutch situations. Hector on a pair play, that is a nasty combination. We've seen him.
बाकी लेन्स क्यों नहीं दिखा रहा है ये?
Chaos Knight, right? But this is a hero that functions very similarly. You can control the map, dictate when he wants to fight. So if he's the most farmed hero going into 30, 40 minutes, you have a decent chance to just shred the front line of Gaming, unless they already have the ores. A lot coming down to the battle, and damn it, is it close, but it's 2 CS here. Going into Quinn.
Yeah, he's got to relocate under the tower, so if these last hits, which he does, with Dick.
अरे यार, स्पेनिश सही से चल रहा है.
Willow is pretty nasty into Weaver. You need to be very careful.
Biggest priority in this game is probably 6-minute power rune, 7-minute wisdom rune.
If they have like a sentry you don't know about, you just run into like a fucking root, you're just dead dude.
These tower pushes when they come with the Tide Hunter Meteor Hammer
something like that.
Grouping up We'll see if these supports continue to make moves. It's also going to come down to Celery, whether he wants to try and rotate top or mid on this Chen. A hero that can do similar things.
Meta going to be popped here. So damage thrown back the way of Gaming Gladiators, but honestly, they walk away from that. Not too damaged at all. So meta popped, no kill found. I would say a small victory for Gaming Gladiators whenever that happens.
Still waiting for Celery's rotation.
What is that Weaver build? What is little bro cooking?
Solid start for Nouns outside of, I mean, Moo is struggling, and Moo is continuing to struggle down here. It is a hero in the Brewmaster that can operate with XP alone, but damn is he poor. He's gonna have to make it up in some of these fights.
Yeah, only just now getting that earned. So those kills they got earlier, not really worth as much. Yamsen gonna be in some trouble here. Underneath his own trees, he's gonna teleport away. Ace cannot complete the kill. He walks away, damage done, but the damage on a Furion really doesn't mean that much, considering the fact this hero can just TP right back out to lane.
I mean, the thing is he used teleportation instead of the scroll, so he actually can't make a real move off this. He's just gonna refill mid. So give up some breathing room to Gaming, and I mean, their cores are starting to take over the lanes right now. You gotta keep in mind this Meteor Hammer on the Tide will eventually kick Hector out of top. This Weaver Brew matchup is very good. So now, I'm looking at Gunnar, right? You get 6-minute power rune here, you have Magnetize up, you have a lot of potential in the tank to get a good fight out of this first ult on the Earth Spirit, especially with how much Gunnar did on this mid lane. He's 500 net worth up on Quinn at 6 minutes. This is a crazy net worth differential for a player we're used to seeing just win the one-on-ones.
I mean, that Earth Spirit laning phase, this hero does so much with that Boulder Smash. They're gonna go for the power runes here, and it is gonna be top. So, haste rune for Quinn, big pickup. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Moo's gonna take a little bit of aggro here from Dyrachyo, and not much Move can do to fight back, particularly in a 1v2, but up against Frost Armor and his Harpy. In fact, Moo may have stayed a little bit too long. The Lotus might be able to keep him alive. We'll see whether or not Dyrachyo wants to complete it, and he does manage to get that kill. Celery picks it up with a bit of lightning. Dyrachyo is going to take a lot of damage on his way out, but managed to dodge the brambles pretty smoothly there.
And that's Javelin Rush. So this is aggressive build for Dyrachyo, using the fact he has Ice Armor and some extra regen. Just maxing up the DPS straight into the Maelstrom here, trying to punish Moo as much as possible with the opening they've created. And damn, some good creeps for Celery, right? You cannot ask for anything better out of the jungle early.
Seriously, yeah.
Is this going to allow him to make some moves that he wants to? 7-minute booster rune will not be contested here, but it will get split. So, okay news for now.
किस पे देख रहा है मैंने कहा मैच
You always have it with the Furion, but Yamsen
इसका मतलब अपना एक ही बेस पे चल रहा है अभी
हाँ मतलब किस पे देख रहा है
अच्छा मैक पे
नहीं TI वाली स्क्रीन देख रहा है मेरे वाली देख रहा है
Okay, he's picking up the 7-minute Wisdom Rune. Let's make a play in this top lane. A big kill. Even bigger if they can get Dyrachyo as well. But in fact, they push damage back on Moo. A teleport coming in now as Gunner's going to make his way.
मैं बोल रहा हूँ तो डबल आवाज आ रही थी मेरे को डिस्कॉर्ड प्लस उसकी
स्ट्रीम He really wants to dive the tower, but he doesn't want to throw away that net worth lead he has.
Only 2 points in the rolling boulder, not low cooldown enough to convert on the kill, so that'll be another missed opportunity for Gunner. Still trying to put this
तेरी भी चालू है पॉज करके रखे तेरी वाली
his haste rune he picked up earlier. Yamsen, who just
ये नंबर ऑफ वो क्यों नहीं दिखा था सही से
यार यार स्पिरिट का किक
checks out the other direction.
डायरेक्शन वाला मेरे को कभी कभी मेरे को तो उधर मुंह फेस करना पड़ता मैं खेला हूँ तो इसका कुछ है क्या ट्रिक है क्या
This is when Dyrachyo is still susceptible on this lane. You have so much
ये
more
इसका
damage. You want the urn charge.
With the blood grenade, he's got stick
अर्थ स्पिरिट के किक करने का
ओह मर गया बट नहीं Yamsen पीछे से
And they get a lot of the Chen creeps
ये
on
मरा
this, honestly.
Yamsen, he's got no teleport and no TP scroll, so
मरेगा सर
it's going to be a 2-for-1 in that regard.
So you traded Chen creeps and the Weaver for 2 on the side of Nouns. You did get an urn charge off the death for Moo, so a little extra potential there off the max Cinder build. The lanes are going to start to build up here, and I mean, Celery, he got so much out of that bottom, man. This
कैसे काम करता है अभी
पता नहीं यार मतलब इतना तो मतलब मैं सपोर्ट आइटम बनाता हूँ उस पे तभी
He'd already thrown out the Sunder. I mean, this is a hammer.
स्किल्स कैसे काम करती है वो W कैसे काम करता है उसका
for the Ravage. Connection's just too easy here. Now you're going to get the pressure of the tower. Can Hector come back this lane? Probably not.
W
refresh होता है ना शायद उसका duration मतलब slow
up here, which you could do as you're still
exactly तो मुझे भी नहीं पता कम ही खेलने का
Pulse लगाने से लिखा तो वैसा ही कुछ है.
He'll accept the Curse Crown stun, which is going to set up into Gunner. Now, he's already popped the Shikuchi, but he does have time lapse, and they don't have enough control to move. Doesn't have level 6 yet. He is just a little bit away, but is not going to be able to get
है
it.
इसका तो
Very efficient use of
ब्रू
his
मास्टर
arcane rune
तो
in that
माइडस
play.
भी नहीं किया जा रहा
Managed to come down here, get a kill.
मतलब वो
Has his abilities back up.
Grimstroke काफी वो होता है, rough matchup होता है उसके लिए.
अर्थ स्पिरिट का अच्छा खासा नेटवर्क
For Nouns, because they haven't even taken any towers yet, which it
Earth
is
Spirit
coming.
को first blood मिला था ना.
And a Meteor Hammer, you're almost guaranteed as Gaming Gladiators to have a tower lead in the next 5 minutes.
And the Roshan threat, very high in this game with the Swarm, plus the minus armor. Chen's going to give you with a fast solar.
के पास यार वो नहीं
Gush
है.
on top of it.
Tower
Meteor
defense
coming through
नहीं.
with Lucky Shot. It's another one of those tempo lineups that can just
Nouns के पास अगर ये लोग हारने लग गए, चैन टाइड हंटर अगर टावर पुश करने लग गए तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
Hector did manage to go top and defend that tower at least, so you're going to repel some of the speed Ace was coming out with here.
Yeah, but as he shows himself immediately as smoke up, not only they secured the 10-minute power rune, but if Quinn can connect here, it would be massive for Gaming Gladiators.
Sunder coming back up. 3 seconds on the cooldown is now up for Hector.
ये
So there's turnout
NP वगैरह इसीलिए पसंद नहीं है
If you
मुझे.
cannot burst him here, it could go really wrong.
They're going to get on top of him. Silence and the stuns. K1 Hector doesn't really have much help coming in. They're going to use the Rolling Thunder. Last bit of damage required is going to have to come from Quinn, but they do manage to get off the Thunder onto the support. Yamson is going to be sacrificed to keep K1 Hector alive, and he will have to TP back all the way back to the fountain, so it's not even like base out of that. Meanwhile, though, Duraccio did die in the bottom lane, the first use of the split from the Brewmaster. They're also going to get that tower.
Just got run down
अरे
off the root.
वीवर को कैसे मार दिया
That's going to result in a very fast tier 1 out of
विलक
nowhere
के
that
पास
on a safe lane
मारा हो
doing
सकता
pretty
है
well and right. So
DOT काफी है ना इनके पास. Damage over time.
First ult, a pretty good use here, extra XP.
And he's going to catch up even more if he can complete that Hannah Midas pretty soon.
Oh, that, I mean, you get the Midas here from Mu, I think you're really happy with how this early game ended up, considering of how much pressure that lane was creating on you. Just got to turn it around, big core kill into the tower, into an acceleration item. Yeah, you're really happy with that, especially if you can use this next Gruul to defend mid.
Mid tower जाएगा इनका.
Too greedy, right? Because you know Gaming Gladiators
हाँ ये
are
tower
going to be putting a lot of pressure
defense
on
नहीं
you
कर
in this
पाएंगे
next 10
वो.
to 15 minutes.
दिक्कत है इनके साथ.
हाँ टाइड आ गया.
To go for this Midas, and you know
नहीं टाइड ही नहीं मतलब देखना इनके पास वेव क्लियर ही नहीं है ना. सपोर्ट कैसे डिफेंड करता है टावर्स. Supports को करके ना.
Coming out from Lilith. This may buy Gunner some time to get more magnetized stacks onto Quinn. Nails him with the next rolling bobo as he tries to swashbuckle away. Locked in though by Tofu. Great spellbound, and they're going to be able to catch him in the hammer. Into the hammer. The chain stuns are real.
काफी सही रिफ्रेश कर दिया.
Magnetize going to chase after Tofu. Tofu gets the armor.
Oh my god. लेकिन फिर भी सही है. मेरे के लिए नाउन्स के लिए अच्छा है ये.
आ गया भाई without meta.
Right now, he shows up last of the fight, but he will claim lives here. Oh, Ace actually not too afraid. He's going to try and get this Meteor Hammer in time, but Yamson's already teleported away. The tower survives for now, but damage is done.
तो कोई और टीवी आता नहीं है ऐसे.
आया मैं खुद नहीं आता मेरे कुत्ते वो नहीं है तो
gaming and Ace just powering through with the damage.
टेरर तो आता ही नहीं है भाई. स्टार्डी
between 12 minutes in this engagement.
टेरर को नहीं खेलना आता है. टेरर बता रहा हूँ मैं किस टाइप के हीरो चाहिए उसको.
वो अबे वो सेफ लेन तो नहीं खेल पाता भाई. सेफ लेन में हर लेन.
सेफ लेन में यार एक टाइम पे आना होता है. मतलब जो मिड में टाइमिंग्स होती है या फिर मतलब टावर डाइव कर रहे हैं तो डीपी कर लो, 3 किल्स मिल जाते हैं कभी कभी. या फिर कोई स्पेल हो क्रोनो वगैरह तो वो मतलब लाइफ स्टीलर से नहीं वो करता. फाइट नहीं करता लाइफ स्टीलर से भी. तब तक क्या ही.
That is a route Nouns can think about going, but for now, Ace is going to be a brick wall.
गनर अच्छा खेल रहा है.
A brick wall that is
particularly important for Gaming Gladiators, as
much of their success throughout the season has been based around him and his playstyle, which that did become weaker with some changes in the game. But it seems like the Gladiators have maybe found a position for Ace to really take over the game. Once again, nice hit with the Terrorize, lined it up into the stun. Gunner easily has the control to bring down the Weaver.
And this is going to be Nouns' biggest target the whole
Post 4 ये अच्छा है.
We've seen him on this Weaver before, right?
Sorry,
but this is also a hero that's very susceptible once you start getting killed once.
बाद में अगर वो हो गया ना, Midas Axe बन गया इसका, तो ये भी टाइड को मार देगा. Still
किसका
got
है?
9 on the Weaver at 14 minutes. He is falling
Although
behind in XP.
ये रॉड
Now
वॉड
it's
नहीं
gonna
जाना
few
चाहिए
kills
इसको
on him.
मैं तो
This is a
बोल
way
रहा
to just
हूँ
bump
माइडस
supports
इनटू
up, help you take those
एड्स
tower defense fights.
क्योंकि विलो की स्पेल्स अच्छी है ना बहुत
Taking all your towers if their hard carry is still poor.
करना ही क्या होता है कर्स क्राउन डालो एक वो डालो नीचे
Invisibility and
Brambles.
sidestep that boulder coming across. He's going to get some information out here, though they do seem to know he's here. Can they bait him in somehow? They're afraid there's more behind him, so they're just going to back out.
This is your defusal timing on the Pango. Ravage back up for Ace. He's a little bit off the blink, but it did prompt the smoke from Gaming to push into the Nouns triangle. However, they
Honestly,
vacated it.
गनर को
Whatever
बीके
reason
भी
they
जाना
knew was
चाहिए
coming,
अभी
however, they're just going to run it back. Ace trying to control
Art
both
नहीं
jungles right now.
Art भी
Without
सही है
blink, this initiation's a little difficult.
अरे नहीं ये ग्रीम स्ट्रोक नहीं होता तो मैं बोल देता हार्ड ठीक है बट ग्रीम स्ट्रोक के अगेंस्ट
Just around this
बीके भी
find him, maybe it's possible. Slow him down. Get on top of things while the Ravens are going to go out. Big burst damage
Mara.
and no mana and silence. Too much for Hector to deal with here.
Really nice connection. Just enough reach.
The worst part for Nouns is they were making a smoke move at the same time, so...
Yeah, they were looking for Ace. Try and preemptively read this. This is why Hector was there in the first place. Almost gets baited
यार
by
ये टाइड हंटर में कुछ नहीं कर
15 minutes
सकते ये
already
लोग
pushing
अब
a tier 2 with Chen to back it up on the Skelly boys.
दिक्कत है
ये टावर पर गया
I think this is the part that I love about this
वही
matchup.
मैं कह रहा हूँ ना रोक नहीं सकते ये लोग
Gladiators
टावर
have
पुश
both bucked the trends when it comes to the heroes
बट
and
हाई ग्राउंड कर
strategy of
सकते हैं
this
क्या जी
tournament.
जी
Nouns certainly have
हाई
the
ग्राउंड भी
whole
कर ही
list of
सकते हैं यार
heroes
क्यों नहीं
that
कर
they're
सकते
special
टाइड को
to
आगे
that.
रखो
Meanwhile, Gaming Gladiators, I mean,
Ten
playstyle
creeps are
wise,
tied.
everybody's going like 50,
Radiance
60 minutes
are
in
out.
these games, but Gaming Gladiators, they're ending games at 25 sometimes.
This is a team that does
ये
not care
रेडियंस
what
आ रहा
anybody
है
else is
डिपेंड
doing
करता
right
है
now.
मगर रेडियंस के
They're
बाद
just
में
speeded
भी ये
up,
लोग
and
कर
like
पाए
you said, both these teams, I think, are two
रेडियंस
of the
मांटा
fastest
दोनों
teams
चाहिए
this
बट इसको
They're happy
ब्रू
to
मास्टर
take
को
these fights.
क्योंकि अगेन ये ग्रीम स्ट्रोक बड़ी दिक्कत होती है यार
I mean, they always have a backup
हाँ
plan.
इसका
तू भी तो
साइड
खेला था याद है
Probably the better backup team.
ब्रू मास्टर खेला था
And we've
अगेंस्ट
seen
वो
Weaver
था
scale a lot harder than he used to in a lot of these matchups,
Grim
especially
Stroke.
when you have a bunch of Auras and Tidehunter and Chen behind you. And there's also just not a huge amount of control for Pangolier in the late game. That's one of the things. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw Steenie talk about they knew this Pango was coming. I feel like everybody knew it was coming. Can you stop it anyway?
Magnetize builds up, kills not only the Chen, but also...
That's pretty value. Honestly, very value here. Every time you take Celery off the map, you're slowing Gaming
एकदम
down.
से
You're
भाई
slowing down the next
2600
objective.
गोल्ड हो गया
Huge
उसका
amount of gold into Gunner's pocket. Frees up the map. And I mean, Gaming were just split, right? We're talking about them abusing the fact they have a very strong ball. They were waiting for this Ravage to be back up.
शार्ट जा रहा है ये
जरूरत है क्या उनको?
अरे शार्ट जा रहा है यार अर्थ स्पिरिट भी नहीं भाग पाएगा अब टाइड हंटर
कौन शार्ट जा रहा है
टाइड हंटर
अच्छा इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना बीके भी चाहिए इसको गनर को हार्ट नहीं जाना चाहिए उसके बाद चले जाए हार्ट बट बीके भी मस्ट है
It's just a race to the teamfight items. You're looking for Radiance on Mu, give you that huge AoE damage in the fight, but you're also looking for these big auras on Gaming in the pipe on Celery and the BKB on Dyrachyo. That's a very big item for them as well. We'll make sure that they can man up in this Roche pit, deal with the Terrorize, deal with Tornado, all these AoE spells that Nouns are trying to throw on the Weaver. Pretty much useless, and you don't have the physical to burst him yet. If Mu can get this Radiance untouched, I think you have a decent shot contesting.
But he's about to be ganked. Ace is going to jump forward with that Blink Dagger. Anchor already locking him down, trying to see if he can land the Meteor, and he does manage to with a Swashbuckle to follow it
Ulti भी
up.
नहीं लगा
They've got
सकता ना
this
इसमें,
kill. Mu is
leash
going to
में।
find his Radiance delayed
पता
even
नहीं
further.
ulti का तो
You saw, we have 3
क्या
different
हुआ
हाँ स्लार्क भी नहीं लगा पा
trying to get that next big
स्लार्क
item.
यार पक के उसमें तो लगा ही देता है
Gaming Gladiators.
And it's just Gunner who's really getting there, looking for hard.
लीश में रूट में तो नहीं लगती मुझे जितना याद है लीश में भी नहीं लगती होगी फिर तो
Pretty much untouched, but all this objective gold is just making his net worth not.
प्लस हाँ नहीं लगती यार तभी तो मतलब इसके अल्टी से भी तो नहीं लगती ना ग्रिम स्ट्रोक
Here, give him an opportunity, set it up.
लीश
But how do you fight into this 5-man ball that's coming your way from Gaming Gladiators?
I mean, you have to take the tower defense or the
यार
Roche
ये
defense.
हार्ट
It's one of those
अच्छा
two,
नहीं है
which
मैं
means
बोल
every
रहा
time
हूँ
you give a
अभी
pick off like that
अभी क्या होगा ना ये हार्ट बना लेगा बट
So Gunner, he wants to push
मर
ये
जाएगा
अकेला
शायद
जिंदा
उसमें
बचेगा
स्टफ
after. Also, you're rushing towards this ag.
नहीं नहीं बचेगा ही नहीं
A lot of extra damage and tankability.
फिर भी मर जाएगा
ये एंटी का सेट अच्छा है
विदाउट स्पेल लगा है
You like Quinn get
एंटी का सेट
Jump onto the two of
Oh
them.
my
Down
God.
the Ravage with the Meteor. What an opportunity from Ace. Just like that. Cutting 2 down right in front of your tier 3. Wait, who needs a Roshan?
Yeah, Roshan be damned. You died in a bad part of the map to die on right now.
as Moo is struggling to get to this relic. An early
Kevan
cliff
Hector
as well,
दिख नहीं
just
रहा
gonna
मेरे को
open
मैप
up
में
this
किधर है
entire lane. Solar Crest and
वो
Pipe Dome for
triangle के
Celery
side में
10
जो
is massive right now. Do you have the
Okay.
damage to take this fight?
tormentor वाला side
Yeah. His tier 3 is going to be forfeited before they even get their
गाड़ी
heroes back up.
बनने
They
के
still
बाद
need
I think
another
कर
5 for the
सकते हैं लोग
Brewmaster to get here, but Gaming Gladiators will relent. They say, okay, we just did some serious economic damage to you, being able to kill 2 of your heroes. Once again, that Radiance is delayed. We've taken more and more
Weaver
property
versus
off the map,
TB
and now we could just go back to
ओके
farming our side
वीवर
lanes
के लिए
again.
क्योंकि वो टीबी को छोड़ के बाकी सबको मारता
Hector
है
at this point, he might be asking his team to please slow the game down. Just let me get the Scotty. We can take a good engagement because right now it's a lot to punch through. You give Ace another big team
तो
fight.
स्टार्टिंग के बाद बीकेपी भी लगेगा
You're gonna have to abuse buybacks at a certain point.
एक्चुअली स्कार्डी इनफ होता है जनरली क्योंकि वो 100 to 0 नहीं कर पाते ना फिर वो अल्टी आ जाती है
Gaming got obs in your base as well, so these moves are very telegraphed right now. Hector's just he struggled to get these lanes in deep.
Yeah, big difference between, I would say, K1 Hector, his
Ingredients
Terrorblade
चाहिए
play,
क्या
and
इनको
Dyrachyo.
चाहिए
I
यार
mean, Dyrachyo would be running down lanes constantly. He would die sometimes for it, but he would achieve some space. K1 Hector playing a lot more conservatively, trying to protect his own net worth. And it does result in some lane problems here. They're going to go ahead and deal with the Tormentor, pick up a little bit of extra gold from one of their supports here. Almost killing Yamsen, but Lelis is going to be the pickup.
Not a bad shard to get if you can make it work in the fight. Decent net worth for him.
Yeah.
Still looking for this Radiance on Moo. That's
Yeah,
gonna be the big one for Nouns. Is I mean, they're finishing up that Scotty and Hart between the two
Dispel
of
भी
their
हो
cores,
जाए
so they're
तब भी
really ready to gun it here. Contest that Roshan, which still hasn't been claimed by Gaming. If you can do that, you can turn a lot of this momentum around. Put Gaming in an awkward position where the high ground just doesn't look that appetizing, and then what are you doing on the map, right? What are you using with all these auras for? It's just a race to this 21, 22-minute mark. Are you fast enough if you're Nouns? Are you willing to even contest this? Scotty done. It's on a pretty damn good timing here. Man, Hector, he's big. It's where you want it all to align and just have it work for you. But Gaming, they're just too fast here. You're not here in time. Early momentum, just the extra gold from the tier 3, the tier 2s that they claim. It's going to propel them in this road for free.
अब बीके भी जा सकता है ये सॉरी
They are going to give it to the real here. Pango's going to take it. Level 15 just picked up a shard as well, so he's going to be tough to combat in these fights. He's going to get in there with his Rolling Thunder, and
it's a lot of damage.
Tons of damage. Just a question of whether or not Nouns can find that opening, right? Ace gets the anchor. Really good tool to be able to lock down these mobile cores. Earth Spirit's going to take some damage here, but nobody's rotating on the side of Gaming Gladiators. They're just trying to scare him back because they're still making this move in bottom lane. Dyrachyo wants to keep the pressure up here. They still have this last remaining tier 2 in the bottom lane.
You just want to stall. Cut as many lanes as possible. Stall this push as long as possible to put Hector in the best position to take that high ground defense fight when Gaming will likely force the issue.
Yeah.
And just go in, try and... I mean, your burst is just so bad. That's the one downside. But you do have kickback here. And this is great lane cutting. This is going to put Gaming in a position where you're losing some gold to force these plays. And if this high ground goes wrong, we've seen it go very wrong in this meta.
They're actually going to skip past this tier 2 because they want the pressure in here as quick as possible. Now, Layla's going to be in some trouble here with Inkswell coming in from the Weaver. Caught by the Brambles, though. They have the Meteor Hammer. Lots of AoE damage. He gets off the Terrorize, but actually a roll-up from Quinn. Dodges
Brambles
here,
को वो
and
भी
they
नहीं डाला
put the
उसने
damage onto the
क्यों
Rage Barracks. Melee's going to be dying soon. Nouns, they're missing their timing. They still don't have that Radiance on the Brewmaster. They're not quite ready to take this engagement, and Gaming Gladiators are going to punish them for it. In fact, they're going to chase after Moo. Moo has to use the Primal Split. Otherwise, there was danger of him being locked down. Maybe dying immediately. This last Brewling, it's in trouble. It's going to be chased down. He's gone. He's dead. It doesn't even matter.
वही मैं कह रहा था कि मूव का मुझे पता नहीं इतना अच्छा नहीं खेलता
Still doesn't have the Radiance. That's your level 2 ult down in a flash.
उनके
Before
पास
Hector's
push
even willing to come
अच्छा
back.
ये एनपी विलो गलत किया इन्होंने आई थिंक फीनिक्स टाइप का कुछ हीरो चाहिए था जो स्टॉल करे पुश को
फिनिक्स बैन था ना
इवन रूबिक भी चलता पता है
फिनिक्स बैन किया
You're
उन्होंने
just giving up too many core pickoffs here. The lead's not growing, but the momentum
Rubik
is.
होगा तो
Eventually, a wave is going to be
Aspirate और Rubik
protected,
अच्छे players
and
कर
Gaming
पाते
Gladiators will put damage on those
नहीं
buildings once again.
ये
You have
डार्क
to come up with a
क्या
team
नाम है
fight
इसका
somehow. Eventually, you cannot concede all of these buildings, but Gaming Gladiators are giving no space to breathe whatsoever. A kick away, that's not good enough. The chain set of the Rolling Thunder is a problem.
यही मैं कह रहा था यहाँ पे BK भी होता तो ये नहीं मरता
The damage from K1 Hector, they stun him up and then they retreat. They say,
ये
Menace,
गेम
can
तो
use
खत्म
let's go
है
ahead and make sure we have the spacing. We don't get caught too much like Win, who may be in trouble here, does have the agents, so this is just going to be his first life. Not a big deal, especially if he can get kills out of it. Moo and K1 Hector limping along, forced to use the Sunder here onto Ace. But they just do not seem to have the damage to threaten these heroes. Meanwhile, now they're going like flies out here.
Such a fast Shivas from Ace, just gets it on everybody. This attack speed aura really hurting Hector right now.
हो ही नहीं रहा डैमेज उसको तो कुछ अरे वो आर्मर भी आइस आर्मर भी है
Now the only saving grace for Nouns is if they can get Hector out of here. They have this tier 2 up, but maybe it's not even needed. If the carry dies here, they might just be able to go straight for the throne. Leela's trying to limp back to the fountain. Will be able to make it. The cores, they're going to have to use some buybacks here. A kill on Darachu would be crucial to holding, and Nouns do manage to get that much. They get more. Gunner chasing after him, doing what he can, but afraid of the turnaround. Yams is going to try and lend him support here. Sets it up with the Sprout into the rolling boulder. Do they have enough stuns to control this Pango? A silence ball went up, and they do manage to get him 2 cores on the side of Gaming
BK भी चाहिए था मैं बोल रहा हूँ तेरे को वहाँ पे अभी भी BK भी जाना चाहिए
close to the staircase to the fountain.
Those are big kills, almost 3,000 gold total, so at least you're getting something on the backswing. But like you said, still just not a entire team fight put together for Nouns, right? We haven't seen it the whole game between the Radiance Brew, which is still not just finished, by the way. Thank God I don't have to pray for it anymore. But now you have Radiance Brew online. You have to get these ults in sync. That's been the biggest problem. Ace is just continuously forcing the issue. Before you
level
take
20
that
shard भी
straight
चाहिए शुरू
I mean, he instantly put that Shivas to use on the back end.
AC को अब इसको मार भी नहीं सकता ना शिवास की वजह से
ये तो नहीं मर रहा
डेडलेस के बाद ही मरेगा या फिर मतलब इवन डेडलेस ही चाहिए सिल्वर एज भी G8 है पता
Zero benefits so much from these racks going down because it just sets you up for an entire other team item. Vlad's done as well, buffing up the damage across the board. This is where this hero is absolutely
ये देखो पाइप सोलर क्रेस्ट व्लाड्स
looking down the barrel of Megas. It's going to be a hero you're thinking about game 2 no matter what. Because once he gets to control the game like this, it just throws you into a tough position. Going to look for core pickoff of their own.
If they can get it, the Inkswell is going to be able to help out Quinn. He rolls up, turns around now with the Rolling Thunder, and it's going to be Nouns who are now on the retreat. Caught by the Soul Line.
बीच में अल्टी लग सकती है
And thanks to Gunner's heart, he does have plenty of HP. Caught here on the river, but do they really want to go for the Tidehunter?
Absolutely invincible at this point, and Ace knows that this is not even a fight Hector showed up to.
He's going to chase after Moog here, see if he can get him.
Darachu on the
with
back.
the anchor on his way out. Now the real Brewmaster is revealed. They do manage to jump onto Darachu here. Can they turn this around? The BKB activated to buy Darachu, but a Glimmer Cape might just get moved out of here. Darachu searching, won't find anything. Ace, he's not going to jump in. No need to at this point in time. They still cannot hit that bottom lane, that final lane of barracks just yet. There's still this tier 2 in their way. So.
Yeah, look at the top wave. Hector got it all the way in, so you have a catapult pressuring the tier 2 for gaming right now that Darachu has to go back and clean up here. I like that fight a lot better than some of these other pickoffs though, right? Especially the one we saw translated into breaking that base first. You take a fight on gaming side of the map, even if it goes a little wrong for you like that. You're not getting punished for it. And now maybe you can create an opening elsewhere with Darachu having gone back to the other side of the map. Gaming missing some
देखना भाई कुछ डैमेज ही नहीं कर रहा टीवी है वो मेटा
here for Gaming Gladiators. If they lose these heroes, there's so many being brought to the table. They need to be able to lock down Ace.
शिवास की
He's
वजह
so
से
tanky and he had the mobility. The force staff, they're going to try and hit this terrorize onto Quinn.
ये
Couldn't
अच्छा
roll up
खेल
in
रहा है
time. Gets hit by that first. The chain stuns are here. Gunner locks it down, and there's another pickup for Nouns. Another breath for Nouns to take in this game.
That's a very big one, and it's a great read of the map. This is all Hector setting that up. He gets that top lane in, you take a fight, nobody dies,
डेडलेस या फिर मतलब
and then you get the punish on the
नहीं
other side.
चाहिए तो सिल्वर ही जाना पड़ेगा टाइड
टाइड पता है यार मुझे तो
टाइड को ब्रेक करना है
gives you with the new stones. Yeah. Gunner's gonna chase
एक
you.
तो
He's gonna
मतलब
catch you.
शिवास की वजह से उस ब्रेक में मार नहीं सकते शिवास नहीं होता तो सिल्वर अच्छा रहता है बहुत
damage coming online. If you can get to the full silver edge here, all of a sudden your front line goes away if you're Tidehunter.
Right.
The control can suddenly be there. You can chain stun Ace. The armor's still going to be a problem, but you're starting to find the solutions here, and this lead back down to 9K. This is all you're trying to do in the game right now if you're Nouns. Keep the economic damage to a minimum and prevent gaming from getting to that last lane of racks, which is going to make the game a real uphill battle if they get a free Megas.
But you know, Gaming Gladiators, they see these pickoffs, and it is a wake-up call for them. They're going to go ahead and try and clean up the lanes, but they're also going to group up a little bit more.
Gunnar trying to break the smoke here. Does get scanned, so Ace knows.
Roll away. Is it in time? Gets him on the anchor. Nobody's going to be able to deal with this. Oh, good force tap down to the cliff. They need to be able to deal with this anchor still. Earth Spirit this far away. He still has that heart. He's pretty tanky, but Dyrachyo is shredding him pretty quickly. Does manage to roll outside and into his base. Dyrachyo just not quite in front of him. And that's going to be a BKB used.
Yeah, that's all the way down to 6 seconds already. I don't even... It doesn't feel like we've seen a fight where he got to use it.
ये भी अच्छा item है.
And it's down to the minimum. How much Nouns have been cutting out this fight, and another fight where Ace did not want to pull the trigger on the Ravage there. Feels like Gunnar's either slightly too tanky or maybe he has a buyback and they get in a weird awkward position. But like you're talking about breathing room, that's some more breathing room right now for Nouns as they hold this game steady. And now they're looking for their own pickoff. Once more, Gunnar will find the catch.
With this beautiful combination, Bedlam rolling Boulder, but the heroes are tanky. He got off the pipe, and now it's a problem. Half health, rolling Thunder, completely chain setting him down.
देख मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ ना बीके भी चाहिए भाई इसको अब जा रहा है अब मैटर नहीं करेगा.
Try to fight back into these heroes, but he is lacking in the teammates to do so. The buybacks are going to be coming in. They do manage to get off the Thunder, but immediately time lapse rectifies that bit of damage. Gunnar rolls back in. It's the stun, but K1 Hector needs to be able to retreat. This Titanner is constantly playing in his face, constantly slowing him down.
Man.
And K1 Hector, he's going to go for a desperate TP away. The damage is going to come too quickly, though. And now Nouns are left perhaps broken.
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ इसको करो shutdown वरना तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. यहाँ पे मेरे हिसाब से इनको है ना.
Yeah, that's exactly what Gunnar is trying to do right now.
Ursa वगैरह लेना चाहिए था.
As much space as possible. I will try and clear up some lanes with this buyback that yielded nothing. There's just no damage on the board here. Ace just runs through all of them, does not give a damn.
Yeah, but
Dyrachyo gets to clean up.
It's just so much different, right? The pickoffs on the Pango when he's alone, sure, damage looks okay, but then you get these 5 heroes all grouped up around this pipe and these auras.
And that was a fight where Gunnar found the Chen first. This is supposed to be the target you want to kill at the start of a fight. 2,000 HP with pipe, Vlad Solar. It's not even that easy. Hell, even the Ogre Totem doing some work here for Celery. He's just way too beefy. This is a beautiful Chen game right now. As you are running out of damage.
Draft ही अच्छा नहीं है.
Never had it on the
ये NP वगैरह बकवास हीरो है भाई.
And I love the fact that they just back away.
एक quelling blade मतलब 100 gold के items से अगर counter हो रहे तो
They are not going to give an opening to Nouns and let them climb back into the game like they did earlier. Learning from those mistakes, they stay grouped up and they will back away. Roshan is going to be spawning in just 15 seconds time. And Nouns, well, they're going to have to be playing against Megas for the rest of the game.
ये खेलना चाहिए था इनको Ursa.
At TI.
Even MKB okay था.
This early, 32-minute Mega Creep.
Yeah, it's a little tough.
If Nouns is going to make that comeback, it's going to be a long haul game. It's going to be another 40 minutes or something like that. Which we've seen a lot of those games, but again, Gaming Gladiators, that's just not their MO. They don't let you get to those late games if they can help it, and they're a great position to be able to end it as they take this Roshan, get the extra Aegis and Cheese. One final push is all it could take.
I also just don't see what's changing the paradigm in terms of Ace walking into 5 of you and going, what's up? Yeah, I mean, what has been the answer from the entire game? And it's supposed to be this Silver Edge on Hector. I think that's the one big difference maker here. Get the break in, and then all of a sudden you can stack the magic damage, the magnetize, all these debuffs on Ace. Maybe you have a chance of bringing the Titan down. But damn, it's just gotten delayed here as Hector is still searching for the damage, still searching for the levels as well. When you don't win the fights like this, you just fall behind. He's only level 16.
Yeah, and we're seeing the
17.
The carry ability of the Weaver. You talked about how this hero scales so much better than maybe it used to. He's got an MKB complete, and he's now level 20, so he's got the plus 90 Geminate attack damage.
Plus the shard. This is just a huge power point for Dyrachyo. Absolutely going to shred all 5 of you in the fight if he just gets the Sakuchi.
सुकुची थ्रू करेगा ना तू तो उनको एक जेमिनाइड अटैक पड़ता है तो बेसिकली तू भी स्क्रिप्ट्स के थ्रू हीरोज के थ्रू जाएगा तो जिन जिन हीरो के थ्रू गया तू उनको एक वो पड़ता है अटैक
and now they know they're outside of position here. They're immediately going to pounce on it. Gaming Gladiators read you like a book, and they will slam that book shut as they get these 2 pickups, and into the base they go to now finish it off.
Quinn just burning Hector's man out as well. I mean, everything is around Ace. Go with Ace. Follow his jumps. The man has led you very far. He'll continue to lead you farther here.
Once again, it's underused. Gunner, he just has to go and put
बीके भी बोल रहा तो मैं हार्ट अच्छा भी नहीं है हार्ट भी अच्छा नहीं है
for him anymore.
So much for a tanky meta. Yeah, game 1 in the books here.
एंग माना नहीं बचा कुछ नहीं कर सकता एक साइलेंस में ही मर जाएगा वो एंकर साइलेंस
you're thinking how do we slow this team down, right? That is all you're thinking about right now. Is it heroes, is it players, is it a play style thing? Do we need stronger lanes or auras of our own? Something
Shivas Guard तो slow करता ही है
they're not afraid to push these games higher on 20 minutes.
That's the part I love.
If you don't have the outspam, if you don't have the lane
और पैंगो का वो भी है ना यार
I love the fact that
पैंगो भी अटैक पे स्लो करता है ना उसका थर्ड स्टेज
the most of the strategy that teams have been running with, which has been a lot of greed, a lot of hand of Midas, scaling supports.
नहीं टीवी वर्सेस पैंगो उतना बुरा है नहीं honestly
अरे बहुत स्लो होता है यार
बीके भी करके
मतलब डैमेज नहीं है ना अभी वो काफी
This was with a lot of now signature heroes we've seen them.
बट दिक्कत ये है ना कि बाकी हीरोज कुछ तू बता एनपी ने क्या किया पूरे गेम में 0 काम किया बिलो तो फिर भी काम कर रहे थे एनपी की वजह से हार रहे ये लोग
लेन क्लियर किया नहीं इन्होंने सपोर्ट पे उनका चैन वगैरह देख के
एनपी जैसा अगर सपोर्ट खेल रहे होना था इनको वो चाहिए था सोलो लेनर टाइप का
It is the best of 3, so there's always the potential for Nouns to be able to come back on our panel, though we had a little bit of a change-up. Fly, you're going to be joining us here. You're going to be talking about this little NA showdown. Bring the faith for the Nouns fans.
Oh, yes. I'm here for all the NA action. You know, like, either way, America wins today. So that's what matters. And also, hi, Seattle, by the way, everyone. So nice to see you guys.
Hello, Fly. It appears Seattle is saying hi back to you.
That's nice. That's nice. No, that was a fantastic showing from Gaimin, and my God, these guys are so good at this like early tempo game.
Yeah, we were worried that maybe just in general, not so much for Gaming Gladiators, that when you put yourself on a timer, when you play this tempo, that if you aren't able to break that high ground, it's all going to crumble in that later part. But Gaming Gladiators are able to perfectly execute that one for themselves. But the early game wasn't so strong for them, Rezo.
Yeah, I think Nouns like played insanely well early game, and they got themselves into the mid game like pretty in a good position. But the way the Gaming played the mid game was like incredibly well, and you understand that when the teams are like controlling every rune, when they're like pressuring this mid tower super hard, and like they know their timings exactly well enough to like understand this little moments where they can pressure and like win the game off of. Like this mid jump when Ace jumped on the 2 heroes, Mu and was it Lelis? It was like the game winning jump for them. Like they turned the game like super hard in their favor after that moment.
And I mean, after that jump moment, Lacoste, why weren't Nouns able to get anything else for themselves? Why weren't they able to take some of the map back for themselves, especially when you have a nature that's
proper? Tide का shard भी हो गया ना early purchase करना. Tide का shard भी अब तो early purchase कर लेना चाहिए.
Tide वैसे खेलते हैं ना, Meteor Hammer, Blink Shard, और अब बनाते ही नहीं है ना आजकल उसपे.
And one of the reasons why they were so successful is Enchantress was banned
और ये AC वगैरह मतलब या फिर कभी-कभी सोलर बनाते हैं.
This was his second showing of Chen, and he looks really comfortable on the hero. The only thing that was changed, the way they played at the first start of the year, was he's not buying
Earth Spirit के साथ damage वाले वो चाहिए supports, high damage
which does allow Ace to scale. Ace has
जो मतलब वो थी Willow obviously, but ये भी एक और burst fight WD होता तो देख खत्म कर देती है लोग.
Offlane duo is, and I think this game
shows WD post 3 खेलना चाहिए था इन्हें.
it's insane what they can do together.
I absolutely love
नहीं,
the idea
post
behind the
fight
Chen
भी
because
खत्म
it
कर देता है भाई, ऐसे
release all the
इसमें।
damage from like Earth Spirit and Brewmaster early on with all like these heals, mechs like Leds and stuff. Like it's just like such a good pickup for Gaming Gladiators. They created this hero like
Although I
comeback,
think
made a
WD
comeback,
banned
and
था.
they're showing to us like why it is so strong. They're ending every game like at 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal, their average win game time there. But for Chen, Fly, you're a bit of a Chen player yourself. He got 20 assists on it, so it's a pretty good showing for Chen. But how do we make him work, and why is it only really Gaming Gladiators that have confidence in him right now?
I think they're just one of the only teams that's willing to go down this route, because most of the games now, they end up being pretty late game, right? Like you're drafting and you're aiming to play 40 minutes. You're going to play for second, third Roche. Chen is a different hero. Chen hits its timings pretty early, like 15, 20 minutes is kind of like your critical mass. You can take any objective super fast. Your laning stage is a little, like, not the best, but what they did is they picked a Weaver to make up for it. So suddenly you have a good laning phase with Chen. He was able to open up the small camp. He got a Harpy, which is basically what we're praying for as a Chen, as a Chen player. So I think they discuss this and they understand how to enable the hero, because that hero needs enabling. You cannot just pick a Chen and be like, yeah, that's fine, just go play Chen, like you would pick, a Phoenix. A Phoenix can do fine in almost any situation. Chen needs a very specific set of conditions, and these guys understand it better than anyone, and they're willing to do it, which is really impressive on the stage.
And when it works, it works. I mean, like we all said, they're able to close out a game in 30 minutes. We're going to hear, though, a little bit more information, a bit more of a breakdown, as we do have Purge standing by.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, Gaming Gladiators going for a very aggressive push strat with that Chen pickup in this game. And because teams are farming so long, it's important to keep your net worth high while you're doing this. So if we take a look at some clips here, we can see some of the things they did. 15 minutes into the game, they're sieging the tier 2 tower. The only way Nouns can defend this is by either grouping with a team fight or by counter pushing. They tried to counter push this, but what Pango does is he jumps in and zones out Gunnar. This forces the glyph from the tower, and this allows Dyrachyo now to just escape towards the right. So while his team deals with the tier 2 tower at a surprising 15 minutes, he basically just gets to farm the rest of the map. So if we take a look at the space that is now his, it's basically everything here. This is all his space that he can get farm for on the map as he moves down there with the fast hero. So this means he gets to accelerate net worth. He doesn't get behind against the enemy carries, and his team gets to further map control and gain advantage. And that map control is what finds them those kills that allow them to go high ground. If their opponents don't have their cooldowns, they can't actually take the team fights, and that's what gives Gaming Gladiators the advantage in this game.
Thank you so much, Purge. Nice breakdown there, and the visual cues as well. I always like it. Sometimes we're talking about team fights, sometimes we're talking about movements, and it's tough, but Purge having all the clips there with him is nice to be able to have all that information. And we've got some more information for you. It's about one of our teams currently on stage. It's about Gaming Gladiators.
I've been playing games throughout my whole life, whether it was on Game Boy, consoles, eventual computer, like all due to my older brother and his friends that I just watched. I wanted to play and I got into it. I was backpacking throughout Asia for a year and I saw some poster of TI and some public viewing in the city. So I showed up there and there's all of, 1,000 people, and I was like the only white dude walking in. So everyone was looking at me, people were like getting interested. I bought a laptop there. I started playing on a laptop. Then at some point back home in Germany, started studying. I'm like playing from the kitchen table or lying down in my bed. And eventually when they introduced the DPC leagues, I was like, Div 2? I can do Div 2. And then, I eventually got ambitious and wanted to prove whether I can make it or not.
He's still alive, but not for much longer. Eventually he will fall to Tofu.
I started grinding into top 100, getting into games with pro players, eventually making contacts, friends.
The golem comes down, Omnislash cutting on through though. GG's are called, and the series will go to the Hellbear Smashers.
My first team was Hellbear Smashers back then.
Get Tofu though, watch Tofu, watch Tofu.
But I don't know, it's not really real if you're not playing against a real and big competition. From watching TI is like filled of hype and emotion, and you see these teams with like fireworks winning and sad teams losing, the whole spectrum of emotions you get with like eventually people lifting the ages and me at home at the screen watching, like shredding tears. Like it's so intense that you really wish to experience the same, like to be there. For me, actually making it there now is an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything else, and I'm really glad that I made it to the main stage, and I hope that I get the chance to lift the ages.
What a beautiful piece on Tofu, his upbringing around gaming, and the fact that now here he is, top 8 on the main stage, potentially even going all the way to top 6 fly.
Yeah, I think what he said is very true, because when you enter this competition, you get to TI, it's the highest of highs and lowest of lows, right? I've been in situations where I was able to progress further, or in this case, not so well. And it's so devastating, and it's also so amazing at the same time, right? So that is the spirit of competition, and TI is really where it's all at.
Yeah, well, we're going to listen a little bit more about that game one. We do have the comms, the team comms from inside the booth of the final fight between Gaming Gladiators and Nouns.
Okay, we do not go buck wild on this push. We sit in formation and we make them run into us. They have to run into us, so we just let them and then we take the freebies and they roll in.
Stay off your chin. I have every aura on the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rush with Ravage. I'm just gonna hold a bit.
Yeah, we just can hold ourselves and we just chill.
Do you expect comms to be that calm fly?
I mean, that's a very, first of all, it sounded like very American, which is really funny. But Quinn said he's basically, sounds like he's leading this this high ground push or this situation, and I think that's really cool, because this game really progressed to the point where cores have to lead later in the game. You cannot be a support and control the game. So he made the call, just take it easy, let them run into us. That is a very calm and collected and very cool call to make.
And take freebies, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was gonna start looking towards game 2. So if you want to talk about game 1 still, Rezo, please.
Well, I mean, there's not much to talk about other than like how well the Gaming Gladiators played and how like much transition needs to be made from now to being the second game, right? I think they need to make some strategies pop up their sleeves. Like they need something new. Like maybe Dark Willow was a carry. They need something that
talent
just
वाला
break the
जैसे
game.
टीम चाहिए
They
भाई
need to break
60
the game
मिनट
because
वाली
otherwise
टीम को
Gladiators are gonna like take this
ये भी
stable
तो
game and
खेलती
they
है।
progress very well with it.
How crazy
60
is too
minute game.
crazy, Lucas? Because we liked the flair that Nouns have brought so far in TI Road to the
क्या
International.
नाम
So
है?
where's the line? Is this it? This is your last game?
अभी
Bring it
जो
out.
दूसरी
Do
team
that mid-ogre?
I think Nouns, they
Yeah,
need to
man.
go back
Nouns.
to how they've been
Nouns.
playing throughout the
Nouns,
DPC,
Nouns.
you know, playing at the major, the last
K1
major,
Hector
and I feel like
भाई
they need to bring out the
काफी
big guns, because if they want to play
वो
it
मेरा
super
कल
greedy,
TI
it's not gonna
7
work
से
out
वो
against Gaming
काफी
Gladiators. They
outstanding
showed
player है
against Nine Pandas, they showed earlier when they played against them in the group, so they can speed things up, and we're talking about, you know, 20
उसका
to
रेट किंग
30
याद
minute
नहीं है
games, which is pretty
हाँ मैं
impressive for
बोल
this
तो रहा हूँ सिल्वर एज
How do you guys normally
हर हीरो पे
prepare for
सिल्वर एज होता
Nouns
था
during
उसका
DPC
रेट
on Shopify?
For Nouns,
Like, are they the toughest?
या इससे किसी ने पूछा था सिल्वर एज क्यों बनाते हो जूता बेच के
throughout the years, and Nouns
तो
is generally
बोला था
BK.
कि
We have not
सिल्वर
faced
एज
this
से
Nouns
मूवमेंट
with
स्पीड
K1,
ज्यादा
which is
मिलती
different.
है
But I think a big key for Nouns is definitely Gunner, because he sort of sets the tempo. It feels like he's the one
Interesting
leading the game
player
for
है
them.
बस
So
उसका
if he can
मतलब
make
क्या
calls,
कहते
if he can make hit the rotations, I think that's how Nouns is
हैं
going
मेरे ख्याल से ड्राफ्ट गड़बड़
टॉपसन
था यार
टाइप का प्लेयर है पता है टॉपसन कैसा प्लेयर है
He should go back,
कि
talk to his players,
अलग टाइप का
look
है
at it
उस
objectively,
टाइप का प्लेयर
what
है वो
exactly happened and what do we
अगर
need to do for
उसको
the next game.
उस
Like,
टाइप की
don't
टीम मिल जाए जो
overstress it
उसको
because your
एडजस्ट
backs
कर
are
पाए
against the
उसके
ropes.
पेस
You're
पे
1
खेल
game from
पाए
elimination. You need to be able to be
तो
as
सही
collected
है
as you can possibly be.
मतलब काफी वो टीआई भी जीत सकता
themselves
है
in a single match at this TI.
स्पेशलिस्ट है
Ranked second
मतलब
right now for kills, so they've
बट
had a lot of
याटारो
good showings
सबसे
for
बेस्ट प्लेयर
themselves.
ही
And
है
whereas, what would you want to hear if
याटारो
you were
उसके
back there
टीम
and
के
you're like,
हिसाब
okay,
से
one game
खेलता
away
है
from elimination?
I mean,
मतलब
also
कुछ भी
like
खेल
to see
सकता है वो
that Lattice have his hero that he can roam it and like set up the tempo for the game. Like heroes
उसके
that
टीम
like,
को
would
जो
work
चाहिए
for
वो
him.
मतलब वो
And
गेम
maybe
मेरे
में जो
ख्याल
चाहिए
से
वो
आप
because
फर्स्ट पिक तो नहीं करेंगे मूव
like
का
Lattice
हीरो
is the guy who's making all the rotations happen and like
एक्चुअली
really
ब्रू मास्टर दिक्कत
really
नहीं
helping
थी
the gunner
तो
and
समझ रहा है ना
making
अब
this
देख
लेनिंग फेस थोड़ी
mid game
गड़बड़ थी यार
rotations happen as well.
अब इसमें
I feel like if he's playing these
ड्राफ्ट ही अच्छा नहीं
पोजीशन
लगा
फाइव
था
वो होता तो विच डॉक्टर होता ना जीत जाते हैं लोग
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ मेरे ख्याल से ड्राफ्ट का
कुछ
इशू
नहीं
था
कर सकता विच डॉक्टर के अंदर
Witch Doctor, and also Spirit Breaker. He really shines on the hero.
टाइड हंटर पुश नहीं कर सकता उसके बाद विच डॉक्टर की अल्टी अब क्रीप्स भी मारती है तो चैन भी पुश नहीं कर सकता
They're all ready for game number 2. They've had the 10,
और या
15
फिर
minute
एक और
break. They've got
एग्जांपल
the
देता हूँ
reset
फिनिक्स उन्होंने
buttons
बैन किया था
pressed for
फिनिक्स होता
themselves
तब भी
now,
पुश नहीं कर
especially
सकते
on
थे
the
ये
side of
लोग
Nouns.
obviously
There's a lot
और
building
क्या
up for
था
themselves here, but either way, they've got to be happy with what they've done for themselves. Do you want to take any stabs in the dark at what they said in the back room? Quickly, Rezo?
I mean, it's mostly about the trust, right, at this point, because they need to understand, like, how to stop this machine that is walking on you and, like, pushing all your towers. Like, you need to have heroes, like, maybe even, like, a Keeper of the Light. Like,
कोई भी long range Rubik जैसे मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, Rubik with वो
fight this mid game
Pit
and having this, you know, freedom to walk into the late game if you have that.
मतलब
Look, they might have been talking about heroes backstage in that small break, but we do know that we have previously been able to catch up with Nouns and ask them what words they would give themselves if they were on the edge of elimination, which is what they're facing right now.
I feel like body language at that point is probably more important than actually saying a speech. Like, if you look at your teammate and, you know, they're like slunched over and like kind of like, you know, they're stressed, like they're holding their head or something, like, you know, it can give off the wrong vibe. But if you look at your teammate and they're just confident, they're just sitting there, they're just chilling, it can kind of instill a confidence in the rest of your team, right? Like this guy is just here, you know, he's just playing. Because I'm a veteran, right? So it's like the younger guys, whether instinctually or not, are gonna look at me and try to like how's this guy acting? Like, how is he doing it? I think that I kind of have to be almost like, you almost have to be a role model in that sense. You know, I play with Misery, I play with Fear. And I remember thinking, like, these guys, they have habits. They've been around forever. Like, whether I realized it at the time or not, like, you end up copying them in a way. So I guess that's me now. I'm the old man.
Old man for himself over there, but the body language is the key. Apparently that's the indicator, Lacoste. When they were walking out, did you have a look at their body language, how confident they might be feeling from their walkouts?
Yeah, I didn't see anything, you know, that I should be too worried about. Maybe some slight nerves coming in because it is the first time that they're playing on the stage for a couple of players. But, you know, we've seen some of the comebacks. We've seen Petboom managing to make a comeback after losing game 1, which is the only one in the lower bracket. And they're going to need to speed things up, like we mentioned it a couple of times already. And I also want to see Hector on more explosive hero, something that comes online fast, that is not, you know, this troll. Rezo was, you know, aiming for this Slark potentially. It's not the best against this, like, dead ball, but, you know, if you're playing the pick-off game, try to, you know, get some of these early engagements going. I feel like these type of the heroes for Hector could work out.
Do you double down on the same tempo if you're gaming Gladiators Fly?
I think they're gonna have to see what trades are gonna be in the pool, because it might be different, but I think they're the team that does not shy away from taking the faster options. Like, nobody's gonna first pick a Weaver versus a Brewmaster. This is like a Gaming Gladiators thing. So it depends what they have prepared, and I think now it's on Nouns to change what they're gonna do, and then for Gladiators to respond.
If you're in a Nouns position, Rezo, you've been there before, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be thinking about how to make my lane stronger and, like, look into the mid game. You know, this robust, have robust heroes that can fight back, and no matter what, and not, like, you know, not even like thinking about split pushing them. But I think Furion is not the best hero for them in that sense.
Maybe back to the drawing board for themselves, but the series isn't over. We do have game number 2.
Nouns versus Gaming Gladiators. Game 2.
We'll be having a draft very soon, and I do know Gaming Gladiators having first pick yet again. Fly, a bit surprised by that one?
A little bit. I think Nouns, like, they should see what Gladiators are doing. They're just banning their strong teamfight supports, right? They ban A, they ban Phoenix, and then whatever is left, which was this Nature's Prophet, is a completely different hero. It does not do anything those other heroes do, right? It's a very tempo hero, but with the way Gladiators are drafting, it's hard for him to even fight them.
I'm surprised Nouns went to the ban Necrophos, because as I mentioned, there's like so many counter picks to this Necrophos early on that you can pick, like Ant, Shadow Demon, like even AA. I mean, AA is banned, but like there's just too many of them that, you know, you can't really afford to pick Necrophos this early. So I'm not sure what is it for, really.
Probably it's going to be some like mid hero for Gunnar that loses heavily against Necro, some melee hero, because most of the time Gaming Gladiators, they've been using this Necro on 23rd, 24th pick to a great extent, because they know how to utilize it. They see, oh, there's no magic damage coming out, we're just going to bang it out and dominate the game. And also the build that Quinn went for is, you know, you pick up that shard, maybe a booster, Boots of Travel, and then turn the booster into Heart, into Aghanim Scepter, become unkillable.
I mean, there's something interesting that happens when you have a week break, because I've noticed this. So even when we played the first stage and we had to wait a little bit and play the second stage, that's when we sort of came up with this idea of like Dark Willow. Turned out horribly, right? But
unfortunately,
that's why it's interesting to see what changed, right? Spirit Breaker, I know Gladiators is probably the only team that was willing to give away Spirit Breaker, but suddenly, you know, Nouns aren't picking it either. Maybe it's just in this specific series and we're going to see Spirit Breaker later in the day. But during this week, a lot of things could have changed when people scrim, because that's what happened to us as well.
Did you see how confident they picked that Spectre? They didn't take even 1 second. Like, they immediately answered this Dazzle.
I feel like they just wanted to ban out everything that was comfortable for Gaming Gladiators in that early, everything that would give Spec a bad lane. And they're like, let's just insta-pick her. It doesn't matter if Gaming Gladiators have first pick. It doesn't matter what they pick up for themselves. Spec is going to be our make or break right now.
Yeah, we wanted to see this Spectre being, like the carry, being more active. This is the hero that is active every minute at level 1 ulti, so... And this Necroban makes even more sense. This is the hero that destroys Spectre. Spectre is a hero that plays on low HP, and also in terms of laning, you do absolutely nothing. This is going to be the potential off-lane Necro, and yeah, really glad that they got rid of it. And now they also have a backline jump for this Dazzle, so they have, you know, all you need is Vision Hero. We've seen throughout the TI that there's been a lot of these Vision Heroes, mostly Treant Protector, who's paired up with Spectre. He picks up that level minute 15 shard, and then provides Vision for Spectre so that she can get the jump.
We're going to see they're going to be able to pick that one up for themselves, because Gaming Gladiators having Dazzle, I feel like this team has a lot more flex in a Dazzle pickup. How do you rate the hero right now, Fly?
I think the hero is ridiculous, especially when you can play it in different positions. It's a lane winner, it scales into the game, it gives you objectives, it pretty much does everything. It's also a tinker for whatever reason, it becomes a tinker late game. We saw Ace play it.
Yeah, like,
it was insane, right? That clip where he gets to blink across the map. And you can even play it as a support if you want, because it is a strong laner as like a very last resort. So Spectre, while it is good against Dazzle in the game in a very, like, you know, theory, you can jump the Dazzle, but you might get bullied in the lane, and Dazzle is also good at grouping up, which is something Spectre doesn't like. So it's sort of like a double-edged matchup for me.
Yeah, it looks like Gaming's not like gonna switch things up. They're gonna just keep going for this ball, super push with Dazzle already, like having all the auras and like protecting the backline. And as you said, like, yeah, this Dazzle is not your ordinary support Dazzle that Spectre can jump and burst, right? This is gonna be like super fat Dazzle with like BKBs and like 3000 HP, and it's not gonna be as easy to focus him in the fight.
This Grimstroke pick makes Spectre lane much easier because you have a kill threat. Usually we've seen a lot of defensive lanes coming out with Spectre, but also the pairing is insanely good because you can, like, it was one of the Chinese teams that were doing this constantly, just Grimstroke following Spectre, and whenever she has ulti available, use that Inkswell, she uses the Haunt, and then you have extra damage, extra stun coming out, especially if Spectre builds into this early Urn of Shadows, which does allow her to pretty much solo kill the supports from 100 to 0.
I think this is another, it's a good Chen pickup because, again, Spectre doesn't like playing against a team that's grouped up as like 4 or 5 because you're going to sit there with auras and heals and it's hard for her to kill anyone. So Chen is inherently good against Spectre. This does tell us that this Dazzle is most likely going to be a core position, right? It's going to be either offlane or mid, high chance. Because they picked the Tiny, I'm going to assume it's going to just be offlane. They said like, hey, Dazzle versus Spectre, free lane, let's just pick a Tiny. Because Tiny is not the best hero right now, but if you have a hero like Dazzle in the offlane, it basically enables you to pick something like Tiny, which, you know, if you get a lane for this hero, he can be very strong. And I also wanted to touch on I think Grimstroke is actually a very weak position 5 in laning. If you can get out of the lane, the hero's great. He has amazing spells, but he's actually a very weak laner in my opinion.
I love this Tusk pickup for Lilith. That's the hero I was talking about that he can roam with and set up the tempo for the game.
Yeah, solid.
But I'm not sure about this Gaming Gladiators pickup of the Chen because it seems to me that they're double downing on the, you know, the auras and the push with the Zaza, and they're liking, like, those 3 heroes are liking in damage for now. So they need to pair it like really well with some hero that has constant damage like Terrorblade, and if they don't get it, they might have troubles in the mid game phase.
How do Grim and Tusk fare as a
silence
yeah, if you're playing the Grim and you get a Tusk as the other support, do you like this? Do you want to be playing together a lot more, or how do you enable those 2 supports?
So Grim is definitely enabled in this game. First of all, to what Rezo said, you know, they already picked Darks here, possibly anticipating that Terrorblade, so that was kind of a cool call. But Grimstroke, we saw this Grim Spectre combo before, where you Inkswell the Spectre and then she ultis out. That's a really cool way to get Spectre into the game using that potential. And then you can also play with the Tusk as well. Ooh, Lone Druid. All right. That's
It's
an
a
exciting
lot of push coming out from Gaming Gladiators, a lot of heal, a lot of sustain. Really worried because Nouns, they have very limited amount of damage coming out. It needs to be this Darkseer popping off, also Grimstroke as a hero, as a position 5, you want to max out your Inkswell. This is only the problem with the hero because you want to max your other
अच्छा
abilities.
नहीं अबे ये Dazzle mid है
Extra units, you want to
मिड
max out your
डैजल और
hero,
वो
but
भी हो
most likely
सकता नहीं
not
नहीं
gonna happen
ऑफलाइन
because of the
डैजल है
value
नहीं
that you get
नहीं
from
नहीं mid
silence.
Dazzle है offlane
Darkseer
Lone
at least
Druid
is going to have this like
कैरी लोन रोड भी
they're really
चलेगा ना
strong
क्या
at
दिक्कत
getting the pickoffs with this.
Carry Lone Druid नहीं
डैजल
है
होगा तब भी दिक्कत है
One of the
फिर
heroes, but Gaming Gladiators, I don't think they're going to be
Honestly?
on the sidelines as much as Nouns would want to.
मेरे ख्याल से carry Sven
Reminds me
लेंगे
some
वो
of
लोग
the TI4
Tinker
Viper
Zeus
when,
type hero लेना
when we saw the
चाहिए
heavily
Zeus भी
like
नहीं
one team
Viper भी चलेगा
with the heavily push
Viper तो
like
घट गया है
Gladiators in this tournament. They're like
Viper
doing
मतलब
some
उतना
things
अच्छा नहीं है
that
ये
then,
Dazzle
like,
के
no
against
other teams is doing.
Tide
So,
के
but
against
I'm not
sorry
pretty sure like how like
क्या
how
नाम है
you can
इसका वो
push
Tiny
without
के
like
against
having a
Tiny
team fight, because
मार
right now
देता है
their lineup
उसको
doesn't
लीना
look
चल
very good
सकता
to
है
fight. They only have like auras and like tower damage, but
हाँ
like,
लीना
what is there to
ही
like stop?
again like
अब
Tide वो
लीना बैन कर दिया
Just
उन्होंने
focus on killing
अरे
them with the Darkseer and like insane team fight that Nouns already have.
लीना
in their
अच्छा था
lineup.
लीना अगर मिड
Yeah,
के
I think
against
it's
मिड
a
Dazzle है
different
तो क्या कर
concept
सकते
because
हैं
what they're doing is basically saying we're gonna get
प्लस
a
कैरी भी
gold
तो बाकी है
lead,
उनका
and this gold lead is gonna be our team fight because you do have all these items in the game. You have pipe, mech, drums, flats, all these different auras. Like
ये
drums
जो
of
है
Fae.
ना स्पेक्टर
And
वर्सेस
that is
लोन रोड
basically what your team fight
रेडियंस
is.
ब्लेड मिल के
And
बाद
what I can see
स्पेक्टर
happen in
फेवर्ड
this
है
game is like they're aiming to win lanes again, and these guys have a Grimstroke 5 of a Spectre. That lane is gonna lose, right? This Darkseer hero, he usually loses his lane too, especially if these guys are gonna put Lone Druid against Darkseer. They're gonna win that lane to enable Chen again, just like they did with the Weaver. I can see this being a Chen Lone Druid lane to enable the Chen. They're gonna use that gold lead to group up. When they group up, Nouns only has one option. They have to get in there. They have to get
Mid
into the
tusk
center of the
कैसा है?
fight. They do not have deep push, right?
Mhm.
You said Grimstroke is gonna max
नहीं
Inkswell. He's not
अच्छा
gonna have
नहीं
his
है
max
यार
Q.
इनको
They have
वेव
to jump
वो
everyone,
चाहिए वेव
cast their
क्लियर
abilities,
चाहिए
and hope something dies. And I don't think they have it right now. Maybe it'll change in the last pick.
Yeah. I mean, for gaming, they need to play this game like pretty much ideal,
OD?
like, to make sure
OD
that
is
like,
the
there's
name.
no like random fight popping up on them, and like they lose and then they lose their timing, and then the game becomes like super random. Like they have to make sure that they are creating collecting all
Ember
the
Spirit.
rules, going tower by
Ember
tower, and
तो
not
कुछ
giving this
कुछ
random
नहीं होता
बट
opportunities.
यार ये
for
मिड
Nouns.
Looking into one hero
एम्बर
from
अगेंस्ट
mid lane, that's
इसके
Keeper of the
लोन
Light
रोड
we
के
talked
अगेंस्ट
about,
उतना अच्छा नहीं है
maybe
बट
some
चैन के
position
अगेंst
4,
ठीक
but I
है
feel like this
डाजल
hero
के
could
अगेंst भी
really work
ओके
well in the mid lane because he
Ember
builds into Spirit Vessel. It's a deep push, lowers the cooldown
Tinker
of the
अच्छा है
abilities of Spectre. If she manages to stall this game for 30, 35,
इनका
40
मिड लेनर
minutes,
को ना गनर
Chakra
टिंकर
Magic,
नहीं
all these
खेलता ना
auras
बट
boss on top of it, I could see them
लेस रैक वगैरह
maybe
लेंगे यार
taking
मेरे को लग रहा है
Is it
गेमिंग
Walker
का
लेस टैक नहीं भाई लेस टैक कहा डाजल के अगेंस्ट
That could
खेलेगा तो
definitely-
नहीं नहीं
Dazzle
गेमिंग
और
वाले
Lord
गेमिंग वाले ले
Alacrity
सकते हैं
Despair. Despair's gonna go wild.
हाँ,
He's
वो ले
gonna just
सकते हैं।
maim the towers down. I can see that being something they would go for.
Yeah, I
Win
love the
hero.
Walker suggestion.
उसको
Just
साइलेंस से
really
नहीं
good
फर्क
Darkseer to
पड़ता
solve his like shields
स्पेक्टर
and
से नहीं
the
ज्यादा
surges.
फर्क पड़ता किसी एल्केम
अल्केमिस्ट
वही बोला डेजल मिड है लोन ऑफ
टेम्पो
लोन
है
ऑफ
ना ये
Okay,
सही
look, I
है
was gonna throw it out
डाजल
there
मिड
because I
है
didn't
ये
know
तो
it was ever possible, but will we ever see
क्योंकि मेरे को पता है एस ही
Dazzle
खेलता है
mid or
लोन
potentially a lone druid mid, sort of a BM towards Gunner because Gunner does love his lone druid mid too.
I don't think we're gonna see a Lone Druid mid, but I think now. So I was wondering this because Ace is known to be a Lone Druid player.
Yeah.
But when they picked Lone Druid, I thought this is a good matchup against Darkseer, so maybe Darachi is gonna play it. But now I can see being a Lone Druid offlane and Dazzle mid, and this Alchemist being just safe
Not
against Darkseer
playing.
because Darkseer does typically give your carry a free lane.
I think it's might be Alchemist for Quinn as well. Just like looking at the matchup, like if he's gonna have a free matchup mid, he might play it mid because Lone Druid is, as you said, like it's really good against Darkseer, so there's no point of like switching it from there.
good thing for Gaming Gladiators they have the last
Sniper.
they have like multiple
नहीं
options like what they want to
स्नाइपर खेल सकते हैं बट काफी वो हो जाएगा इन्वोकर भी नहीं
प्रसाद
whether that's Dazzle Tiny, whether that's offlane.
टिंकर ही मेरे को तो लग रहा है
Tiny, so they have a lot of options in their sleeves.
अगर वो
And this is why this Dazzle hero is a headache to draft against because they have to pick a mid hero that's not bad against Dazzle, and there's not many.
But Tinker
Those
हार
heroes like
जाएगा
Kunkka, Earth Spirit,
Dazzle
all
से
bad.
mid
So maybe that Coddle suggestion is going to come out because that is a
Coddle
hero I can
अच्छा
see
है।
stand against all the potential mid laners. I'm not sure really what else is that good against Dazzle. It has to be a ranged hero.
आगे है डिस्को वाले बंदे स्केलेटन डांस
has played in so far in the Road to International. The other one was Invoker on that list. Everything else was Melee, which he said that he doesn't want at all for himself.
Pretty much comes down to Invoker at this point. Maybe some Queen of Pain, but
डिस्कॉर्ड पे थे ही नहीं तो कहा
It is going to be the
डिस्कॉर्ड पे थे
नहीं यार मैंने खोल के देखा था डिस्कॉर्ड पे नहीं
नहीं यार डिस्कॉर्ड पे थे पूरा टाइम 10 बजे 10:30 ही यहीं है
I'm afraid for them because I do
वही
think they
मैं देखा
chose
स्ट्रीम पे आ रही है
Last week क्या थी?
lanes against one of the most laning
देखा नहीं मैंने लास्ट हीरो
that punishes you for
हाँ
having
क्वार्टर
so
नहीं यार
हाँ ये सही है इतना बुरा नहीं है कोटल बट अगेन
I also love the Alchemist
चलो
pickup
डार्क सीयर
because the
स्पेक्टर बहुत अच्छा है ना अभी स्पेक्टर टेम्पो खेलती है तो
And also it's a bit of a security for them.
अगर ये स्पेक्टर ब्लेड मिल रेडियंस तक पहुंच पाए ना
Nouns are very famous for playing these
और ये लोग डैजल को मार पाए
security coming from the Alchemist,
तो
really good scaling, so
बहुत ही
they're not necessarily going all in this like 30-minute push.
Alright, we had a lovely draft panel there talking about everything that was picked up, and it does mean that we have one more person to hear from, and that is Game
प्लस वेसल बिल्डर भी है ना
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the dominator of the DPC. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for CY. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, obviously.
Fantastic, fantastic. Last game, a lot of comfort heroes coming out for your opposition, but a few comfort heroes for you as well. How confident were you in that last series?
I would say after draft, I felt pretty good already. And when I saw the tempo we could put in the game, I was even more happy.
All right, well, speaking about tempo, they got the first pick Spectre. Now, I know this hero's been exploding in pubs after the road to the International. You guys picked a very aggressive lineup, not only against that, but in your team push in general. How do you feel about your draft? What are your chances of winning this one?
Our chances, I'm not going to give you any number, but I feel pretty good about this draft, I will say. So, yeah, I hope we go for the W.
Just one number, please. Just one. Out of 100, just throw one out.
क्या आज एक ही सीरीज है क्या यार
अबे नहीं
ब्लेड मिल रेडियंस चाहिए
3-4 होंगे ना
अगर हो जाए तो हार ही नहीं सकते
नहीं यार आज मैं देख रहा हूँ विकिपीडिया पे तो आज एक ही मैच दिखा रहा है
अबे क्योंकि वो रात हो जाएगी ना अपने एंड पे आईएसटी टाइम में
अरे हाँ हाँ
अच्छा आईएसटी में दिखा रहा है ये अरे यार इसको भाई इसके टाइम पे दिखाना चाहिए था यार जो यूटीसी पे दिखाना चाहिए
आईएसटी पे दिखाना चाहिए ना क्या बात कर रहा है
अरे यार यूटीसी पे दिखाना चाहिए ना यार ऑप्शन होना चाहिए
आईएसटी पे दिखाना चाहिए चले डेवलपर होके ऐसी बातें मत कर आईएसटी पे दिखाना चाहिए
मैं कर रहा हूँ ये ज्यादा कंज्यूमर फोकस्ड है
जब पहले मैं भी देखने लगा मैं कहा आज एक ही मैच है जब वो स्टार्टिंग 2 हफ्ते पहले स्टार्ट हुआ था
एक मैच देख के क्या करूं भाई मैं समझ में नहीं आया
The pace at which Ace ran down these objectives was way too much for those heroes to combat, particularly Hector on the Terrorblade. So Spectre
यार फिर से बट एस को रोकना जरूरी है
अरे इस गेम एल्केमिस्ट को मार सकते हैं ये पोर्टल मोटर के साथ तो आदमी है
नहीं एक्चुअली ये टस्क को रोटेट करना पड़ेगा लोन रोड को मारने के लिए प्री 6
अरे यार ये बिल्ड अच्छा नहीं लग रहा मेरे को जो हेक्टर जा रहा है आन वाला
क्या गया कौन सा वाला
आन पीटी ब्लेड में सीधा ब्लेड में जाना चाहिए
नहीं अर्न अरे वो माना रीजन प्लस किल पोटेंशियल के लिए अच्छा होता है प्लस माना रीजन इम्पोर्टेंट है उसमें ज्यादा सीधा ब्लेड मिल नहीं जा सकता ना ब्लेड मिल से वो नहीं होता फार्म भी नहीं होता उतना किल भी नहीं दे सकता
I think that one thing about this lineup though for Gaming Gladiators is I do
Blade Mill into Radiance मतलब earn PT Blade Mill Radiance ऐसा मतलब ऑप्टिमल है अगर
इस गेम में तो जा भी सकता है ना इस गेम ऑफलाइन वो नहीं है हीरो क्या बोलते हैं टैंकी वाला हीरो नहीं है अरे मतलब जो वो बना है वैनगार्ड बना के बस मिड पावर में खड़ा हो जाए ऐसा ही
अरे लोन रोड भी वैसा ही हीरो है भाई वैनगार्ड की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती उसको
लोन रोड है क्या
अबे लॉन्ड रोड भाई देखना 7-8 मिनट में डिफ्यूजल आ जाएगा और फिर फेलेगा
वैन ब्लेड मेल रश कब करना चाहिए जब पता है कि तुम लेन में रुक ही नहीं सकते बिल्कुल। ऑनेस्टली बताओ ये ग्रिमस्ट्रोक मार सकता है डोंट रूट को।
ग्रिमस्ट्रोक तो मार सकता है
अगर उसने वो नहीं लिया ना सैवेज रोर लेवल 2 पे या लेवल 3 तक, मतलब सैवेज रोर एक भी पॉइंट नहीं लिया तो फिर मार सकते हैं ये दोनों मिलके। सीधा उस बेयर को इग्नोर करके सीधा उस पे चढ़ो।
उसकी एचपी क्या है 400 एचपी होती है मुझे गाड़ा है।
अरे आप बियर का बिल्ड बदल गया एमओएम डेसो नहीं होता।
अच्छा इसको नहीं पता क्या बेयर अब वो यूनिवर्सल हो गया तो स्टैट्स बनते हैं
इसलिए डिफ्यूजर बनाए। ओह माय
अरे
तो इको सेबर डिफ्यूजल हार्पून ये सब बनता है, रेडियंस वगैरह नहीं बनता।
नहीं तो लोग गोएड जो हीरो है वो यूनिवर्सल नहीं है, उसका बेयर यूनिवर्सल है।
नहीं हीरो भी यूनिवर्सल है ना, हीरो पहले यूनिवर्सल हुआ था और बेयर को कोई वो प्राइमरी एट्रीब्यूट ही नहीं था ना उसका।
और दोनों के भाई एक बार मैं खेला
भी नहीं था, हीरो क्रीप भी नहीं था वो, अब हीरो क्रीप भी बन गया। तो तू उसको मारेगा तो क्रीप एग्रो आता है और बेयर भी क्रीप एग्रो खींचता है, पहले नहीं खींचता था क्रीप एग्रो बेयर।
मतलब इससे थोड़ी लेनिंग तो खराब है, थोड़ा सा इफेक्ट पड़ा है।
90 डैमेज होता है उसका और बेयर का मिला के 12 ब्रांचेस बनाते हैं, टैंगो को लेते ही नहीं है अर्ली। और स्ट्रेट डिफ्यूजल जाते हैं।
Pretty good amount of kill power in just those two.
It's also deceptive. You just don't expect the stun coming out from the Spectre when he haunts onto you. So the other big one's like the Bedlam combo with this hero. We're seeing it being developed a bit more, but yeah, I do like this combination. Double dagger in the fight's never bad either.
But are you going to be able to get out of lanes healthy enough and powerful enough to go around looking for those kills? Right now, it's not looking so hot. 7-1 in CS for K1 Hector.
Yeah, Gaming definitely pulling ahead on the lanes here. Even mid is going a bit rougher for Gunnar than I would have expected. I mean, you have to rush boots in this matchup. You get to just push it out, but
तब तो मेरे को नाउंस की नहीं अच्छी लग रही है,
which kind of hurts this hero's momentum.
क्या?
In a lot of the games I've seen Gunnar play,
मेरे को नाउंस
this
पे
hero is
का
slower
उतना
than
अच्छा
the
नहीं लग रहा।
mid coddle patch that we saw. So you can't really measure him up to that.
क्योंकि यार बेयर अगर फार्म हो जाए तो बेयर तो स्पेक्टर को भी मार देगा।
Bots into Vessel here will be bots.
वो मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना रेडियंस ब्लेड में अगर बन जाए ना स्पेक्टर का
as you alluded to. Not necessarily the best
रेडियंस
model.
ब्लेड में लो मांटा भी लगेगा।
मांटा मतलब बट रेडियंस ब्लेड मेल में भी वो बेयर मार नहीं पाता ना फिर, मतलब मर जाएगा बेयर।
नहीं लेकिन अब स्टैट आइटम बना सकते हो ना, अब तो बेयर पता जब बेयर कार्ड ही लेके आ रहा है।
अरे बेयर पे वही बदला है पीटी वोटी का।
अब कोटल भी है ना, क्योंकि कोटल भी काफी डैमेज करता है भाई। प्लस वेसल बिल्ड होती है कोटल पे तो बहुत अच्छा है।
But what was it random? Celery made the read there. Placed a ward to be able to see this rotation coming out with the Grimstroke, Yamson.
Oh, we got another one. Okay, no worries here.
तो इनका टेम्पो बहुत सही है। ये अल्केमिस्ट पिक अच्छी थी।
3 versus 3. Celery is likely to die here. Thanks to a help finish off, and that is first blood. 4.5 minutes in, we finally see first
ये टस्ट पे काफी गेम वो है डिपेंडेंट है इसमें।
They'll chase him away, but damage already being done. It does leave Spectre in a 1v1
ये
against
हीरो भी
Lodrian.
बहुत
I
स्ट्रांग
don't know if this is
है।
any better.
पता नहीं मैंने वो जो ग्रुप फेस था उसमें देखा ही नहीं था डार्क सीयर को।
This matchup just plain sucks. There's no way around it. You're gonna get bodied in the one-on-one. You have no ability to fight back. No innate regen. I guess you could go.
तो क्या अब अगर मान लो मैं इसको मारूंगा, बेयर को पंच मारूंगा, तो उसका वो निकलेगा क्या एल्डो?
क्या निकलेगा?
बेयर को पंच मारूंगा मैं, डार्क सीयर।
हाँ निकलता है। मांटा भी बना सकता है ना बेयर पे।
वो
हीरो क्रीप बन गया ना
नहीं, क्योंकि पहले भी जब क्रीप था ना तो सारी क्रीप की उसमें वो चीजें नहीं थी, क्या बोलते हैं प्रॉपर्टीज।
मांटा नहीं बनता था ना कभी भी उसमें, स्टैट्स बनते ही नहीं थे बिल्कुल।
नहीं वैसा नहीं, मतलब जैसे क्रीप जैसे सीएम की सेकंड स्किल क्रीप पे मारो तो 10 सेकंड रहती है, लेकिन इस पे मारो तो 10 सेकंड नहीं रहती है, तो वो नहीं क्रीप था नहीं हीरो था। पहले भी है फिर
Some of the onus back on Announce in terms of who are you addressing in this laning phase? Because right now, all three of these cores.
Ancient creep type का था ना वो. Ancient creep type का था थोड़ा.
Now Quinn is here to help out, and they're going to be chased away. Gunner still trying to finish off Tofu, but the heals will be able to keep Tofu alive, no problem.
Hector getting rooted.
Oh, just perfectly timed for Ace. To even have the support coming in from the side wasn't necessary, but Celery was there for the backup.
And it should just be a fast tower push on this low Druid lane, the way it's shaping up. Ace has also protected his catapult on this wave. Benefit of that pull on the other side, and the golem.
Announce ने बस यही बोला है कि Spectre
Lone Road के against जीतते कैसे है पता है? उसके बेयर को स्लो करके. Attack speed slow या फिर मतलब movement speed slow. तो Veno, Viper, Sniper, Drow.
The hero we've been waiting for.
अरे वो तो अपने ब्रैकेट में तो लोग इग्नोर कर देते हैं प्लेयर दौड़ते दौड़ते आता है लोग इग्नोर करते हैं एक बार हुआ था
मुझे याद है
दौड़ते दौड़ते आया चार लोगों के पीछे बीच में से और मैं स्नाइपर खेल रहा था सबसे पीछे खड़ा था और मेरे को मार के चला गया पर लोगों ने इग्नोर कर दिया
अब मेरे उसमें नहीं करते भाई मैं खेल रहा था कैरी
You have to combine this Darkseer and Coddle.
तो सामने वाइपर था, वेनो था, पता नहीं क्या क्या लोग थे भाई.
They're a lot better than the last game draft setup wise.
Legend तक कर देते हैं. फिर एक शेड से लोग हैं ना
मतलब सुधर जाते हैं. Joins those very early pushes, right? In that Weaver game, he can join those.
फिर उसके बाद मेरे अगेंस्ट एक आया था.
Still HP you have to get through. Here it is.
मेरे सपोर्ट ने डिस्ट्रॉय किया था मतलब बेयर को ही मार रहा था और रेंज सपोर्ट था कोई. तो वो बेयर को मारता. फिर वो बेयर को पीछे भेजता तो हम लोग असली लोन रोड को मारते थे बाद में.
अरे पड़ा वो भाई कितना डैमेज हुआ वो टस्क की वजह से.
अगर ये किल्स दिलवा देना इनको लोन रोड एज एन इनपे
टस्क के कारण कितना राइट क्लिक डैमेज हुआ. और ये तो हमारा डिफ्यूजल आ गया देख 7-8 मिनट बोला. अब वो घूमेगा मैप.
विदाउट बूट्स बेयर की मूवमेंट स्पीड वो होती है 400. ऑनेस्टली वो हीरो पे बूट्स लगते हैं.
Response from Nouns, they really just cannot seem to handle this army that's going to be pushing them down.
Yeah, out of nowhere, right? Ace, he took this bottom tower, rotates mid, has his next objective lined up, and everybody from gaming.
फिर से एस को फ्री गेम दे दिया ना.
बट T2s अभी मुश्किल है उनके लिए क्योंकि ये कोटल ब्लास्ट करता रहेगा ना.
Don't even get any creeps off that blast. I mean, we talked about behind stage after game 1. We said, you know, like this gen.
Total है उसके बाद ये Darkseer भी है.
Gladiators, it does so much for them.
It is the best support in these types of lineups, and every time they get a game like this where it starts to run away, it just looks scarier and scarier.
And Nouns, they may have thought they had a plan to be able to deal with that gen, but unless that plan comes to fruition soon, they're going to be too far behind to be able to do anything to stop these pushes.
टस्क जितवा सकता है इनको गेम ये.
Not much we can do about it though.
अगर 30 मिनट चला और T2s हैं इनके तो ये जीत जाएंगे. Nouns वाले. क्योंकि स्पेक्टर वर्सेस लोन ड्रूइड या अल्केमिस्ट स्पेक्टर ही जीतती है.
And it is time for Hector. I mean, the upside of, you know, Ace making these rotations is, hey, your Spectre gets some free jungle time.
ये तो पूरा टाइम है. क्वार्टर सही था तो भाई क्या डैमेज.
Was just threatening him there in the bottom lane. So not only does he get away from a gank, but he also gets to join in on a kill. And that is the power of the Spectre right now with this new Shadow Step.
I don't know if Hector even saw Ace down there. I'm pretty sure he was looking
लौंडे को next series देखनी है.
Kill on the Spectre because the
मैं तो आज लॉग मैंने देखा कि मेरे को लगा एक ही मैच है तो मैं तो आज लॉगिन भी नहीं करने वाला. कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है वाले में.
Rotate bottom to get the defense. So these tier 2s are going to be a bit harder to bring down, I think, for gaming unless they get the big pickoffs. Because you can always sit Hector in
अभी तक तो ब्लेड मिल भी नहीं आया.
You can make the fast plays. It's also hard to go on. Especially if you can get this blade mill out pretty fast. You can bait gaming onto your Spectre, take the fight with the Darkseer and Coddle, giving you the damage from behind. And to me, it's all about this Vessel. Like, how fast can you get the fighting items on the Darkseer, but more importantly, this Vessel on Gunner to give you the kill capability on all the sustain that gaming are outputting right now.
पोर्टल भी अच्छा है एक्चुअली इसके अगेंस्ट लोन रोड के अगेंस्ट वो नाइस इसको मारो पहले ओ हो नाइस
दोनों को मारो
ये सही है मैं वही कह रहा हूँ ना 10 का अगर सही मूव्स कर पाए क्लिप्स दिलवा दे लोन रोड और डैजल पे जी जी क्योंकि आयरन शेल स्पेक्टर विद रेडियंस ब्लेड मिल नहीं कुछ कर सकते
साले ग्रिम स्ट्रोक का भी है उसमें आयरन शेल ग्रिम स्ट्रोक का
आयरन शेल ग्रिम स्ट्रोक और वो भी मतलब
समझ नहीं रहे लेट्स से उनको है ना सिर्फ और सिर्फ स्पेक्टर को मारना है उनको मतलब
वही कह रहा हूँ ना मार नहीं सकते
नहीं यार मार सकते हैं
अरे वो तेरे को नया गेम ग्रीन स्ट्रोक शार्ड नहीं पता क्या
हाँ वो पहले से ही है जो डीबफ करता है ना वो पहले से ही है
डीबफ और हील और स्नोबॉल सेव है
पहले से ही है बहुत पहले से
उसके बाद वो भी है अरे नहीं इस गेम में अच्छी बात क्या है पता है ग्रीन स्ट्रोक डस्ट इनके बाकी के हीरोज बहुत कुछ वो करते हैं ऑफर करते हैं स्पेक्टर को मतलब बचा भी सकते हैं और
देखो अभी 30 मिनट में या 40 मिनट में जब एल्केमिस्ट हाई ग्राउंड पुश करने आएगा और
एल्केमिस्ट वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना मैंने कंडीशन क्या रखी कि अगर ये T2s है इनके जिंदा 30 मिनट पे और ब्लेड मिल रेडियंस है स्पेक्टर पे तो वो ये लोग हार जाएंगे क्योंकि एल्केमिस्ट वर्सेस स्पेक्टर तो वो है
मेरे को तो भी लगता है अच्छा लॉक रहता है ना 60 मिनट में फिर आप बोल लो कि नाउन जीतेगी है ना
नहीं 60 मिनट नहीं
30 प्लस
30 के बाद ही जीतना चालू हो जाएगी मतलब 35 वगैरह भी जीत सकती है
नहीं मेरे को तो नहीं लगता
अबे यार मेरे को ये बेस नहीं अच्छा लग रहा भाई डार्क स्फीयर ऑक्टारियन क्यों बना रहा
कौन
डार्क स्फीयर
अरे
Maybe some hidden scale for game if they really
सही तो है ऑक्टारियन की बनाएगा तो क्या बनाएगा
अबे एग्नेस ग्रीव
बट ग्रीव्स भी बना सकते बट एक्चुअली इनका ग्रीव्स वाला है नहीं ना लाइनअप
हाँ ना वो सही है इसके बाद एग्नेस आएगा और क्या चाहिए तो शिवा ब्लेन ये सब
Eggs, Lotus.
Alchemist farming away. They almost have the Aghanim Scepter like you talked about on the Dazzle. Lone Druid's getting bigger.
Oh, Radiance आ गया भाई.
The Shadow Staff. What happens when they get 5 man and they're ready to go?
Yeah, we haven't really touched on Daracho. I mean, there's a good reason why he hasn't had to do anything. Yeah. That means he has had an absolutely free Alchemist game. He is Omega fat here. It's going to be almost 16-minute BKB on top of Radiant's phase boots with sustain to back him up. That's when that early Alch BKB feels the best because you guarantee can take the fight. Just punish them with your overwhelming net worth here. Back through the gate once more.
Quinn already teleporting away. Not going to be caught by this rotation.
Do a little smoke farming. But nothing else. Continuing to try and control the side lanes. Create the space for Hector.
Tiny को blink चाहिए. Maybe.
Take a little pit stops here and there while they're smoked up. Farm up these camps.
They didn't see anything, I'm sure.
Still nobody showing up though on the side of Game of Gladiators. They're doing a great job of dodging these rotations of nouns, understanding that their timing is just going to come later. No rush for things.
Honestly, I like the Octarine rush on Mu as well. Just anything that gives you lower cooldowns, more uptime on the map, and helps you shove these lanes out faster is going to feel good right now.
Yeah.
You just want to get to that mid-game team.
Dark Seer Iron Shell, मतलब 2 Iron Shell देखना तो बहुत डैमेज करते हैं टीम फाइट में. उसके बाद कोटल ब्लास्ट आते रहते हैं, स्लो उसका मैजिक एम्प वो भी बहुत मतलब नोटिसेबल होता है. प्लस हील भी मतलब अगर अल्टी हो उसके पास उस समय तो
अगला क्या लोटस जा रहा होगा फिर
फिजिकल डैमेज बर्स्ट भी देता है, लॉकडाउन भी प्लस सेव भी और ग्रिम स्ट्रोक सेव लॉकडाउन साइलेंस
हार्पून आ गया क्या
बट लास्ट गेम में एनपी कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. डार्क विलो भी मतलब सो ही थी, मतलब सिर्फ एक बेडलम के अलावा और कुछ नहीं कर पा रही थी. तो
does require somebody to get in there. Do you think like Moo is going to join in?
Relatively काफी अच्छा ड्राफ्ट है इनका.
Initiation, or you think he just goes more for like
इसमें तो पहले वो ले लिया.
और अल्टीमेट कैरी भी है उनके पास. लोन रूट ब्लेड मिल मांटा रेडियन स्पेक्टर को नहीं मार सकता कभी भी.
I think traditionally you just go for the correct angle, right? Get smokes, get flanks going.
इस बार इन पे वेव क्लियर है.
And Hector will automatically connect. And it's going to be a Radiance for him as well. So we'll see if he can have more impact with it than that Radiance from last game on Moo, which just got mega delayed, right? It's a risky item to go for here. It's a lot of gold to build up. A lot can happen in that interval where you don't have a fighting item coming out. But if you get there,
अभी Crimson भी बना रहा है.
It's a very good Radiance game to go in and start burning people.
हार्पून बीकेबी ब्लिंक पे वो जाएंगे वो लोग आ रहे हैं.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि 20 मिनट पे अगर T2s है 30 मिनट पे सॉरी
वो आरएफ वाली फाइट इनको जीतनी पड़ेगी वाला.
और इनका हाई ग्राउंड भी वो है ना अच्छा है ना कोटल.
बस यही है
बच गया देख. और अभी मतलब ये भी टीपी कर सकता था.
It's going to be pretty value this game.
Moo trying to get out. The shard blocking him in. Oh no, Lelis, that wasn't what he wanted to have happen. Moo, he's desperately going to try and throw out a vacuum, but there's nothing to actually get off of that vacuum. The Spectre leaves.
Dagger जा रहा है.
Supposed to be setting up for kills for me to be able to collect on, but there's nothing to actually get.
Global dagger.
BK भी जा रहा है.
Wonder if it scouted that smoke. Might have, honestly. Either way, a failed gank, true form goes off, and it'll give a window here. Blink on Tofu as well means that all these pushes, all these fights are a little more dangerous. You get caught, like Nouns got caught last game. You're just gonna crumble really fast around these towers. Aggressive TP bottom for Moo when he knows they were moving here. He's tanky. I don't know if he's this tanky though.
Round to tier 2. Is his team going to try and defend him here? The Surge is going to be running out, and Quinn might just be able to catch up to him. Another round though, thanks to the Octarine, Surge is near permanent uptime for Moo.
No blink on Dyrachyo yet, though he'll buy it out now. So it's going to be multiple jumps from Gaming. Just try and take the fight before Nouns are set up. And if one or two of these heroes go down, you're just looking at a
before Radiance ये Iron Shell farm के लिए भी अच्छा है. Faster.
You have that Vessel up on Gunner. It's been up for a little bit here. He has double charge. This is generally where that Coddle would want to be taking the fights or finding big core pickoffs on the map. The downside in this type of game for the Coddle is he's great at dealing with the lane, but Gaming are not going to split. So you're not going to find this like global pickoff presence between the Spectre and the Coddle. It's just going to be 5-man down a lane. In 18.5 minutes, they said the last game was fast. This one, it's going to be even faster. Let's see if you have the answer.
And frankly, it doesn't look like Nouns are ready for it. No Crimson Guard just yet on the Darkseer, which would do a lot to be able to dissuade this threat of the Bear. Gunner's trying to stop him, but the damage just keeps on chipping away from the Lone Druid. He's going to take that tower without much really needed from him. Wall in, that's pretty nice. Can they take advantage of it though? They're still trying to go for that Bear. Toss back from Tofu, catching the Coddle.
Oh my god. High ground defense for that.
खत्म हो गया भाई. ये तो गया ये वाला. मैं खत्म हो गया भाई.
Where's your damage? The damage test has returned to round 2. And you're once again just found lacking, right? The
well, no dispel. And it put him inside the snowball. That'll allow Moo to be able to get back. But the Bear is saved by the shallow grave. Even if they get the damage, go through all this HP, they still can't. He's going to clean up the ATMs in while the others limp back to the fountain. Barely alive.
बस end हो गया. Next series is coming in, boys.
Next series is coming.
Not even close, man. Not even.
They are looking for the lower bracket speed run for sure at this point. Another toss back.
Bear mana.
Hector, you got a blade mail.
Radiance नहीं बनाना. मैं वही कह रहा हूँ. 30 मिनट Radiance blade में.
20 मिनट नहीं हुआ अभी.
ये दिक्कत है.
मेरे को तो सही नहीं लगा था टोटल पे गेम में हुआ था ना. टोटल पे तो नहीं सही लगा.
यार तू बता कोटल के अलावा और कौन सा हीरो होता जो एक्चुअली वेव क्लियर कर सकता है सेफ डिस्टेंस से.
तो उनके पास है ना कोई अभी ऐसा हीरो नहीं है जो मतलब ज्यादा खेल सके मैप में. अगर मान लो नाउंस के बाद उनको थोड़ा पुश भी चाहिए यार, ऐसा कौन सा हीरो है जो मतलब पुश करे, टावर पुश और वेव क्लियर करे, ऐसा कौन सा हीरो है क्या?
वेव क्लियर ये डार्कसीयर भी अच्छे से करता है ना। दिक्कत यह है कि ये रेडियंस नहीं बना अभी तक। क्वीन सॉरी मैं क्या चाहता था पता है, एक्चुअली टस्क बॉटम आए ज्यादा, टस्क और ये दो मिलके मार सकते हैं।
They're living on a prayer at this point in time. That's all they really got to them.
को मिलके लोन रोड को मारना था ज्यादा, वो नहीं हो पाया उनसे।
टोटल फार्म नहीं कर पाया ना।
कंडीशन वही है इनकी।
ये तो सही है, मतलब एक्चुअली बॉटम पे किल पोटेंशियल बहुत ज्यादा था, क्योंकि है ना वो एस पे टस्क जाएगा, स्पेक्टर आराम से आ सकती है मेन हीरो पे,
और वो इंक्सवेल मार सकते थे वो लोग प्री 6,
वो इजीली मार सकते थे, बता है वही करना चाहिए।
उन्होंने मतलब वो छोड़ के एस वर्सेस मतलब लोन रोड वर्सेस स्पेक्टर सोलो छोड़ दिया। मैंने मतलब गेम स्टार्ट होने से पहले ही बोला था कि एस को शट डाउन करना पड़ेगा तभी जीत सकते हैं लोग।
आ गया ना उसके बाद फिर रेडाइन आ गया,
बट T2s नहीं है ना सारे।
हाँ नहीं, लेकिन अभी भी कर तो सकती है यार स्पेक्टर मुश्किल है,
बट दिक्कत
fast elimination there, but Quinn is now going to be joining in with the double damage. They
really
gotta watch out for that one. K1 Hector, he's stuck. Nowhere he can really go. They thought they could chase for more,
देखते रह गया मैं, पूरा देखा मैंने।
Taranchio's here now to be able
ये
to get
दिक्कत है ना,
Leela's is going to die next.
वो बिल्डिंग से भी बहुत गोल्ड मिलता है यार, प्लस स्पेस।
Want to take the time to take these top towers or just take another lane of barracks? Honestly, the world is entirely open for gaming gladiators.
AC बन गया BKB।
It's not like they're going to scale down anytime soon. There's no threat of this lineup
right. उनको एक ऐसा हीरो चाहिए था, जब वो लोग टॉवर्स ले रहे हैं ना, तो उनके अपोजिट साइड पे टॉवर्स वो लोग फोर्स कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, उससे क्या होता, वो लोग मार देते उसको। नहीं
तो मरे नहीं ना, कौन सा ऐसा
एम टाइप का हीरो बोल रहा है तो नहीं यार,
नहीं
ऐसा हीरो चाहिए इनको कि जो एक्चुअली मे बी वाइपर चल जाता, बट नहीं यार, डैजल वर्सेस वाइपर बहुत बुरा लगता है वाइपर खेलना, मिड हार जाता है। टिंकर में भी टिंकर अच्छा रहता है, एक्स टिंकर अभी काफी कुछ कर सकता था।
एक्स टिंकर थोड़ा ना बनाते हैं, तो वो वाला खेलते हैं ना शिवा और वो वाला।
नहीं टिंकर बना देता है एक्स भी ऐसे गेम्स में।
And again, these soulbinds, these vessels are just instantly getting purged off the back line. There is no initiation power from this Keeper of the Light. It all has to come from Moo, and Lel is getting on the front line right now. Can wall the bear. Looking for the back and the...
They're trying so hard, but he keeps him away with the avalanche move. Doesn't get that initiated.
We got 4.
Oh, maybe does. Any follow-up to that? The blast goes out. Now Leela's tries to jump in.
वो लोग जान के इकट्ठे भी खड़े हो गए तब भी कुछ नहीं हुआ।
Got one bear out of it, so resummon from Ace.
Yeah, if they can actually get back to the fountain somehow, but K1 Hector, he's going to be slowed down. Not Gaming Gladiators isn't worried about him. Maybe they will. They're going to get the
जी नेक्स्ट सीरीज में नेक्स्ट सीरीज मजा आएगा एक्चुअल में ना। बैट बूम वाली है, कौन सी है?
आई थिंक बैट बूम वाली है, लोअर ब्रैकेट की है।
ये तो टीआई का मैच ही नहीं लगा।
वही तो यार, ये तो अपने मैचेस लग रहे हैं, मैं पीछे देख रहा हूं।
ये भाई गेमिंग ग्लैडिएटर इससे इस सीरीज से पहले भी वो दोनों गेम किसके अगेंस्ट खेली थी पता नहीं, 20-20 मिनट में खत्म करे उन्होंने, यहाँ भी 20-24 मिनट में। क्या चल रहा है? ये चौथी गेम है उनकी ऐसे।
नहीं ये तो है, लेकिन इस सीरीज में टीआई में हेक्टर बहुत ही ज्यादा खराब खेलते हुए देखा है, बहुत ही ज्यादा खराब।
यार उसकी गलती कहाँ है तू बता मेरे को।
नहीं उसकी गलती नहीं है, मैं बस उसकी गलती नहीं है, मैं बस बता रहा हूँ।
अब इस गेम में अगेन मैं मतलब वही बोल रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे अनडाइंग होता तो इवन अनडाइंग भी कुछ नहीं कर पाता।
अनडाइंग में फीड ही करता 7-8 मिनट बाद डिफिकल्ट आते हैं।
नहीं 7-8 मिनट बाद डिफ्यूजल के बाद करता ना, बट जब तक ब्लेड मिल पीटी होता उसके पास मतलब।
अरे भाई ब्लेड मिल पीटी नहीं है ना, पीटी ब्लेड और फिर वो एक वो बेसिलस ब्लेड मिल 12 मिनट पे आया।
अरे वैसा कुछ हीरो चाहिए था प्राइमल जैसा, पता है थोड़ा टैंकी रहे।
प्राइमल भी बैन कर दिया गया
लेकिन इन्होंने पोजीशन 5 स्ट्रांग चाहिए भाई ऐसे केसेस। बुगना भी अच्छा रहता है इनके लिए।
Honestly, I was very
अच्छा तो ये क्या है भाई, मतलब
how it developed because I felt like
जो लूजर्स है उनको भेज दिया और भाई जो विनर्स है उनको रखे हुए हैं।
Win lanes, fight
हाँ भाई होटल का खर्चा आता है तुरंत।
It pretty much went exactly how Gaming Gladiators wanted to play. And you know, you're waking up for a 10 AM match, you're playing Gladiators, you know these guys are gonna come hard at you, you need to be ready.
Yeah, but then the first pick spec was really rough to kind of look at as well, Rezo. There wasn't anything for the Spectre to take any traction with, nothing to get him going.
I mean, they tried to find this active hero that can, you know, fight back like very early on, but there's like after the laning stage, they couldn't really fight a fight. Like there was like pick-offs here and there, like very small ones, but they had to like, you know, make this big fight happen, and just Gladiators they didn't give it to them. They're just waiting patiently for their timings, and as soon as they got it, they just death bolt and they just snowballed anything out of control.
How could Nouns have found those pickups? Like, what did they need to improve on? Is it the vision for themselves?
नेक्स्ट सीरीज भी अच्छी है और उसकी अगली वाली तो भाई खतरनाक है, स्पिरिट वर्सेस लिक्विड है।
अपर पैकेट है नहीं तो स्पिरिट लिक्विड।
हाँ अभी तो बैटबूम अभी बैटबूम वर्सेस वीपी है, वो भी अच्छी है, काफी अच्छी सीरीज है।
नाइटफॉल वर्सेस प्योर।
सारे नाइटफॉल और प्योर एक ही टीम में है, तो क्या देखते हो सब?
नाइटफॉल वर्सेस वो क्या नाम है यार उसका? प्योर भी पहले कैरी था ना, ऑल्दो नाइटफॉल जीतेगी, नाइटफॉल वाली टीम जीतेगी
भाई। उसका नाम ऐसा है ना, कितरिच पता नहीं क्या नाम है, कीर्ति बुला लेते हैं भाई अपन दोस्त को।
भी अच्छा खेल रहा है, प्योर भी अच्छा खेल रहा है, नाइटफॉल भी अच्छा खेल रहा है। जीपी के तो ठीक ठाक ही है, मतलब वो उतना अच्छा नहीं है, बट
देख रहा है जीपी के को नॉर्मल बोलते हैं।
स्क्वाडिक्स अच्छा खेल रहा है,
अच्छा नहीं है जीपी के थोड़े ना।
What else was Gaming Gladiators doing so well outside of
जीपी के अच्छा नहीं है उतना।
the way that they're able to play this tempo? Sure, you can build a tempo drop.
जीपी के हाई लेवल मिड लेनर है, बट इम्पैक्ट नहीं होता, वो गेम विनिंग वाला नहीं है। नाइटफॉल गेम विनिंग प्योर भी गेम विनिंग है, टोरंटो टोक्यो भी गेम विनिंग है, इवन सेव भी गेम विनिंग है भाई। इनके इसमें बस जीपी के खराब है।
तो भाई उनको सारे मतलब 12 के एमएमआर अबव है सारे के सारे, हाईएस्ट एवरेज एमएमआर।
नहीं इनके वो इम्पैक्ट बहुत होता है यार, प्योर सेव लेन हो गई बहुत अच्छी है, टोरंटो टोक्यो भी बहुत अच्छा इम्पैक्ट देता है। बस ये जीपी के थोड़ा सा हिट और मिस है।
अबे क्या लगता है तुझे अब नेक्स्ट सीरीज बैटबूम और वीपी तो अपना ही ड्राफ्ट करेंगे ना अपने स्टाइल से, ऐसे यहाँ इस स्टाइल यहाँ पे तो कोई कॉपी नहीं करेंगे गेम का।
ईस्टर्न यूरोप है ना इनका।
बहुत बढ़िया खेलता भाई ये।
क्या?
टोफू बहुत बढ़िया खेलता है वो।
Where you talked about your origin into this competitive scene was watching the international, just seeing it from home, and now being like, okay, maybe I can compete Div 2.
बहुत टाइम बाद कोई फोर ऐसा मिला है कि मतलब फोर में मतलब मजे आते हैं उसको देखने।
किसको?
Honestly, I think I've been pretty lucky overall, but also
क्या
like
खेल रहा था
very
वो
lucky
अभी?
into this. It's still unreal to grasp
अभी क्या
actually
खेल रहा था
playing here,
अभी?
and like I owe a lot to my friends and family also for supporting
प्लेयर ही
my
आते
team
भाई,
for
मैंने
like
एक्चुअली इंतजार
bringing
कर
us
रहा हूँ,
all
ये
this
नहीं
way.
देखा मैं।
Like we've put in a lot of work. We're not done yet. It's hard to feel whether we can
Timing.
get further, how it's
हाँ
gonna be to live
क्लच
the
वो थे,
but for now we're just
इसमें तो मतलब जरूरत ही नहीं थी ना. एक्चुअली लास्ट गेम में क्या खेल रहा था वो?
Place to start though. You've been a part of many winning runs throughout this year, from Lima
Last
to
game में वो
Berlin
खेल
to
रहा था,
Bali.
Grimsbrook.
How's this run comparing to all of those championship runs that you had this
एक्चुअली वो एस के शैडो में चला जाता है ना. मतलब अच्छा खेलता है, ओके सॉलिड खेलता है, बट
देखो क्विन है, एस है, तो वो
एक्चुअली
मतलब
वो
उसका दिखता नहीं।
उस टाइप का हीरो है, प्लेयर है कि मतलब या फिर एटलीस्ट इस टीम में जैसे क्रिड दिखता था ना ओजे में, वैसा नहीं है. इसमें ये दिखता नहीं है, बट बहुत काम कर जाता है पीछे से.
हाँ, जैसे वो साथ साथ दिखता था ना भाई, टुंड्रा और रोजी में साथ साथ.
ओजी में तो वो भी था ना, जब पुरानी वाली ओजी थी, वो उसमें क्रिड इसलिए देखता था कि जो सपोर्ट बहुत था उनका फ्लाई था ना शायद.
पुरानी वाली ओजी कौन सी वाली? क्रिट था ना.
क्रिट 4
हाँ, क्रिट 5 फ्लाई था.
हाँ तो वो फ्लाई कुत्ता मेरे को बिल्कुल अच्छा है. सबसे गंदा 5 मेरे को फ्लाई.
सबसे बेस्ट 5 मुझे कौन लगता है पता है? पपी.
एक चाइनीज टीम का बंदा है, मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा, वो खतरनाक
कौन सी इस चाइनीज टीम में?
ये अभी मेरे को नाम याद नहीं. उसको पता रहता है कि पूरे मैप में एनिमी ने कहाँ वार्ड लगाई है. वो एक सेट भी गाड़ता है और डी वार्ड. इंसेन है भाई उस मैप में.
Just being here and like turning around and seeing like, whoa.
मेरे को नाम याद नहीं आ रहा. चाइनीज नाम थोड़े अजीब से होते हैं ना.
इसका
I know that you're quite eloquent, so how are you feeling now?
दूसरे Azure का LGD का क्या है? भाई why nothing to say? Shiro new तो वो है ना इनका.
ऑफलाइन.
This next series is really exciting, so I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, our next series is going to be that Virtus Pro Bet Boom Interregional one. Do you guys want to start talking about it now?
Sure.
I was hoping a little bit of hype from my panel. I mean, the audience is so much fun. They're cheering along. They're getting rowdy. I thought, see?
There you go.
See?
I mean, do you want to say no there or what?
No, I was expecting it.
सीट्स तो इतनी सारी खाली है, देख रहे हो पीछे.
Do you want to talk about Virtus Pro and Bet Boom?
क्या हुआ?
The entire year,
सीट्स इतनी सारी खाली है.
in their region, they've done putting it bluntly.
हाँ ऊपर भरी हुई है, आई थिंक ऊपर की साइड. या नहीं?
Kind of like the Eastern European version.
अरे ऊपर भरी भी हो, लेकिन दिस प्रूव्स ना कि डेड गेम है डेड गेम.
They're not respected as team. Like they
अभी उसमें आएगा ना ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में. अभी तो फ्राइडे है ना.
डेड गेम तो नहीं है भाई.
भाई डेड गेम में बता रहा हूँ मैं, देखना.
haven't seen earlier.
I am going to quickly jump in.
जो भी है भाई, मजेदार है भाई.
Because I just got word. Slacks and Casey are in a lot of time.
तूने वो नहीं देखा क्या मेजर अभी जो हुआ था? रियाद मेजर, रियाद मास्टर्स.
रियाद मास्टर्स नहीं मैंने नहीं देखा. मैं सिर्फ डायरेक्ट यही देखा.
15
तो वो भी स्टिल लोअर ब्रैकेट.
15 मिलियन प्राइस पुल था उसका.
15 तो इसका 3 मिलियन क्यों है?
ये इस बार वही नहीं है ना, कंपेंडियम ही नहीं है ना.
अरे यार
सेट्स वगैरह ही नहीं है, आर्कानास नहीं है.
अबे नेक्स्ट ईयर अभी इसके ईयर के बाद से तो डीपीसी भी नहीं है ना.
डीपीसी नहीं है इसके बाद वो. बट टूर्नामेंट्स काफी बड़े होते हैं यार, मेजर्स वगैरह. क्या दिक्कत है?
अबे कौन ये लड़का है कि लड़की है?
ये ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछते आज के डेट में।
अब तो ये तो ऑनलाइन आ गया यार। भाई डिलीट कर देना भाई, ये डिलीट कर देना, अभी बता रहा हूँ मैं।
Yes, I'm a fan of Maybe. I'm a big fan of Maybe since Dota 1.
ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछते आजकल।
Oh my.
He is the best mid of the world.
Oh, okay. Casey, here you go. Give me one more.
मेरे को क्या पूछना चाहिए था?
Who are they?
नहीं, how do you identify? ये पूछना चाहिए। उसके बाद उसको बोलने दो भाई को।
What do you identify as?
अच्छा, what do you identify?
What are your pronouns?
हाँ, ये भी चलेगा, ये भी। अरे यार लेकिन प्रोनाउन अगर उसने मतलब कितने awkward pronouns है, पर देखा है?
क्या बता? एग्जाम्पल मैंने तो मतलब नॉर्मल से ही देखे।
दे देम वाला तो सुना ही है। क्या बोलते हैं वो फूड वाला वो जोक सुना है ना?
नहीं।
अरे फूड वाला भी, अरे वो बंदा पार्टी देता है, फिर एक फ्रेंड को इनवाइट करता है, वो नहीं देख सुना? अरे एक सेकंड में भेजता हूँ।
Going with team spirit.
Don't jump ships just yet, though. Okay, Nouns might be out. You might be looking for a new team to support, but we are still going to hear from Nouns. We do have Tsunami joined by one of their players right now.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm standing by with
Tsunami बढ़िया लगता है भाई।
यही बोलेगा ड्राफ्ट खराब था।
Was the run ever even supposed to get to this point in the first place when you guys were struggling out through quals this entire year?
Yeah, it was a rough year. I believe top 8 was a good result. Of course, I cannot say like, oh, I'm happy with losing today, but where we got, like BTIs, like hearing the crowd chanting is like, it's a dream. So like today, even with the loss, one of the best days in life, something you need to enjoy and enjoy the day because it's a dream. Yeah, we made top 8. Unfortunately, I'd say especially for the fans, like the crowd was amazing. We couldn't go further. But there are like no regrets. There's not like this thing that you're gonna go sleep and are like, oh, I could have done best. No, I believe we did our best and we should feel happy with this.
And you put on a show for everyone in the audience. Everyone, one last time for Nouns representing.
I arrived here 3 years ago, still learning the language.
And making us all proud, Estini. Best of luck in the future. It was a hell of a time watching you as we send it back to the panel.
English is a very difficult language, and you guys make English even more difficult than it should be. I don't know why. I saw the other day a person saying, "Don't call me he or she, call me they." And I was like, what the fuck? It took me 3 years to learn I am, you are, he is, she is. Let me tell you a story. I invited a friend to have dinner at my house the other day. And he was like, oh, I'm bringing...
But I do wonder what the 4-day break did to them, because it felt like Virtus.pro came into this tournament a team that was, undervalued by the enemies, not really studied. So they came in with their strategies, they came in with their hyper-aggression, and they caught a lot of teams off guard. If they can continue down that path and play in that way, I really feel like they could potentially have a top 4 finish. But at the same time, I wonder if teams having this many days to prepare for them is gonna stint the growth that we've seen from them.
Do you think it's maybe as heavily as one-sided, Owie, in this matchup that people might believe? Virtus.pro is full of those players. Again, a tough year for themselves, whereas BetBoom is deemed as that powerhouse for Eastern Europe. Is it really that lopsided?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think VP is a team that, like, they got fourth in a lot of regional leagues, but when we scrimmed them, they were always a team that we thought we could learn a lot from, and we thought that they always underperformed at tournaments, which is also weird because I feel like BetBoom was sort of the same story. The thing about BetBoom is, like, they're supposed to be like a superstar roster. They have all these really high skilled players, really high ranked, but they tend to crumble a bit under the pressure as soon as anything goes wrong. And when you play another team for a region, sometimes the emotions can flare up, which I think gives VP a huge advantage.
Do you think that that's what we're going to see BetBoom-wise, T, today? The difference between a playoff stage and a main stage?
I think, first of all, they do need that discipline, but for VP, I just hope they bring, like, third highest kills average of any team so far at the Road to International, at the International. So it's like, if they bring that level of chaos, they also have, like, 27 deaths per game. Like, their games are just a bloodbath. And if you bring that type of Dota to a team like BetBoom, what Awi's mentioning, it gets 40 minutes, you're on main stage, you're trying to think of, like, new ways to get back into a game where your draft should have won at maybe 35 minutes, 30 minutes. I think that's exactly what VP needs to bring in this game.
Is BetBoom another team that could fall under a similar category as Gaming Gladiators, where they can execute a tempo draft, or not as much, Owie?
I think BetBoom don't really like to play for that. Sometimes it'll happen naturally, like there's some Terrorblade who are like 10 and 0 in lane.
Yep.
But I think normally BetBoom's strength is when they play with the win condition, and then they don't feel any pressure to have to do anything on the map.
Well, we're going to see what sort of pressure BetBoom face for themselves, but first we have to welcome our teams to this.
बैकग्राउंड में आता प्लस डीएसएल लगाया है इन्होंने
अरे वो लाइन तो बहुत कैंसर थी भाई
टाइप लग रहा है ये लोग ये इनका कैरी है ना
बैटबूम में प्योर बहुत फुल ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस रहता है भाई ये तो वीपी है ये
प्योर खेलता भी वैसे ही है भाई वो भी इस टाइप का ऑफ लेनर है सेकेंडरी कैरी नाइटफॉल सॉलिड
भाई ये वाली लाइन कितनी चलती थी लाकात वाला
लाकात बताता से
अरे यार ये लाइंस मस्त थी भाई याद दिला दी इन्होंने ऐसा गेगे वो भी थी ना एक लाइन
ऐसा गेगे ऐसा पर्सन ये था वही देख प्योर भी हाइप में चल रहा है एकदम
अरे वो स्टार्टिंग में देखा नहीं पूरा एक्शन करके आ रहा था भाई
टोरंटो के भी काफी वाइब में रहता है
But honestly, I will say that I have faith in them because their last series was a nail biter. Like that was one of the closest series, and they won in the most extravagant way. They could have easily gotten 2-0 that series. So I believe that gave them a lot of confidence, and it's going to drive them moving forward. I think that when you win series like that right before you go into the main stage, it just propels you further forward instead of making you more nervous.
Are you still thinking about that for
ड्राफ्ट कौन करता है इनके लिए
किसके लिए
बेडबूम के लिए बेडबूम ड्राफ्ट कौन करता है
प्योर करता है या फिर सेव भी है ना पता है
टोरंटो के है ना उनका 5
अच्छा हाँ
टोरंटो डेब्यू काफी वो करता है ड्राफ्टिंग में काफी वो करता है टीम स्पिरिट में भी वो काफी ड्राफ्ट करता है
मिड होके
मेरे को तो भाई
ड्राफ्ट मतलब उसकी ड्राफ्ट में सेव होते थे ड्राफ्ट तो उसमें मैं पोक्षा
यार स्पिरिट वर्सेस लिग हां पोस्ट का स्पिरिट वर्सेस लिक्विड यार, मैं चाहता हूँ लिक्विड जीते पर स्पिरिट यात्रो तो भाई बहुत खतरनाक खेल रहा है भाई।
वो बेस्ट कैरी है
नहीं मैं तो लिक्विड के साथ हूँ भाई।
कैरी यार उनका बहुत अच्छा है।
पता चला भाई एट द एंड फाइनली चाइनीज टीम जीती है भाई। अपन सब गलत है।
क्या बुरा लगे
फाइनली क्या पता इससे आज चाइनीज टीम के भी बहुत चांसेस है भाई। एलजीडी और
एलजीडी एक्चुअली ये जो पैच है ना वो एलजीडी चाइनीज पैच है काइंड ऑफ, अगर देखेगा तो
एलजीडी मेरे को तो काफी अच्छा लग रही है। मेरे को तो
ड्राफ्ट उनको काफी सूट कर रहा है, मतलब ड्राफ्ट में ही जीत रहे हैं वो लोग कई बार। ये पैच सूट कर रहा है एलजीडी को। बर्निंग
अभी यात्रो से मिले हैं कि नहीं मिले?
यात्रो से मिले हैं ना, ग्रुप स्टेज में आई थिंक मिले थे। एक सेकंड चेक कर।
हां तो यात्रो जीता था ना, क्योंकि टिप स्पिरिट तो एक भी बार नहीं हारी अभी तक शायद।
नहीं मिले थे।
नहीं मिले थे ना,
जीजी से मिले थे दो, जीजी को हराया इन्होंने।
नहीं ठीक है, यात्रो से मिले तो फिर वाले चलेगा।
स्पिरिट तो
लिक्विड को नहीं हराया टीम स्पिरिट ने, तो टीम स्पिरिट ही जीत जाएगी।
नहीं लिक्विड को
मतलब अगर लिक्विड ने टीम स्पिरिट को नहीं हराया अभी तो टीम स्पिरिट
नहीं कह नहीं सकते भाई। ये एलजीडी भी बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है ऑनेस्टली। मतलब उनको देख के ऐसा नहीं लगता वो लोग स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं बिल्कुल।
नहीं तो लेकिन पॉइंट ये है ना, टीम स्पिरिट हमेशा से चाइनीज टीम के टीम के अगेंस्ट काफी अच्छा खेलती है।
दोनों ही लेट गेम ज्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं ना।
हाँ वही और स्पिरिट में वो तो पॉइंट है। स्पिरिट में यात्रा है, कौन सी चाइनीज टीम ऐसी है जो अर्ली गेम खत्म करना चाहती है? चाइनीज टीम थोड़ी टीम फाइट
एलजीडी कर रही है ना अर्ली गेम खत्म।
अच्छा अरे हाँ भाई ब्रूड मदर लिया था उन्होंने एक गेम, मेरे को याद है शायद।
एलजीडी कर रही है ना अर्ली गेम।
एज़्योर ने अभी मैंने कम ही देखे इनके मैच में, वो बाद में लेट होता है।
9 पांडास के अगेंस्ट 35 मिनट
मैं गेम तो खत्म किया था उन्होंने पहले भी। अभी
है तो ये
उसके बाद सीडिंग डिसाइड 32-29 ठीक है। इवन मतलब एक 65 गेम भी जीते थे वो लोग 9 पांडास के अगेंस्ट।
सबसे लंबे गेम तो भाई टैलेंट वर्सेस टोंड्रा भाई, दोनों ही लेट गए।
टैलेंट वर्सेस टोंड्रा कौन सा था ये? मैंने देखा था यार, तो याद नहीं।
टैलेंट ने बात किया ना टोंड्रा को लो
टैलेंट ने जीजी को लोअर ब्रैकेट में भेजा था भाई सीडिंग डिसाइडर में।
their foundation or their script, and I think they can make mistakes there. I think if BetBoom are able to just like play lanes, everything's stable, you know, you rotate to the runes, everything's good, you came from winning lanes, I think they'll probably have a very good shot against VP. But I think VP, from what I've seen, they're like really active on the gates, their supports give a lot of kill threat, they can just add elements where like, oh, this play shouldn't happen in our opinion, but they just like push through and do it anyways.
Yeah, one of those methodical things you're mentioning as well is like, when you think about the 6-minute rune, BetBoom, GPK, he has the most 6-minute runes picked up from mid lane 6. When you compare to Squad 1X on the other side, he's only got 1 6-minute rune so far at the Road to International. So it's like, even though they're very aggressive, they're not doing the aggression towards securing mid lane. It's like that very side lane style, like use the twin gates that I was mentioning, keep going for that fight. And for VP, my one concern will be if you are an aggressive team nowadays, that over-aggression can sometimes bite you, where you fall off on like your scaling, where you're kind of like you're taking too many fights. And I think that's kind of been the story of VP so far, where they'll always look for that engagement, and sometimes they aren't kind of securing themselves to play a longer game if it gets drawn out.
That is true, but I found that in their last series versus Entity, they were able to temper themselves in that game 2. That game 2 went to over an hour, and they had a point in the game where they didn't really look like themselves and that they were constantly looking to make these plays. They were content to just sit back and farm. So I feel like that they have also learned to adapt throughout this tournament, and for me this series is going to be a matter of preparation.
क्या स्क्रीन पे क्या आता है? 43 असिस्ट भाई, ये तो कुछ ज्यादा ही नहीं थे।
Their identity as a team shifts, right? You take away their coddles, their dudes, their specters.
43 असिस्ट थे FNG के, वो क्या था भाई?
I feel if you take those away, you eliminate a lot of the threat in how they play those first 25 minutes. Whereas for BetBoom, I feel like they're a lot harder to draft against because they're so lane focused. You have to focus on breaking their lanes, but they're one of the harder teams to do that against, Ali.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I really like what T said about the runes because I had no idea about that. That's a cool stat. But I think BetBoom, their best strat's probably to call to Storm. I think pretty much the entire year. Like when I talk to the players or
Pure को देख भाई.
pretty much say like, oh, sometimes the opponent forgets to ban Call to Storm and get a free win. It's been the entire year like this, and I think if they're having rune domination, they should want to pick a hero mid that can use those runes to snowball. So I think we'll probably see either VP should ban the Call to Storm, steal the Call to, or they should be like really ready for it because I think that's 6 runes to 1. That's really big.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can load it back up again, but not a lot of like. To be fair though, I gotta respect like Lelis for example. Nouns, like he was there with 5. So like when you think about Nouns gameplay, I mean not
Yeah,
here
I think
anymore.
Lelis comes on like runes at like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he's there every single rune. I don't know, it's weird this tournament because I feel like the teams have a very different read of the runes. Because the entire DPC year, Gladiators were like 18 heroes every rune. So everyone sort of had to match them. But as the game sort of developed a bit more, I'm not exactly sure what exactly changed, but teams started putting less emphasis sometimes and more emphasis other times.
I mean, you got a 1-minute window between 6-minute rune plus then the 7-minute wisdom. So it's like you naturally want to maybe take a side lane gank, use the twin gate, get a fight, then you swarm for the wisdom, and in mid lane's like, guys, I exist too, please. And then you just can't help everyone on the map, right? So I think obviously the game state does kind of script where certain heroes need to go.
Yeah. I was going to ask more questions on this. We don't have time, though, because I do know the lobby is full, and our game 1 between these two teams is beginning.
ऊपर तो सारी सीट्स भरी हुई हैं ऑलमोस्ट.
We're going to see a draft coming up very soon. I do want to go back. I want to circle back around to these runes, maybe even the potential of, are we seeing teams focus more on side lanes as a whole? I know everyone always wants to win lanes, but with this twin gate, is there just more focus overall to be fighting on the side lanes rather than in the mid or in opposing jungles?
I think it's definitely added like extra points of value to the map because before it's like 6 and 8 minutes, like if you weren't on the mid runes, you were just done if you played the team like Gladiators. Now, like I can see with what T said, like if they manage to get a gank off on Nightfall during the 6-minute rune, even though you secured a rune, if your safe lane's died, you're the one who's under pressure. You're the one whose carry has to TP back. And it never feels good to have to react to your opponents like that compared to like controlling the map.
And another question to look at when it comes to the rune security is how often of those runes were secured just due to lane domination as opposed to support rotations. Because
तुम में से कोई predict किया है?
They do tend to be static on their support duo because they focus very heavily
BB
on
versus
Nightfall in particular.
VP में मैंने BB वो किया था.
मैंने भी अभी 10 channel points लगाए हैं.
I mean, obviously supports do help, but that is a factor.
इनसे क्या होता है? मैं लगाता हूँ 4.
अभी भाई 10 ही लगा सकते हैं भाई.
नहीं
अच्छा
कैसी बातें कर रहे हो यार?
अभी मेरे पास है ही नहीं.
नहीं मेरे पास है ना, मेरे पास इसमें थोड़े कम है. गोर्क पे मेरे पास बहुत ज्यादा है. गोर्क पे मेरे पास 20,000 है.
क्या तो भाई वो क्या लगाता है वो? वहाँ पे कौन सी गेम्स खेलता है?
अरे वहाँ पे कोई पॉइंट्स देखते रहो, मिल जाते हैं, क्लिक कर दो, ऐसा रहता है.
मिलते हैं देखने से भी. फॉलो करने से.
There's another threat when it comes to BetBoom's mid lane, and it is the GPK Invoker, and he showed us that in his series versus Talon. Why you cannot.
जो मैं वो हो जाए थोड़ा.
अबे हाँ मैंने भी ऐसे डाल दिया नंबर तो 1020 पे लग के 10,000 डालो क्या?
हाँ डाल दे यार.
लग गए भाई 10,000 लगा दिए भाई.
देखो VP भाई हमेशा से टीम फाइट ही रहा. उन्हें उठा लिया फीनिक्स. अब वो टाइड या फिर और क्या था वो मार्स इस टाइप का हीरो एक और उठाएंगे. मार्स पता नहीं क्यों नहीं उठा. मेरे को तो बढ़िया हीरो लगता है.
अबे यार ये क्या हो गया यार? सेंटोर क्यों लिया?
Nightfall has like some Morta, Terrorblade, all these heroes at range heroes, I think it would go really well for them.
Yeah, it's something that TSM
3-0 है भाई pure
so
Centaur
we have seen support Centaur at TI so far, but yeah, I think just having that big body and knowing that you're going to buy a blink eventually, you're still going to be the same hero, but securing your lane, I think the main thing there is having the right carry, like you're mentioning. But them being second pick, they're going to see information before they lock it in.
Storm ban कर दिया
They did have flexibility in the tank.
I think the idea is just
Morta ban कर दिया उसका
he's
नाइट
super high value right now. There's nothing that really matches his team fight, and I think Centaur is one of the hidden ones that can actually do it because you can just commit for the egg or you can reset on the egg. And I don't know, Phoenix, like you can't match him with Warlock anymore. You can't. I don't really know what fights this hero, so I really like this pick coming up from that boom.
Yeah, and just in terms of player synergy, I do feel like Pure has had his best performances this TI and Road to TI just with the Centaur. The struggle that Bedboom had in the last series that I watched versus Talon, where every game went to
Phoenix
160,
against क्या support अच्छा है
have that solid initiation coming out in those first two
अबे
games.
Grimstroke अभी भी pool में है यार Grimstroke ले सकते हैं ना ये लोग
Consigned to playing for that late game, whereas when Pure is on the Centaur, you have this low cooldown blink initiation stun that sets up for plays all around the map. It sets up for picks like Invoker, for example. So I do like that they managed to get this Pure pick secured.
उगना ये तो snap pick लग रहा है यार
Right, you'd see from here. I mean, it could technically.
I think it's probably safe Pugna.
Like a double lane, sure. But like Pugna, incredibly strong, got buffed as well. Never.
अबे Tekis क्यों नहीं pick हो रहा है यार ये तो बताओ
As well, super potent. Like the range, the move speed.
Tekis यार
pretty good. Like it's just a very.
मेरे को तो लगता है कि जो अपने मतलब फैट मेटा चल रहा है ना उसमें वही टेकीज के 2-3 बॉम्ब फूट गए तो क्या ही फर्क पड़ रहा है
मतलब हार्ट वगैरह बन रहा है ना आजकल तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता लोगों को
वही हार्ट बना के ये सेंटर
अरे पर लेन वगैरह में स्ट्रांग है ना Tekis
हाँ मतलब सेंटर टेकिस अच्छी है
he plays a lot of 4 Pugna, so
बट वो टीम फाइट नहीं देता
just because they want their safe lane to be stable.
पिक ऑफ मेटा नहीं है ना उतना
I think Pugna's probably the strongest 4 laner. Like Netherblast is super easy to hit on 2 targets now. You have really good stats, you're fast.
कुछ
Like
अच्छा चाहिए देखो ये Phoenix और सेंटर देख के मेरे को सेंटर की तरफ बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है Phoenix तो भाई बिल्कुल नहीं चाहिए
ये पुगना सेंटर लेन काफी स्ट्रांग है
So it's like 2 heroes can just break your own half of the map very quickly if it sets up correctly.
नहीं ये शायद पुगना सेफ ले
that mid to later part, right? Like we focused on
नहीं पोजीशन 4 है
4 है
also have these counters for him when it comes to team fights because he wants to put down his ward and then what other impact is he
Thompson
having
थोड़ी ना खेल रहा है
as Virtus Pro to ensure that he isn't having any more impact than just
उनका अच्छा है पुगना क्या
because the Pugna support can be sort of weird. Like some games, especially on save, like he can get to the Aghanims and he can just become a full core. The shard is really strong once you get the eggs. But other games, like you want it so that he just becomes sort of a support.
Monkey King तो भाई अभी देख रहा हूँ खेल तो बहुत देर बाद दिखाता है
I think VP Slime is sort of good at that. Like if they commit bolt plus egg and stuff, it's
ये ऑफलाइन उनका लग रहा है उनको तो
ऑफलाइन नहीं है ये मिड को उनका ही होगा यार ऑफलाइन
अगर मिड भी होगा तो मिड जा सकता है ना एमके कभी भी कहीं पे भी मतलब अच्छा ही है
Sorry, I'm trying to think. I think that Nightfall plays as well, and they just want to match against the Kunkka. So wherever Kunkka goes, they're just gonna stick Monkey King there, their second pick, so they can wait till the very end to match
सेम
it.
चीज मैं भी बोल रहा था
They give away the Monkey King flex with the Vengeful Spirit pick, but I mean, if you're seeing the Kunkka mid, I feel
Vengeful
like
अगर
great regardless, right? Just because of how good the matchup is. But if you look at these
लेकिन
two
अब देख रहा अब मैटर ऐसा हो गया कि अब सिर्फ सेफ पिक कर रहे हैं मतलब पहले ग्रुप स्टेज में लोग कुछ भी पिक हो रहा था और मतलब सिर्फ मेटा पिक्स हो रहे थे चाहे रिस्की क्यों ना हो डार्क बिलो हो गया जैसे पता नहीं क्यों पिक कर रहे थे लेकिन अब कितने सेफ पिक्स हैं ये देख रहे लग ही नहीं रहा कि ये अब अभी के मेटा के पिक्स
you have that kind of backup plan to take you into the mid game. Also, Pugna does the same thing.
डार्क बिलो तो चीज पिक थे ना
There's not that much backline jump.
चीज पे काफी सेकंड पे डार्क बिलो कर रहे थे यार हार जा रहे
नहीं वो फ्लेक्स की वजह से थे ना मतलब
there's nothing really there yet.
पोजीशन 4 डार्क बिलो तो काफी स्ट्रांग है
35 games, 40% win rate. People can just say, oh, it's pretty bad, but
नहीं वो तो मैं मानूं पोजीशन 4 डार्क बिलो तो बहुत बढ़िया है
ग्रेंड प्रोटेक्टर इन्होंने खुद ही बैन किया था
if Monkey wants to Wukong and stand his ground, killing them is going to be a little bit difficult, but VP, they get their specialty Spectre here. Like this is,
यार ये
the
स्पेक्टर अच्छा नहीं लगता मुझे यहाँ पे पुगना सेंटर निपटा देंगे स्पेक्टर को
mainly going to be Kunkka leading the charge with one of his supports behind him, and then Spectre will kind of poke his head in. I'm still looking for that one like high-pacing, explosive hero to really give
और
Spectre
स्पिरिट बैन करना चाहिए अभी इनका।
स्पेक्टर क्रिटिक स्पेशल। अरे यार ये तो बहुत स्लो गेम लग रहा है यार, ये नहीं फार्म हो पाएगा स्पेक्टर का। फार्म हो गया तो हो जाएगा सही, पर इन पे
स्पेक्टर फेवर्ड होता है खासकर रेडियंस टाइमिंग पे।
हाँ पर अभी देख इन पे स्टन वगैरह उनका तो है
नहीं, थोड़ी वीपी थोड़े मतलब अल्ट बेस्ड खेल रही है। एग हो गया, पोर्ट हो गई,
मतलब उतना वो नहीं है ना, उतने ज्यादा कूलडाउन नहीं है उन पे। फाइन।
अब वो सामने क्या ले सकते हैं, कुंता के अगेंस्ट मिड लेन में क्या अच्छा है? आर स्पिरिट ले सकते हैं, आर स्पिरिट
Just having a Grimstroke, I feel, gives you that extra bit of damage that you need early on to play for those early kills. And that Doom ban is great, by the way. I was thinking that Doom would be the perfect hero here for VP with the Soulbind into double Doom, into heal reduction from the Monkey King, but Boom identified that.
I'm wondering if you guys are still pretty solid that Conquer is going to be going mid, if there's the chance for it to go into the off lane as well. And they can pick up
Mango वगैरह नहीं पहन किया उन्होंने, उनको लगता है कि उनका मिड है।
उनका ही मिड है यार, वो खेलता ही नहीं है ऑफ।
And a sack Kunkka doesn't, like, you're playing for the Torrent Storm, you're not really playing for the early boat, so I'm not too sure. What's up?
They go for like a Primal here, because then they continue the flex between the Kunkka and Primal themselves.
Yeah, but both those heroes are not good versus Monkey, so like, you're giving Monkey
they banned
range.
themselves. Yeah.
I think they'll probably go for offlaner. I think Effie was on the right train of thought, like, you need an offlane that scales a bit, gets some damage, and can work well with the Grimstroke. They banned out probably the two offlaners.
Sven ले सकते हैं ना बैट बूम वाले यार, मंकी किंग का।
Okay, that's interesting, because it actually gives them a lot of damage. And
अरे
they're saying, like, even though you're
मतलब अब उनका ऑफलाइन नहीं हुआ।
we're going to have a strong lane in the arena. Like, it gives us at least an angle in the lanes.
The answer as well is for BetBoom, they have very good backline supports to protect, and the repercussion is
अभी तो टाइम भी बहुत है इनके पास, 2 मिनट 10 सेकंड।
अरे अब मेरे को ये पुगना वेंज थोड़ा रिस्क लग रहा है।
नहीं पुगना मार देता है ना लीना को वो उससे।
अच्छा मैं मैजिक वाला है ना, अबे तो पीके भी बना लेंगे।
ये वेंज भी अच्छी है, प्लस सेंटर से ऊपर भी चढ़ सकते हैं उसके। दिक्कत ये है,
अरे यार ऊपर चढ़ेंगे तो फाइट हारेंगे भाई, एक्ट पड़ेगा, बॉट पड़ेगा।
नहीं डिसेंट मिड लेनर हो तो दिक्कत नहीं है ना कोई भी।
स्टॉर्म वगैरह बैन है ना।
ऑनेस्टली अर्थ स्पिरिट अच्छा है यार।
अरे अर्थ स्पिरिट के मतलब लेनिंग फेज दिक्कत है, बाद में तो सही है।
कोई भी ब्लेड मेल हीरो अच्छा है ना लीना के अगेंस्ट मिड में। इन्वोकर ये भी अच्छा है।
ये सही है। अब गेम में मजे आएंगे थोड़े।
वैसे ल्यूज जाना पसंद नहीं है ना लीना को।
अरे यार अब बहुत पैसा लगाया भाई बैटबूम जी।
क्या लगता है कौन जीतेगा?
बेडरूम जीतेगा।
You have the setup stuns coming from your Vengeful Spirit, your Monkey King,
Night
your Centaur.
Fall,
You have double safe supports. You have a good lane.
स्पेक्टर तो लेन नहीं मिलने वाले,
नहीं,
किल्स नहीं मिले ना स्पेक्टर।
मेरे को तो यार अब वो लग रही है, वीपी लग रही है मेरे को तो।
मेरे को भी वीपी स्ट्रांग लग रही है। मैं चाहता हूं बेडरूम हो, लेकिन मेरे को वीपी स्ट्रांग लग रही है।
दिक्कत ये आएगी कि स्पेक्टर को फार्म नहीं मिलेगा वो उस टाइप उस वाले गेम के जैसे।
स्पेक्टर को है ना लेन में फार्म नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन मेरे को लगता है स्पेक्टर को किल्स इजीली मिल जाएंगे। क्योंकि
कैसे मिलेंगे? उनका भी अगर पीछे होगा, एमके वर्सेस उनका बहुत टफ होता है भाई।
एमके वर्सेस उनका हां यार उनका मिड
उनका पे अगर वो हो ना,
ये डिपेंड करता है लीना कितना स्नोबॉल करते हैं।
उनका मतलब ये इन्वोकर मैच कर सकता है लीना को। लेट्स सी जीपी के इन्वोकर इज गुड।
नहीं लेकिन लीना ज्यादा एक्टिव रहेगी इन्वोकर से। अगर मतलब ऐसा भी कौन से इन्वोकर खेलते हैं?
वास्पेक्ट
कर रहा है यार, इन्वोकर ज्यादा एक्टिव रहेगा ना लीना से।
देखते हैं भाई कौन सा प्लेयर का
डिपेंड करता है ये गेम एक्चुअली।
I think she won't have a lane, so
she has no other option, is what you're saying.
Like she'll have a good
प्लस पुगना पे भी एक्चुअली पुगना अगर टॉर लेन लग गया
Monkey King
Solo.
is pretty vulnerable. Honestly, even Invoker sort of.
स्टन तो दोनों टीम में कम
It's just
ही
like
है, ज्यादा नहीं
it's
है।
only one Kunkka setup. Like I wouldn't say they have the best setup sort of Spectre rotation.
MK एक लीना की कॉम्बो में मर गए
कौन MK? बट वो कॉम्बो पढ़ना भी तो चाहिए उस पे।
अबे यार
लीना के कॉम्बो में मरेगा इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि वेंज है ना।
हमें तो कैसी बातें करता है।
लेकिन वेंज को लगेगा ऑब्जर्व करो लीना ने तब तक डैमेज दे चुका होगा।
अबे मंकी लेकिन मिस चीज से डोज कर सकता है अल्टी।
हाँ ये भी है। मैंने करी भी थी एक बार लेकिन स्टिल लीना ने उस पर बहुत मारा था। अरे हाँ यार वो ब्रोकन लीना थी याद नहीं बीच में।
अच्छा अभी भी वही है।
उड़ने वाली थोड़ी वो मशीन गन लीना ब्रोकन थी ना मेलस्टॉर्म वाली।
अरे नहीं
उड़ने वाली भी अगर विजन नहीं है ना तुम्हारा एरिया में तो दिक्कत है।
हाँ वही मतलब अगर मैप कंट्रोल है तो उड़ने वाली लीना उतनी स्ट्रांग नहीं है लेकिन अगर मैप कंट्रोल नहीं है ना तब तो भयंकर ही है।
प्लस मंकी वर्सेस लीना मुझे पसंद है खेलना एक्चुअली क्योंकि उसके ऊपर अल्टी डाल दो वो मर जाती है कैसे वाली अल्टी डाल दो। बस ये मत बोलो नाइटफॉल खेल रहा है एमके और कोई नहीं।
क्या जाएगा वो सामने क्या एनिमेस और मेरे ख्याल से एको डेसो जाएगा या डेसो तो जाएगा। डेसो बीके
अच्छा है काफी क्योंकि सपोर्ट्स मर जाते हैं फिनिक्स मर जाता है ये
लीना के अगेंस्ट
इवन उनका के अगेंस्ट भी अच्छा है।
हाँ
स्पेक्टर के अगेंस्ट सो है बट उनका के अगेंस्ट अच्छा है।
किरिटेस भाई ये स्पेक्टर ही खेलता है पूरा दिन। डिपेंड करता है लीना का कैसा जा रहा है।
लेवल 30 एमके नहीं ये ब्रॉन्ज है वो उगना तो वो है भाई level 30.
We have an instance here of teams both getting what they wanted, really. Like coming into this day, if there's any one hero I would want for Virtus Pro, it's got to be that Spectre. And of course, BetBoom, they know the same thing. So they're considering, they're recognizing that it could come out at any moment here. But likewise, as our panel was saying, that BetBoom, GPK, Invoker, having that there too, got to be feeling pretty solid. Same thing with the Pugna as well. Save, definitely a hero he loves. As you can see up there, Grandmaster tier. This guy spams it all the time. So also very happy to get that for his team. And what should be perhaps a more contested hero, I think, as this moves along here.
Do you think the Pugna will be?
Yeah, I think Pugna's super solid, alongside the Phoenix as well, right? We hit a lot of teams.
लीना बढ़िया कर रही भाई लास्ट
We
टाइम।
got hard blade mail, we got percent damage, percent
प्लस फिनिक्स कुछ नहीं करता ना टॉप लेन में
expect more of the
अटैक स्पीड स्लो
देख के वही मेरे को खराब लगता है।
First wave already going.
सॉलिड मतलब वो क्या कहते हैं अटैक स्पीड स्लो से कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता ये लोग तो मैजिक में होते हैं।
This is just going to be Quaswex Invoker, but I feel like he's really taking it to him.
I mean, you got to do this as Lina, right? This is the whole idea of the hero, is that you better be winning that mid lane nice and early, get an advantage, and hope that you can make something.
ओ भाई मिड में डिफरेंस देख भाई 10-4 वर्सेस 3-1।
Refreshing to see her now. It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely.
बट अभी वो यूनिवर्सल है तो एक आध ब्रेसर से हो जाएगा ठीक।
पर अब अबे अब क्वास के पॉइंट से हील नहीं होता ना इन्वोकर।
अरे वो गायब हो भी हो जाएगा ना यार।
हाँ गायब हो के होता है लेकिन ऐसे नहीं हील होता अब क्वास के पॉइंट से।
अब बहुत स्लो है ना वो गायब होना इज नॉट इफेक्टिव।
गायब होने में माना बहुत लगता है भाई।
हाँ वही तो मेरे को भाई 70 रीजन है ना एक्सपीरियंस।
नहीं नहीं वो कब का कम कर दिया आधा आधा कर दिया था।
हाँ अब तो 18 अब 18-19 हो गया।
अरे अब तो बहुत कम है मेरे को लगा 70 रीजन तो वो तो ओपी शेड चीज थी भाई।
अरे वो स्टार्टिंग में इन्वोकर यूनिवर्सल और ये जब हुआ था तो वही चल रहा था पता क्या गैंग करने जाओ और फिर गोस्पा करके वापस आओ फुल एचपी फुल मारना ट्विन गेट से दूसरी जगह चले ये प्योर का कुछ ज्यादा फॉर्म लग रहा है। यार टिंकर नहीं दिख रहा है यार।
Sentry and Protector, which they weren't able to get here. Of course, that was banned over it.
आजकल के बच्चे डिंगर नहीं खेलते ना इसके लिए बटन दबाने
GPK's face back behind the tower. Yeah, they have quite enough damage. They do save.
यही होने वाला है अब यहाँ से आगे देखना लेवल 2 3 से 3 लेवल जैसे ही हुआ
बेबी पुश होगी भाई ओह माय गॉड इससे बे में तो उसका वैनगार्ड आ जाएगा भाई ऑलमोस्ट
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ अब देखना ना स्पेक्टर इतनी ऊपर वो नहीं कर पाएगी डबल न्यूक्स इवन फिनिक्स भी मार सकता है
Yeah, certainly a counter-pick matchup here that they were just going to follow you wherever you went. But with the help of the Grimstroke, I mean, you can already see, right? Potential for turnaround.
And a chance maybe even for a kill. The Stroke of Fate, they try and get out, but with 2 stacks of Jingu, it's too scary. That's how much respect they're giving to Nightfall.
Yeah, you really don't want to throw away this even lane you have. You know how quickly you can go south here.
FNG down low.
ये देख मारा है
Right click, but he does eventually get him.
वैनगार्ड तो आ गया ये वही
यही होने वाला बस अब यही रोक के डिनाई करते रहेंगे स्पेक्टर को कितने लास्ट हिट मिले अभी तक 12
For both these heroes, really. They can move around somewhere else, like that 5 Centaur that they were mentioning, but it's... You knew that there would be pressure. They knew that they wanted Spectre. They prepped for this the whole time, and, you know, VP said bet, so... We'll see if they regret that.
I know. I mean, so far it's definitely hurting, and the slowdown with the Icarus stack, Nether Blast, a third. Save will go down, so FNG getting a nice
TP भी नहीं हो गया अभी तो उसके पास
They need something like that.
इसलिए
You know, it's going to be a tough one.
नहीं अच्छा लगता खेलना फिर क्या है ये क्या खेलना
भाई पोस्ट 4 बहुत बढ़िया है भाई इस बार
यही कह रहा था मैं कुनका को भी दौड़ना पड़ रहा है ठीक है उसके पास भी उतने लेवल्स नहीं है
और कुनका भी ज्यादा तेज फार्म नहीं
ब्लिंक
करता
लेके आ जाएगा और 2 मिनट में 7 मिनट ब्लिंक बनाना चाहे वो भी बना सकता है
ये स्पैम मारता रहेगा बस मारा भी नहीं लगता है उस स्किल में
और कुनका वो नहीं जानना चाहता ना कोर कुनका ईमैक्स
At least when Spectre's dying with that urn charge does manage to get it refilled and well only level 3 on the Spectre as Save tries to hunt down Squadix. Eventually you're going to maybe be able to make some type of a counterplay but level 5 Centaur
अभी देखना अभी ये इन्वोकर नीचे या फिर ऊपर कभी भी जाएगा ना तो एक कोर तो मरेगा हमेशा
और वो ऑन नहीं बनाया नहीं लेट गेम पता है लीना मार देती है
इसको अरे लेट गेम जाना भी तो चाहिए अभी देख लीना के ऊपर सेंटर स्टन डबल एज करके निपटा देंगे या फिर ये वेंज वगैरह स्वैप कर देगी दिक्कत है भाई प्रॉब्लम ये है कि लेवल 3 एक्स मार्क चाहिए इनको कुछ अच्छा करने के लिए
continue to dive. They're thinking about it. Jump, Primal Spring, Boundless Strike. Now the problem for BetBoom is that they might lose a Wisdom Rune for all this action that's going in. Squad X moves forward. GPK is there, but nobody in position. Pugna is going to make the move over. Body blocks, but no, they get it. Virtus Pro steal away both Wisdom Runes.
That is huge. When you feel like the lanes aren't going
तो
that
कुछ
well,
तो अच्छा हुआ भाई
super important right now to try and balance out that XP a little bit.
यार नहीं भाई भाई
Does mean that FNG is kind of massive.
तूने कितने लगाए भाई मैंने 21,000 लगा दिए
30,000 कैसे आ गए भाई आपके पास
मुझे क्या पता मैं 5,000 डालता गया 16,000 हुआ फिर 5 और 21 हो गया
21,000 कैसे लगा दिए भाई इतने पॉइंट्स ही कैसे हैं आपके पास
सबमिशंस क्लोज्ड होगी टोटल चैनल पॉइंट्स 8 मिलियन है और 2,000 लोग हैं तो सबसे डिवाइड हो कैसे आएगा ना सही है ये भाई ये कौन है भाई 2.5 लाख चैनल पॉइंट्स भी लगाए हैं भाई एक बंदे ने।
हाँ ना, वो लगाते हैं ना, जो सबसे ज्यादा रहते हैं उनको सबसे ऊपर आता है। मैक्सिमम इतना ही लगा सकते हैं।
Separation, and yeah, Kiritich almost now at level 6, going to get it off that creep. We'll see where they decide to go that first shadow step.
Nice.
Up here, I mean, 3 points in the ink swell with
the Conga.
So certainly try something here. But very difficult to punish the Monkey King. It's
Somebody
Tokyo if he steps out of place.
Come on, nice.
Couple neutrals, but yeah, they're setting up bottom. They're trying to
recognize this too. Toronto Tokyo just put down some vision as well. Sentry that they placed from Virtus.pro does spot the pillar, but obviously no one actually scouted here.
Again, Shadow Step at the ready. They find one. Stun is there. 4 heroes in the area. Nightfall steps up. Are they going to go for this?
It's tough without boat. Notice is so close. If they can get 1 kill into boat, that could be huge. Oh, cut down.
In finding, and they go immediately. Nightfall, if you get caught up on a tree, that could do it. LSA connection. Virtus.pro, I mean, you just randomly find a tree cut down. FNG, only level 5, doesn't have egg yet, would love to get it, but not quite going to be able to connect in time. They do have level 6 on Kunkka. Sets it up for the Torrent, off the mark. Kiritich still standing tall. Squadix is down. They're starting to tear him apart a bit. They have enough damage. Good decrypt to back away. Toronto Tokyo in the area, tries to take it off. Nether Blast connects, but it's not enough damage. Finally thinking about
level 6 हो गया भाई।
connect onto GPK, but they don't have the damage.
It's just saving Kiritich though.
क्या नाम है इसका? इनवोकर भी प्रॉब्लम दे सकता है अगर इसको ऐसे फाइट्स में किल्स मिल जाए तो।
अरे वैसे एको सेवर आने वाला है भाई मंकी किंग का।
इसका वेसल बन गया।
ये पाइप जा रहा है।
अभी ये लोग मिड हारा था ना इनवोकर, बट देखो नेटवर्क अब
it's like getting roared by a beastmaster, you know? It's that equivalent. It's such a huge play to make for your team when you have such little like opportunities right now because of your disadvantage on experience.
Right, and those types of plays are the type of thing that you're going to want to get for this Virtus.pro to be able to weather the storm.
अरे वो इसलिए इतनी हर वापस ले पाया था क्योंकि उसके दोनों सपोर्ट आ गए थे मिड थोड़ी देर के लिए, क्योंकि उनकी लेन सच्ची अच्छी डाली। कुछ कर नहीं सकते ना यार, ये बेडबुक की लेन्स को कुछ वो नहीं है, क्या बोलते हैं लेन्स में कोर मतलब कोई
वो लेते ही लेन डोमिनेट है भाई। कुनका देखते ही मंकी किंग लिया उन्होंने, शर्माए नहीं है। कुनका देखते ही मंकी किंग लिया।
सेंटर ब्लिंक पे ये लोग मूव
Yeah, this is interesting. And with, again, Shadow Step ready, this should be an easy pickoff on the save. Does get the Nether Ward down first, but that type of a move, and no real counterplay coming from Bedboom as of yet. They're just trying to farm up and get to the items. Hey,
Catapult's still up here.
Why not? Keep the pressure on. They sit now.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo. He's so close to 6. If they get 1 kill, maybe into swap after.
It's still so hard to kill this Kunkka. You know
with an egg.
Gonna have a rum buff too. So they chase down to half HP. Doesn't
My God, वेसल तो कुनका को खाएगी।
मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, मैं इनवोकर को वो 2-3 किल मिले वेसल, अर्ली वेसल इनटू लेवल्स। अब तो ये नहीं जाना चाहिए, मैं अभी भी बोल रहा हूँ डेसो जाना चाहिए। एक क्यू में ही मर जाता है सपोर्ट, एक क्यू और 2
क्या बना रहा है ये देखो।
ब्लेड मेल रेडियंस ही जाएगा।
नहीं, ब्लेड मेल रेडियंस ही होता है, स्पेक्टर पे कुछ और नहीं बना सकते। मैंने ट्राई किया था आज माइडस डिफ्यूजल मार्टा।
नहीं तो ब्लेड मेल डिफ्यूजल मार्टा नहीं कर सकते क्या?
अरे डिफ्यूजल से ना एचपी नहीं होती उसके कुछ।
वाला किया था ना,
बहुत वीक है यार ब्लेड मेल।
डिफ्यूजल मार्टा अच्छा नहीं है उतना। कर सकता है बट अच्छा नहीं है ना, HP चाहिए। रेडियंस मांटा हार्ट मतलब सर्वाइवबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है। इवन मुझे वो भी पसंद है, ब्लेड मेल इनटू ऑर्किड इनटू मांटा।
They're closing in. About CM trying to dodge away. Where's the health swap back? Gets a little bit of separation actually, but the tornado lift up and with the sun strike, that's going to be enough.
मैं तो भाई क्रीप्स लेता सारे मर तो गए।
ये मेलस्टॉर्म अच्छा नहीं है, ऑल्दो मुझे वो समझ में आ रहा है उसका थॉट प्रोसेस। म्योल्निर से वो एग मार सकता है।
एमके मेलस्टॉर्म बहुत अच्छा लगता है मेरे को।
अरे मीडियोकर डैमेज है, मतलब वो लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा।
अरे वो अल्टीमेट डैमेज है, वो अल्टीमेट डैमेज है।
This is kind of unreliable. यही डेसो हो ना, तो लीना को सोलो मार सकते हो तुम अल्टी में, एक स्टन और अल्टी में मर जाते हो 100 to 0। तेरे सपोर्ट्स को भी मार सकते हो, इवन कुनका को भी मार सकते हो।
हाँ तो भाई बैटल फ्यूरी वाला खेलता हूँ। बैटल फ्यूरी बीकेबी सिल्वर।
बैटल फ्यूरी तो मतलब लोवेस्ट डैमेज है, मेलस्टॉर्म में ज्यादा डैमेज है उससे।
तो वो फार्म तेज कर, लेवल ज्यादा।
बैटल फ्यूरी वाला कब अच्छा लगता है पता है? अगर बैटल फ्यूरी इनटू एग्स इनटू डेडलेस जा सकते हो तो, मतलब नो बीकेबी, which is not good.
They managed to find Toronto Tokyo, but also Squadix caught for a moment. They get him, but the silence is there on the boat. With the leash up, that's what they needed. Will it be enough to get the kill on Alina?
हमारी लीना, यही मैं दिक्कत कह रहा था कि लीना के साथ ये दिक्कत हो गई। उसी को मार देंगे पूरा। फाइट बन गया। अब हार्ट आएगा,
ब्लिंक हार्ट आएगा ना।
डिपेंड करता है, अभी ये लोग कैच कर पा रहे हैं ना, इन्वोकर कर रहा है इनके लिए इनिशिएट।
नहीं उनका कुनका पिक ने मतलब कुछ किया नहीं, कुनका पिक तो मतलब इंस्टेंट।
रेडियंस तो भाई 25 मिनट आएगा अगर मरा नहीं रास्ते में।
दिक्कत ये है कि कुनका पिक अच्छी है,
लीना कुछ नहीं कर पाया। अबे लीना वो कोल्ड स्नैप और सब कैसे काम करते हैं भाई? वो ऐसे ही कोल्ड स्नैप ही रहता है क्या? वो
क्या
कोल्ड स्नैप इनटू पुगना का वो अल्टी वो हिल ही नहीं पा रहा।
तो वेसल टाइप का, वेसल से बेटर है ना इंस्टेंसेस ऑफ डैमेज।
So much forward pressure. They're constantly across the river with both of their supports.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the kind of thing you're kind of hoping with a Spectre lineup, right? You're thinking like, oh, I want my guys playing on the other side there. We're just catching people. I mean, that's pretty real.
They find him. Now they are going to get this D-ward here, but a lot of the rest of Eplum team are nearby, and they're just going to farm up this area and deny out more. I think that was Aoi that was saying that the Centaur can definitely snowball the game. It also feels like in a lot of ways, in spite of the counter pick, GPK has really risen over the last few minutes and been able to set up a ton of these kills. They're firing on all cylinders.
ये नई नो करके अगेंस्ट मतलब पर्ज होना जरूरी है।
They're in desperation mode on Virtus Pro. They're trying to get as much farm as possible wherever they can on the map, and to have the position 4 of the enemy team just taking what little camps you have doesn't feel very good. They've got a great vision advantage through a lot of this. Many sentries now placed down though, as you can see here on our graph, and that's what we're trying to counteract. Trying to get rid of that vision so they can find some better places, safer places to farm here for Virtus Pro. But they're really failing to create any sort of shadow step plays, unfortunately, because it's just hard, right? Yeah. Like they have not been willy-nilly with the Stampede, so it's just always there.
That defensive maneuver being available just puts a thorn in their side whenever that opportunity comes around. Now, we do have some more time before the next item is going to come out. It's Shard is queued up for Lina at the moment. They do have Shard on Kunkka, and of course trying to get towards that Water Park Aghanim Scepter. It already does set up for some potential at least to pull people out of position, but that obviously is going to take a lot longer.
Yeah. Manages to escape there though, with that X, keeping himself safe.
We've talked a lot about Notice's hero pool as well in terms of like what looks like a good game for Virtus Pro, and a lot of that time it has come down to this idea of a scaling hero. And the Kunkka, you know, much more of a setup and trying to enable his allies.
Well, let's see if they can find this setup finally here as they do manage to come in, but there it is, Stampede run together, but the Torrent, and then even the X-Well, that was well played, and exactly what VP needed, but then everybody on the other side. Oh man, that Wukong's command was devastating. He's still alive, trying to take it down, they kill the egg, they kill everybody. All for save. Yeah, that one hurt, that one hurt a lot.
मंकी का बहुत ज्यादा फार्म नहीं है भाई मेलस्टॉर्म बीकेबी में
मेलस्टॉर्म के बारे में ये कहूँगा ना कि बीकेबी थोड़ा जल्दी आ जाता है उससे फार्मिंग की वजह से, बट ये अभी इसमें म्योल्निर अच्छा है एक के लिए।
कॉम्बो तो अच्छा मारा भाई यहाँ पे,
कॉम्बो मतलब लाइन में थे वो लोग।
ओह माय गॉड ऊपर
थे ना वो गड़बड़ हो गई।
अभी यहीं पे अगर डैश होता ना तो वो क्यू में ही मर जाते सभी तीनों के टीम में।
Can find the X, can find the Torrent, but if he can't find the kill, it's all for naught. 10,000 net worth lead right now,
and they are not slowing down. Still hunting here. Oh, not again. Let her go. Oh, neck dodge.
The Jukes, they're just so mobile. The Squawks can't do anything. Doesn't get a chance to cast spell.
He cast LSA.
Last pick लेना।
But they do find a return kill. Save has been the one to die.
अरे यार इसका तो रेडियंस ऑलमोस्ट आ गया है, मतलब वो रैलिक रैलिक तो आ गया। पर यार रेडियंस से कुछ होगा नहीं डैमेज ना, पाइप विप है उन पे इतना ही।
एक्चुअली रेडियंस मोर ऑफ अ फार्मिंग आइटम की तरह यूज करेगा ना इसमें, प्लस अगेंस्ट एमके इट्स गुड। वो पेड़ पे जंप नहीं कर सकते।
All right, Grimstroke has one Philly. We'll see what FNG gets. They need everything they can to try and stall this game out.
Whatever is no. Well, we've seen this one go awry a couple times.
No,
not this time though.
Fine. They're gonna be fine.
4 heroes. Nobody's dying to the Tormentor's stay.
Exactly. I mean, FNG does do some damage to himself as he's casting those spells, but has the South going. Almost done with the Radiance.
Nobody dying to the Tormentor, right?
No, surely. FNG, you're fine, right?
Getting close.
Oh, Sage. Oh my goodness. So here's the thing.
That's a great upgrade though. They got Phoenix. That's huge, right? 4 points from the Sunray. Will actually be able to keep helping out during those eggs. Can be a
अब दिक्कत आएगी इनको खेलने में।
Hop right out there.
I mean, the big thing to me is
लीना को बीके भी नहीं देना
keeps on just getting brought down right at the edge. It feels like if they can buy a little bit more time, you get level 10.
ये मैजिक लीना में बीके भी नहीं बना सकते ना तुम।
It just can't happen though. How many free jumps and initiations have they found on this Lina? She's getting demolished.
Let me just check here. 272, about 7.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yep. Save. Getting the tips.
और वहाँ पे वो शायद तीसरी बार मरी है ना लीना वहीं पर।
Vision down.
स्क्वाड से एक आधी बार
सिल्वर लाइनिंग ये है कि स्पेक्टर को मिल रहा है थोड़ा बहुत काम, बट स्टिल वो लोएस्ट।
लीना तो लेन में मरना चाहिए, वो जैसे बॉटम टीपी करे, बॉटम थोड़ी पुश करके लेन में मर जाए चलेगा, जंगल में नहीं मरना चाहिए।
हाँ लीना पुश भी तेज करती है ना।
वही वो
So knocking those down in the
end,
that's
मैप सही से नहीं
खेल रहे।
नहीं यार, ये इनका ड्राफ्ट वैसा है ना, इन्वोकर, मंकी, सेंटोर, इनको लीना ही ढूंढना है बस।
तो मैं वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, वो तो वैसे भी मिल गई ना, तो एटलीस्ट लेन तो पुश करे कि स्पेक्टर को वो मिले और पेस। देखो लीना तो मरेगी कहीं भी वो।
लीना पे तो सिर्फ ईथर लैंप है भाई, लीना पे तो सिर्फ ईथर है।
करके पड़ गई क्या हुआ ये?
पुसी है भाई, जीपी के पुसी।
वही तो क्या कर रहा है भाई
नहीं उसे नहीं पता था ना कि उनका तो है नहीं है
सेंटोर अल्टी है, तुम रेडिएंट के उधर लड़ रहे हो, वहाँ पे रेडिएंट टीपी कर सकती है। ओह माय गॉड, ये नाइटफॉल बहुत फार्म्ड है भाई। मैं ओनली रैको पीछे भी
Mjolnir इसीलिए बनाया उसने सिर्फ एग के लिए।
एक फाइट अगर स्पेक्टर जीत की तो भाई ये मांटा वंटा आ गया तो फिर हो सकता है कुछ।
नेक्स्ट आइटम नाइटफॉल का इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि मेलस्टॉर्म से नहीं मार सकते तुम स्पेक्टर को। मैं तो कहूँगा बैशर जाना चाहिए।
काफी चीजें हैं, नेगेटिव आर्मर है, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं।
सिल्वर जा रहा है,
बना रहा है, ठीक है ये भी चलेगा।
Kunkka not quite as sneaky unless you get set up there with the Shadow Blade. So in this case, you're just gonna have to try and rely on some observer wars.
देखो अभी भी लीना वहीं पर है, मेरे को समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा। ये वाटर टॉप वाली लेन उनका नहीं पुश करी थी, लीना ने नहीं पता।
यार टफ गेम है उसके लिए।
हाँ टफ गेम तो है, मैं वो तो मान।
प्लस BOT नहीं होगा ना उस पर।
BOT है साले, BOT इधर है।
अच्छा BOT है क्या? एक सेकंड चेक करने दे।
है BOT।
अच्छा BOT है।
10 मिनट पहले से BOT है, 14 मिनट में BOT आ गया था उसका।
बट यार वो तुरंत मार देंगे उसको वहाँ पे।
वो दिखी तो वो मरी है।
They're just as fast. Oh no. Everybody hasted.
Oh man, and Kiritich now also going to get chased maybe. They go for the shadow step, excuse me, onto GPK to get out of trouble.
Yeah, that's definitely an escape shadow step.
Nicely
Please,
played.
let me go. Pure though, not so sure he wants in.
Right there on top of one. Still scary. They have Aghanim Scepter on notice. No buyback on the Lina, but can they chase down Kiritich? Still scary to make that move, but they jump in. Able to find it. So much damage with the heal. The heal coming in from FNG. Actually keeping the carry alive. That was so much heal as the Supernova will end.
डिक्रैप कर दिया था पुगना ने मेरे हिसाब से।
मेरा लग रहा है लोटस मैजिक वॉन्ड कुछ था उसका।
वो हाँ लोटस होगा बड़ा वाला।
बट अभी वाटर पार्क कूलडाउन पे है। बीके भी है।
सेंटर भी है भाई कोर अपना।
अरे माना नहीं रहता सेंटर पे यार, सांझों का बनाना पड़ता।
So the first engagement with BKBs.
ना शिवाज भी तो बना सकते हो, सेम काया के।
हाँ मतलब शिवाज हैक्स जैसे। डैमेज बहुत बढ़ता है, डैमेज बहुत बढ़ता है ना वो। बहुत ज़्यादा है।
वो तो मैं जानता हूँ यार, मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये वैसा वाला आइटम है कि मैं I'll kill शार्ड के साथ इंसेंट डैमेज चेंज करता है।
लीना वगैरह ये इनको वन शॉट करना जरूरी है, मतलब एक स्टन में मारना। फिनिक्स हो गया, ग्रिम, लीना। ये सेव भी बहुत अच्छा खेलता है।
भाई ये तो बहुत ही ऑप्टिमिस्टिक प्ले था भाई।
Not sure exactly what they were trying to do there. Maybe bait out the BKB or something, I guess. But he stood stall.
Yeah, almost feels like just like wasting time at this point, eh?
Yeah.
See if they can just draw them all mid, but GPK, he's
नहीं वो BKB भी लगाएगा नहीं ना वो तो। उसको पता है उसके बाद एजी से तो BKB क्यों लगाएगा?
उसकी अल्टी है सेंट।
But now you got a Shadow Blade up on the Monkey King and a Blink Dagger up on the Invoker. So this whole map just got very dangerous for Virtus Pro. And of course the Blink Dagger, one of the best things is just actually going high ground, right? You want that perfect moment. You don't want to miss it. That's what Blink Dagger always gives you.
15 मिलियन चैनल पॉइंट्स होने वाला है डिवाइड।
Spots Kiritich, goes
Oh my God, he
What if he cut that tree though?
Gotta get out, gotta escape tornado lift up, but everybody there, and that is a painful loss. Taking out that Spectre. Man, they are hitting hard. I mean, she did a lot of damage, but it's still not looking great. LSA gonna connect on to Nightfall. But the heal is gonna be there from Save as they start to siege high grounds. And without Spectre, you gotta imagine it's gonna be tough to make any type of a move. Tries to step forward with Noticed.
He's just trying to kill the Nether.
Actually burned through the Aegis. Okay. X pulls him back in. Not terrible. And as far as a hold goes, I mean, that's something. Aegis is wearing down soon. The tier 3 tower starting to fall. Notice looking for an X-play. Can't quite connect on it, but he steps in. All right. Will get punished there as the boat goes out. The landing stun. Kiritich also chasing. ToronTokyo goes for the swap away. Still hunting, chasing. Gets the kill onto one. Can they find any more? GPK gets that Ogre Seal Totem to separate.
All right, Bad Boom gotta, don't throw a bad fight here just to save.
Oh, yeah.
Let him go. Be the unsaved here. Just trying to secure that tier 3 there with the Nether Blast. And immediately you have the TPs down.
वो तो safe की गलती थी भाई.
Start cleaning up the gold on the rest of this map here. 15k lead. Keep it going.
Although Contact ने भी अच्छा play किया. Blind वो मारा ना उसने. Side
With no Aegis, the worry is still that you have this one pretty substantial gold lead, but two the BKBs, and they really don't do that much through BKB at this point on the side of
You know what I love too is GPK going for the Ogre Seal Totem.
Yeah.
On the Invoker. Like, he knows his job, right? Like, he has to be a little bit in there. And he knows things can get a bit dicey and a bit risky there.
मुझे लगता है कि वो कर सकते हैं क्या बोलते हैं एक ही
just has this opportunity to
मतलब
escape,
5v5
be a little bit tankier. Or perhaps go in.
5v5 बहुत सेफ है.
Ogre Seal Flopper.
And it does a little damage, right?
हाँ अरे पाइप ही नहीं क्रॉस करता है. देख लेना.
30 minutes in.
नहीं मैंने बोला ना वो more of a farming item plus 1v1 MKK against अच्छा है.
सिल्वर भी आ गया.
सिल्वर बन गया भाई अब निपटा देगा इनके.
Maybe he's got a couple Crimson Witnesses, right? Maybe get 4 or 5 of the event. Feels like he can hit some Torrent Storms.
Well, they find one right away. Kiritich, the heal, it's not going to be enough.
He's not lucky.
Don't have enough at all. And the Stampede, they try and run away. We'll get X back in now, Pure, but there's just no follow-up. The Supernova is off to the side. They can't do anything. So FNG will Icarus dive away, and that is going to be a
अरे इसलिए यार इसके साथ वो चाहिए रहता है क्या नाम है हीरो का? हाँ अरे नहीं ऐसे पैदल लोग चले जाते हैं यार. या तो फिर उसका ड्यूरेशन कम करना चाहिए.
I mean, the gas station's hard at work here, Pugna. Save is just filling up Pure, giving him lots of mana. It's tough on those Centaurs, right?
GPK. And X. FNG. I'm not sure what the goal is, but the LSA connects onto 2. They're going to be able to slip out of there and barely surviving on the Phoenix. But Virtus just feel a little lost.
They're willing to just jump on anything right now. Oh yeah. On the side of Bad Boom if you offer it up. And now they're taking a look at that Tormentor, thinking they want to grab it. They scan. It doesn't hit Notice right now.
They take that really quickly. Nightfall with alacrity on him. This Monkey King is a monster.
Yeah, okay. And then everyone just TP's out. Nobody gonna get caught here.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Pick up the Wisdom Rune. Go get another one. Everybody gets a Tormentor. That's what you love to see.
The supports are just,
guys, come on. We gotta go get that, right? Hello? No.
It's tough out there for Toronto. I mean, that's a great shot too. Like, he wants it. He's pinging. Guys, get back. Come on. Please, help me out.
Please. Oh no, somebody's gonna die here. ToronTokyo. Does he live? Get lower HP. He's gonna be fine. Off to the races with another one.
This gives us the bouncing magic missile here. Very frustrating to play against.
Oh yeah. Double rounds of those is pretty nice. The only people without it right now on BetBoom team are going to be the Invoker and the Monkey King, actually.
Yo, Squadix, though, just bought a Blink Dagger on this Lina.
I don't think so.
Okay, we're gonna find a different tactic here.
But, I mean, they're running in. 5v5 fights feel really bad. Notice, smoke breaks, save is there. Again, front person in these fights. You got a Centaur, and it's the Pugna that's running.
They're trying to outskill so hard.
Tries to jump, gets onto one, stun is there. They don't even have enough to bring up FNG, though. It doesn't quite look like it. Kiritich jumps away, gets some separation. The egg is down, but they've already lost the Kunkka. And I think with that,
Altia,
just
baby.
going to reset. No, never mind. Bedboom, they want to battle. Hunt, who do they find? Stun onto one. They connect now onto Sage. He's going to die. They manage to get out with the rest.
I think any fight where
Go
Notice
next,
is
go
going to
next.
be blown up, it's going to be a bad time, right?
Go
He's
next.
kind of the centerpiece of these engagements.
Chavis,
He's trying to be the
yeah.
one who sets up the vision for the Haunt. He's the one who's trying to be this body that you're hoping that the Wukong's command will be a little bit more centered around him as opposed to something
Harpoon आ गया अब तो.
And so when he just goes down and they have free reign, then it's just never going to work out for Virtus Pro.
Well, and for Bedboom now, Nightfall is just so impossibly ahead of
कौन
everybody
सीखे
else.
ना
You can
बट
see the
सीखे
Dota
तो
Players
बैन कर
out
रहे
of this
हैं.
world, queuing up an Aghanim Scepter next, and this rotation 20 seconds
सीखे तो
back.
किसी को भी मार
So
सकता है.
they are comfortable at this point, going in as far as they need to.
Yep.
To break these teams down.
I mean, it's a little stompy, but can we just all agree that we're happy that it's not a Battle Fury Monkey King?
Oh yeah,
You
there
know,
you go.
you can buy other items and fight and kill people. It's pretty sweet.
I like this.
See some more of this.
Absolutely. Well, and seeing it is just an answer in general, because I mean, for a very long time this tournament, we're trying to come up with answers. How do you beat this Spectre? How do you deal with it? And we're seeing some of the results. The Centaur, the Pugna worked together, made the lane terrible, and then just killed the mid of the Spectre, I guess.
Absolutely.
ये तो
Miserable
मतलब
lane and then never leave their side.
ड्राफ्ट में ही खत्म हो गया था.
Which
दो
is tough.
lanes तो
That
ड्राफ्ट
is
में ही
actually
खत्म
a
हो
very
गई
hard
थी.
game plan. There's a reason why Spectre was working so well. It's because it's proven to be a bit of a difficult tactic to actually achieve, right? I mean, we've had teams like
बिहार भी नहीं बना Centaur का.
claw their way through games despite being down in
लीना
similar
हाँ यार, मतलब
situations.
लीना को मेरे को
By
लग रहा था
finding
कुछ
heroes like
थोड़ा और कर
Spectre. Some
सकते थे,
teams are
लेकिन
playing illusion heroes
lanes
and just waiting it out.
नहीं ना लीना तुम लोग ये नहीं समझ रहे. लीना के लिए ऑफ लेनर अच्छा चाहिए. मतलब सेंटर अगर इनके टीम में होता ना तो लीना बहुत कुछ कर सकते थे. ये उनका बकवास पिक है.
वो यहाँ तो सबसे पहले सारे वाला
क्योंकि जब लीना का लेवल 6 आता है तो सेंटर लेवल 4 था.
Simple. Then it's all going to look pretty good for them, and so far that's definitely been the case in this one.
लेवल 3 X मार्क चाहिए तभी कुछ कर
Chaos
सकते
into this game. Goes in, down, but it's just not anywhere near enough damage. That's Laguna Blade with
Just
Flame
firing up the
Belt.
stacks. That's all.
Building, trying to do what they can. Torrent connects. The save heal is there. GPK a little off the mark with the tornado. As tries to force them back with the EMP, but in a similar fashion how they've been playing this game, slow and steady, it's going to win the race for Bedboom if they just keep coming in and right-clicking down these buildings. It's the first set of racks done. Nightfall gets pulled up to the high ground, has the X mark, the connection with that torrent. There's just no follow-up. They can't do anything.
And they're not even hard committing here from Bedboom, right? Save is just
Oh, भाई,
chugging
silence
away
बना
there,
रही है
throwing
उनको.
out nether blasts. Very
Take
safe
that
and
up, mate.
secure. As the wisdom runes return here. One already gotten, the other still remaining there.
A bunch of creeps spawn too, so they can go farm those again.
Perfect.
They do that every minute, Trent. Just in case anybody out there was wondering.
That's good. Someone needed to do some though. You know, they probably were wondering a little bit here.
So 37 minutes coming up. Next round of neutrals. Toronto, Tokyo farming, but they want to try and find a pickoff. GPK there hits the disarm. Blade mail out, jumps away. He's like, look what I can do.
Hey, it's every 40 seconds now, right?
It's true.
Level 18, so chuck him out there. And once again, Bedboom playing just too tight.
You force those types of rotations, it's pretty good. If you can get any type of BKB charge or anything out of that, it's going to be a nice window for him. The problem is that this Venge is still very tanky and has freaking Boots of Bearing like a maniac.
It's a good choice.
And I think Aghanim's just completed too.
Oh, perfect. So now wanting to die here as well. Squadix, though, hoping to not die quite as much. After that Blink Dagger, now picked up the BKB. Again, certainly some issues with it. Don't want to be stuck anywhere near Nightfall, especially when he's running here right now with Silver Edge and a DD.
Yikes. And pure, I mean, if he starts stacking up these double edges, I don't, like, they don't have enough damage to even tickle him.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. It's like the most damage is probably going to be FNG, but I mean, he has not been able to get the sun rays to full duration with the sun ray going out.
pretty worried about this. As they get set to head up towards high ground, DD about to wear off for Nightfall. And on the opposite side of the map is GPK.
I mean, FNG has like 10 mana on the high ground. If that Boundless Strike hits them, it's not looking good.
No.
Oh, plants a ward from up above here. Pure does not have the gem right now, so they don't actually see this. So a bit of vision. Oh, they put down a sentry though. Now they're going to see that ward off the side here. Pure passes that tree.
Just in a moment, jump in, stun immediately there. FNG trying to heal. The double force staff gets him away for a moment. Now the swap just kills him off.
Kills the Pure, not the GPK. All right.
Yeah, that one hurts. But Wukong's down. With Wukong's down, maybe they can make something happen here. Although onto him already, couldn't get the egg off. FNG is going to die.
Oh, Pure, he's just in there. He's just waving at him.
Ready.
Any high fives? Oh, he's hitting him with the stomps too.
Oh, yeah.
It is looking that way, I'm not gonna lie.
They did manage to bring down the Monkey King one time. Buyback comes out from Kunkka. Can they find anybody? There's a gem on the ground. Pure still
Go next, man.
jumps the back line. No, not going for it. Instead, Torrent Storm, already used. Notice wants to find. FNG picks up the gem himself, still looking for the hunt down. But as they retreat, there is not an easy way Pure thinks about jumping. They get the egg down though. Okay. Toronto Tokyo, he's the only one hit by this. This is not good enough.
Fight was करती Spectre को मरवा दिया
The stun is going to be there. The break, a couple more hits. Can they bring down this Spectre?
So huge.
Stand in tall.
They just have to walk.
अबे उनको भी GG लिखना है.
No totem. The chase, he's so big, 6,000 HP. And with Lina dying, Squadix goes down. The continued hunt, I mean, it's just, they don't have an answer.
Certainly can't find one. And again, Save just fueling up here.
They don't even feel comfortable dealing with the creeps. They got to go heal up. Nightfall, Alacrity, another Wukong's command will secure the second lane of Rax for Bedboom team. And start heading over towards the third. With 33,000 gold lead, Virtus Pro just have not stood a chance in this one.
There's always concerns about regional rivalries, of course. You know, we've often see these upsets when you come in from the same region here, and Bedboom perhaps a little bit subject to that already by Nine Pandas, of course.
Oh yeah.
If it's maybe not call that one as much as an upset, but wanted to come in here today and ensure that it doesn't happen again. Absolutely. Take down their regional rivals here, and what's looking like a very clean game number one.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, going into game this one, like I was wondering, like if it felt like the battle was just going to be.
Radius plus Nullifier दोनों बनाया है Spectre.
Exactly. There hasn't been a
MKK against बहुत अच्छा है ना Nullifier. No Jingu.
No options and no ways to take the.
Plus Pugna भी है ना सामने.
Feels like it could be the last one. Bedboom repositioning themselves.
मतलब Radiance ही हटा के बना लेता.
हटा दिया.
लेकिन खरीद रहा था वो कोरियर मर गया इसका वरना तो.
It goes for the disassembly here, so
okay.
Nullifier done.
यहाँ से खरीद रहा है Radiance.
Cut through these plays here from the
Radiance.
High ground and Radiance returns.
Bedboom together.
Look for tanks.
Caught for a moment, and again pops the BKB, tries to escape, but pulled back in, lower and lower. Couple more hits. Pure chasing, punching, fighting, and killing.
Pure की HP कितनी है भाई?
From the Pure Centaur, and well, Virtus Pro hoping to do anything here, but they just don't have any damage at all.
ओ भाई बोर्ड और क्या लगा के उसको नहीं मार पाए. टोक्यो पोजीशन 5 नहीं मारा.
With another death on Lina.
I mean, they didn't even want to kill Toronto Tokyo because it would just refresh his ability.
They just wanna go next, man.
Oh, it hurts. And I mean, it's just destruction.
Okay.
Running into the fountain. I mean, you got to be a little careful about the Kunkka there, but it's not looking like it's an issue. The torrent, the tidal wave, the sunstrike's there.
I'm expecting another voice line here soon from Pure.
Oh yeah, there's probably a couple.
It's pretty much everybody. We have both sides there, spamming the voice lines here. Virtus Pro, they're looking to put this game behind them as well.
Absolutely. Bedboom, they run in, they find another stun. Stampede, notice, tries to get away, not going to happen.
GG वाली गेम में भी ऑफ लेन से मतलब एस अकेला ही इतना इम्पैक्ट कर रहा था। इस गेम भी प्योर नाइटफॉल भी बहुत किया भाई। अरे डेफ कर रहे हैं भाई ये लोग।
Those two catapults, though, they're doing work on that ancient.
Oh, it is indeed.
Until they get hit by fire spirits.
A couple of tips out. Ooh, FNG, careful, buddy. So they're going to back out again. Third Roche is up. That one has the Aghanim Scepter on it. But with Mega Creeps and no Tier 4 towers remaining, it is it's going to be a bit of a tough hold for VP, we'll say.
Listen, they got him right where they want him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because the Ancient is really close to the Fountain.
Okay.
And that's where you go when you buy back.
I like
and
that.
they've been dying a lot.
That's true.
So.
Well, and in that entire fight, you know, they did no damage on all of Bedboom.
Yeah.
They just dove into the fountain for no reason. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Well, they're going to head in now. Still in position. They have Heritage back at home, trying to deal with the creeps. Well, Bedboom are setting up to take Roche for themselves. Now, Sunstrike comes out. Get the D ward for FNG. Crown Tokyo drops one of his own. Stun is there. Laguna Blade, half HP. You don't want to kill this Venge, though. FNG runs forward, drops the Sunray. But like we have seen
मेरे को लगता है उसने खेला नहीं है ये। मेरे को honestly यही लगता है।
And that's even without the Stampede. Like, it's already hard enough to force these fights, as you can see, but imagine if the Stampede is up and available. Probably what made them feel like they could actually go for this. What a jump in.
Nightfall, level 25. That one hurts. They pull him back in, try and bring him down. Notice.
Oh, he's chasing.
Gets a little bit of separation, but two already dead. Three dead, and now time to run it down lanes. Also, creeps are hitting the Ancients.
Yeah.
As they will call it GG. Bedboom.
चलो भाई जीजी नींद आ रही है मेरे को
But they get there nonetheless.
Time maybe not the biggest indicator. This one here, and with a 12 kill streak through this game, GPK making it clear why the Invoker was being mentioned.
अब तो मिलियनेयर हो गए यार सीखती यार पैसे ही पैसे यार मतलब पैसे ही पैसे कितने 250 के लगाए थे ना तो 500 के
नहीं भाई 250 के कहाँ है भाई कहाँ दिखाता है भाई हमारा हिस्सा
This is what you get when you get last pick. They see that Lina, they say, all right, well, we have what we need, and feeling a little bit of good stuff coming out of the booth. Bedboom team away with the victory, and the crowd appreciating, of course,
यो भाई 30 के हो गया भाई चैनल पॉइंट्स अपना। ओ भाई उस 250 के वाले के तो भाई उसके हो गए हैं 15 मिलियन हो गया भाई उसके।
नहीं 1:1.89 है ना रिटर्न रेशियो तो 250 के 15 मिलियन कैसी बातें करता है यार।
देख यार देख ले
1.89 है ना
मतलब 1.5 करोड़ हो गया उसका भाई 1.5 करोड़ है।
1 करोड़ भी नहीं है लाखों में ही होगा 500 के नहीं है उसका बल्कि।
अरे साले यार सी डिटेल्स पे क्लिक करो पर दिखाएगा तेरे कितने और। अच्छा नहीं गो टू दिस एंड 2040 अदर। अब मैं तो यार 15 मिलियन तो टोटल होना चाहिए था यार मैं वही भाई
अरे 1.89 है ना रिटर्न रेशियो 1:1.89 तो
कहाँ लिखा है वो
लिखा तो हुआ है रिटर्न रेशियो देखो रिटर्न रेशियो
कहाँ लिखा है अच्छा सी डिटेल्स में है वो अंदर
The entire game, it just felt like they were reacting. We never really got to see them successfully make a move of their own because of how well Bedboom were just dictating the game.
एक लगाए तो ऑलमोस्ट डबल मिल रहा है मतलब डबल से थोड़ा कम।
डबल से थोड़ा कम।
अच्छा तो मेरा 15-16 हजार मेरे को 30 मिला है तो मेरा हाँ वही 18 के अराउंड लगा होगा। भाई अब 30 लगा देंगे अपन नेक्स्ट टाइम।
आता हूँ मैं 5 मिनट में।
हाँ।
Like top lane, they already knew they were gonna lose. Lina had a pretty good lead on Invoker mid, and bot lane, they for some reason like the Clunko is even with the Monkey King at 20 CS, I think VP, they sort of lost sight of what their lineup was set out to do. Their lineup is very kill heavy. You want to set up any opportunities for Spectre to join. Haunt is a really low cooldown now, but we saw like they made one play to bottom. It looked pretty good to me. They're starting to go on the Monkey King, stuff like this, but they ended up like trying to go for objectives instead. They tried to chain their kills into objectives when they should really just be trying to hit their next timing, going for more kills. And as soon as you lose one fight against a BetBoom lineup, I feel like your lineup doesn't really have that many options. I think in the next game, they're going to look to either have more active supports, like Phoenix Scrimshaw are a bit awkward together, or like better cores for them to play with, because Lina doesn't offer anything to the supports, and Kunkka can't just set up everything. It's too like telegraphed that only one hero can do it.
Well, that Kunkka, we weren't really sure where it was going to go. We thought mid was going to be it, that they were just going to run it there no matter what the matchup was going to be, and build around it a little bit differently, pick themselves a different carry, but the Lina ended up going mid. That was their last pick. Did you feel the effects of it, Effie, or would you have liked that Kunkka to stay there, and they could have picked something else when it comes to offlane?
I mean, they felt the need to flex the Kunkka just to not get owned by that Monkey King. Maybe they thought that the Kunkka was too important for their tempo, but I mean, I don't think we necessarily got to see Lina play Dota because it became just a really heavy snowball game from BetBoom after one play went really wrong for Virtus.pro, which was pushing that mid tower. So I don't think we can get a really good read on Lina in this kind of situation. They just didn't have the initiation to come back into the game after losing the net worth lead, right? But because of that, I want to commend Toronto Tokyo, because game was the reason why they were able to get that net worth lead. Like the first double smoke mid to defend that mid tower, into the 3-man smoke that got the Spectre kill, into the 2-man smoke that they went into the triangle where Monkey King was setting up for them. I mean, they got 10k gold off of that, so that was really excellent shot calling in game.
I mean, they're great points, a lot of highlights, especially with the smoke plays there. If you guys didn't follow along at home, then don't worry. We got Purge, he's got clips, he's going to break it down even more for us.
Thanks, yeah. Draft is really, really important in the games right now, but execution is even more important, and that's what we saw in this first game. VP had a rough laning stage, but they transitioned it okay into some tower pressure. In the clips here, they got this great kill on Save at the 11-minute mark while he defended towers, but the response from BetBoom was so expert and so well done that it changed the game impact in a huge way. They basically disabled the Kunkka here, putting him in trouble. Lina thinks, oh, I can save this guy, but they didn't know that the Monkey King had teleported into the left, and as a result, he gets this beautiful stun on 2 heroes while Squadix comes forward, which sets up the Tornado, which then sets up the swap into the center of the circle where he takes even more damage. And in the meantime, on the right side, Toronto Tokyo is already ready to go. He's swinging around to set up follow-up kills. So this perfect skill execution from BetBoom got them 3 kills for nothing when VP didn't get the tower. They get the tower, and this just cascades them in such a winning position because then the map control is overwhelming. Spectre basically only feels safe farming up here. BetBoom gets to be aggressive on the middle of the map, and the bot side is just Nightfall, hitting as many creeps as he wants. So they use this Invis rune on Pugna to get a second kill here on the Lina, and then they win this following fight as well. So perfect skill usage with the right draft, put them in this commanding victory with gold advantage, and they didn't make any major mistakes until they won the game.
Thank you so much, Purge. When I hear that explanation, it begs the question then, Owie, after that mid-rotation fails for you as Virtus.pro, what, with hindsight in an ideal world, how would you have come back into this game? How would you have given your Spectre a little bit more space?
I mean, I think it's a bit hard with the heroes they have. Lina's sort of a useless hero unless you start, like you have the space for it, and Spectre I feel like is a bit of the same. But I think they have to keep going bottom and just trying to force reactions there. You have to give the Spectre the opportunity to like choose to join or not, and if not, you're just going to force some reactions, and hopefully you only lose a couple supports on the way out. I think it's like not easy to play against these invisible invokers and monkeys that are very mobile if you're behind. So you sort of have to force the opponent's reaction so that you have space. You can't just like hope they give you it.
Virtus.pro, it's a team that not a lot of people knew coming into this. Maybe the org, but not so much the players. And so we're going to have some more information, a little bit of deep dive onto their players. They are.
We were underdogs even like before the tournament, and we put a good fight. Virtus.pro has lived in the shadows of all the other Eastern European teams. They finished 4th every single time. They have been like 1 series away from getting to a major, but it's never been good enough. But we were not proud of being caught.
Not a whole lot left for Virtus.pro. They have looked so good this entire time.
The ball is still in. Even TI winner? I mean, I'm not a TI winner myself to be the judge. I'm still trying to figure out the formula, but I know that unless you work hard, you will never be a TI winner.
So what's your motivation then? Oh, sorry, what's up?
My mom is calling.
Oh, okay, great.
Right on time.
That's so sweet. He talks about his mom, all the motivation that she's clearly giving him, especially out here on a big main stage. And she's going, checking in, making sure what he's doing on his off days, in between groups, playoffs, in between playoffs and main stage here. But it's a hard equation and a tough formula to know what it takes to be a TI winner. But we can ask you, Owie. You would know all about it, wouldn't you?
I guess I think it's a lot of hard work, but honestly, it's a lot of luck. Like you go into a tournament and you put all this time and effort into boot camp for a tournament preparing, and sometimes you just have to be a bit lucky that you're showing up on form and you're able to perform what you practiced.
You know what they say about luck? It's when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah, that sounds true. Sounds good.
I'm glad it resonates with you as well then. Look, Virtus Pro are going to need a little bit of luck for themselves, or at least a much better draft than what we saw in Game 1, for them to be able to bounce back in this series. It would be really tough to lose to Team Spirit, another regional team of yours, to lower bracket, and then now to lose to Bet Boom, a regional team of yours, to be eliminated from TI here.
Yeah, that's where the mental recuperation aspect comes in. But honestly, I was so glad to see that piece, because I remember watching an interview you did with FNG TGov after the regional qualifiers, and they basically asked FNG what his motivation was after they qualified and how he feels about Dota overall. And he said he doesn't find the game very fun anymore. He's been playing it for so long that it doesn't excite him, but competing is what excites him. Competing is what pushes forward. The idea of potentially winning something. So you dealing with players like that, they can be very discouraged after losses, but to know that he has a support system, from his mom and whoever else, makes me feel a little bit better for them after this loss.
It's why you surround yourself with